Hello and welcome in. This is the 400th. Well, actually, I saw a correction on that. 417th episode of the Dean Withers Show. For everybody who's tuning in, I really appreciate you guys so much for being here. Folks, if you've never been here before, you're in for a treat. Here we debate Trump supporters. We try to change their minds because, as I'm sure the returning viewers have heard me say, Trump is the worst president of your life. Regardless if you're 8, 18, or 80, it doesn't get worse than him. And somehow there's still millions of Americans supporting this lunatic, so we're going to try to prove them wrong. But you know what happens in most cases? Well, they're either too stupid to understand that they've been proven wrong or too evil to care. That's the way it goes. I mean, the last couple weeks on my live stream have just been insanity, you guys. Honestly, it tired me out so much to the point where I had to go on a little overnight camping trip and connect with nature to stop myself from literally going batshit insane due to these Trump supporters. And that camping trip was last night. It was great. Didn't get too much sleep, so I'm going to be honest, I'm really tired. That's why we're on a bit later. But we're going to try to power through it, have some debates. We'll see if we could do it. Now, the breaking news of today, Donald Trump has been posting some crazy shit on Truth Social. I mean, breaking news, right? We know that he does this. But, I mean, it seems to be the case that it gets crazier and crazier with every day that passes. Here is the newest post from POTUS. Keep in mind, guys, the President of the United States of America is posting this on their official social media accounts. He posted this image of what seems to be some reference to Space Force, which is him sitting in a spaceship away from the Earth, hitting a big red button that is then seemingly nuking the planet. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, dropping reference is of himself completely destroying the globe. That's very interesting. But that's Trump for you guys. He's fucking insane. I mean, wow. How is this guy in the Oval Office? How do we get here? Well, we got here because you motherfuckers, if you doesn't include you, then I'm not talking about you. You motherfuckers voted for him, okay? 78 million people voted for him. And that's who we're looking to talk to. Hopefully we could change their minds. He's been losing it on Truth Social. I think increasingly every single day, Donald Trump is losing his cognitive abilities and becoming more and more delirious and more detached from reality. We didn't just merely see this one image posted of him nuking the Earth from a spaceship, but he also claimed that he was aging in reverse on top of a handful of other factors. This guy's nuts. He's lost his mind. So we're going to go ahead and see why so many people still support him as president. We're going to try to get that very first guest of the day loaded up into and connected to the live stream literally right now. So if that's you, if you're a Trump supporter, go ahead and hop inside of that queue for me, given that you are an American adult that is once again, Trump supporter. And we're going to try to get you connected to that stream. DB, it's good to see you today, my friend. Thank you for that galaxy. And for all the Parker Raiders, good to see you all. Thank you so much for being here. I would really appreciate it if you guys would do your very best to follow my rules. I'm quite tired today, and I feel like I don't really have the patience to deal with a shit ton of rule breakers. So for the very last time, I'll only join the guest request to debate me if you are an American adult that supports Trump as president. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? Lily automatically turned around and left. Okay, moving on to the next guest. For everybody tuning in, appreciate y'all for being here. We have a handful of people tuning in over on YT Kung Fu. Welcome in Aunt Claire. Welcome in Aaron. Welcome in all the Parker Raiders. Good to see you, y'all. Welcome in. How are we doing? Clumsy, do you support Trump?
I did not mean to request. I have my phone in my pocket.
Okay, no worries. Moving on to the next guest. Please only hop inside of the queue if you're following our rules. If you want to know what our rules are, go to take a look at the middle of your phone screen. That'd be great, quite frankly. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? Hello. Okay, they just left, guys. So there's been a handful of people who have joined the queue just to turn around and leave when I accept them up onto the live. Please, if your plan is to leave as soon as I accept your request, just go ahead and leave that queue now, so we could just kind of expedite things along and hopefully get a debate here soon. Once again, good to see you all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope that you enjoy the debates today. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you ever do debates where you just talk about something other than Trump?
Well, I mean, right now it's about the Trump administration, but that serves as an umbrella for around a billion different conversations. A debate about the Trump administration could mean a debate about the economy. It could mean a debate about social conservatism. It could mean a debate about abortion. So it could mean a debate about feminism. It could mean a debate about traditionalism. It could mean a debate about the Christianity or the morality of being gay, lesbian, or bi. It could mean what it means to be a woman. So it's more so like an umbrella that serves as a cover for multiple debates. Now, are you a Trump supporter?
No, I just wanted to come up here and Dean, that's all.
Okay, we are going to go to Banya, put you down, because we are just looking for Trump supporters today, everybody. We are just looking for Trump supporters today, everybody. Beyond the Media, thank you so much for the Galaxy. I appreciate you so much for that support. Smack, welcome in. Are you going to act like a petulant man-child today? Haley, thank you for that, Jim Gunn.
How's it going, man?
It's going all right. Listen, I'm chilled out, dude. I'm chilled the hell out. I'm feeling good. But I know that you're not chilled the hell out. You are a petulant man-child. I've spoken with you once or twice before, so is Parker. It seems to, in the same way every time, you crashing out, screaming at the top of your lungs. Can't let the other person get out a sentence. So I'm actually going to put in my bet right now, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to take a minute to heat up, to get pissed, because I'm proving you're wrong. Then you're going to start screaming at the top of your lungs, and you will not let me speak. And when that happens, me and all the viewers are going to laugh at you. And if that doesn't happen, because you are legitimately able to control your emotions, I will give you a thumbs up at the end of the debate. Okay?
You talking about the horde of 35 fat white liberals? They're not going to contact me on my TikTok account?
So he's already hopping to calling the viewers fat white liberals. Yeah, this will be great. As you guys could tell, this guy has a lot of emotional maturity. Go ahead, Mr. Weirdo.
No,
Take it away. Why are you a Trump supporter?
Well, let's make it organic. I think the previous guest just commented, you only point at Trump because he's the leader of the country. Like things that Biden does, you don't care about. You don't care that Biden showers with his daughter. You don't care that Biden does a lot of stuff that's unethical. You just use Trump because he's your scapegoat.
Okay.
And so the previous guest just pointed that out. And I can go into other topics, but like, it's just easy for me. You pick the guy because you have Trump derangement syndrome, but you won't acknowledge that Biden took a shower with his daughter, and it's even in her own diaries. You're cool with that, aren't you?
So if I don't care about that allegation, then why have I researched enough to know that Ashley Biden's diary was stolen from her, then sold to Project Veritas, who has a track record of manipulating documents that they get on their political opponents? And then when that was ultimately submitted to the court, Ashley Biden sent a letter under deposition to the court saying that there had been false allegations lobbed at her as well as those in which she loves. And as it stands today, because we have not had a handwriting specialist verify that the texts claiming that she showered with Biden match the handwriting of other segments of her diary that we know she wrote are the same. As it stands, that claim is ultimately unverified, right? I wouldn't know any of that unless I researched that claim because I care about it. Because unlike you, I'm not a partisan hack.
Good for you. You just litigated the crap out of that. Now let's litigate Trump going backstage versus Trump going into women's locker rooms. So just like you say,
we're starting
Trump
today
went
with
into
this.
women's locker rooms.
It's just been a hell cycle.
Well, no.
The last
you
3
want to
days,
litigate?
everyone.
We're gonna litigate this, man. Come on, let's litigate it. It's clearly in her diary that she took showers with her dad, and then your response is, well, it was put through Project Veritas, which is known to have all these other violations. You want to litigate it? Let's talk about what is on the facts, what's in data, and what's in the diary is her dad showered with her. What Trump said was he went backstage because he owns the pageant. But yet you want to start to litigate the facts and the truth, and you want to make it a gray area so you can get your side across. That's what you do, bro.
Okay. So it's not that I want to make it a gray area.
Facts.
It just simply is a gray area. And we are sticking to the facts.
Like
it's a fact that the diary was stolen from her.
Dude.
It's a fact that it was sold. It was a fact that it was sold to Project Veritas.
It's a fact
that they have a background of manipulating the documents that they gain on their political opponents. And it's a fact that her letter to the court says that there's been false allegations lobbed at her as well as the people that she cares about. And damn right, the only allegation that was lobbed at those that she cares about downstream of the release of her diary was that towards her father, Biden, in the showering thing. So once again, until we have confirmation from a handwriting specialist on on that diary. I think it's an unverified claim. Now, you want to talk about the dressing rooms and Donald Trump's sexual exploitation? Sure, we could do that. I just think that the MAGA counter arguments to this are really getting old. We hear them every single day. It's just like this crash out of, oh, he never explicitly said dressing room on repeat for 2 hours until I kick them because I'm annoyed. Do you have anything new to add to that conversation?
No, but I will say you got to stop using it whenever you talk to stupid people, and you got to stop saying, well, look at this. I found this where Trump said this. And then when we pull up the data, it's not actually what you said. So we'll stop talking about that as long as you stop bringing it up against dumb people to say, well, do you support a two-time women rapist? And then you pull up that clip that you're disingenuous about. And then if you told the facts don't line up to what you say. So we can move on. I just want to verify that you're not going to do that again to other people.
So just to ensure what your argument is, so I don't inappropriately misrepresent it, you're saying that I incorrectly represent the clip shared by Donald Trump when he's boasting about looking at the naked beauty pageant contestants, because I say he said he walked into dressing rooms, but then when we listen to the clip, he never explicitly said dressing rooms, right? That's your claim?
He says backstage. He says backstage. You can say backstage. Don't worry. It doesn't hurt your argument. Just say backstage.
Okay, so just to clarify, you are claiming that because he never explicitly says the phrase dressing rooms, that I can't say he said he walked into dressing rooms, right?
So just to be clear, if I'm naked and I have my shirt off, it doesn't mean I'm completely naked. It means that my shorts are on and my shirt's off. Okay. I consider that naked. So I already see what you're doing here. You're going to go with women who are naked in naked bathrooms means that they're unclothed. No, it doesn't. When you're on Howard Stern, and you're bragging about circumstances is different from when you're in a court and you're telling a court went on. When you're on Howard Stern and you're saying, yeah, I used to go backstage and it was cool.
This is just a bunch of
I'm
mess.
telling
this
you
is a
why
big mess.
I'm showing you.
I'm just simply trying. Listen, are you saying that I'm misrepresenting what Donald Trump says in that clip because I accuse him of barging into dressing rooms even though he never explicitly said dressing rooms? Are you saying that I'm misrepresenting what Trump said in that clip because I accuse him of looking at them while they were naked even though he never explicitly said naked? What's the naked claim? Okay, I'm misrepresenting him about the naked claim. Sure.
The naked claim. He's sitting in front of the host, who's one of the worst hosts ever. And he says that he walks into them while they're naked, right?
Well, that doesn't necessarily.
They had no clothes on. What? We should probably pull up the text just so that we're all on apples for apples. What he's doing, he's sitting in front of a host and he's bragging. He's not president at this time. He doesn't know that he's going to be held accountable to like little libtards like you to what he's saying to make him look bad. If he knew that.
Hey, Smack. So, yeah, I don't allow language such as the word you just said in my live stream. It's just a play on the R word. I think that the R word is incredibly demeaning, incredibly derogatory. I don't allow guests on my live to use the R word or to throw a spin on it by just putting lib in front. If you want to be able to stay on this live stream, refrain from using such vulgar language. But if you want to run away, sure, say it again and I'll kick you.
Oh, that's fair. I'll do my best. Sorry. No, so... people like you utilize the context of the conversation and who he's having a conversation with, and you weaponize it against him. For example, if I'm talking to my coach about hitting a baseball and I say something in baseball terms, you take my baseball term and you use it against me in a court of law to say, look, he said he's going to score on third base on that pitcher. And you say, look, he said he's going to score on third base. Doesn't that seem like he's going to do the R word to her? That's what you do. He's talking to Howard Stern, who is a late night host, who hosts one of the most perverted shows ever. And he says that he goes backstage because he owns the pageant and they're half naked. But yet you want to utilize it in a court of law to make him look bad. And that's what you do.
Yeah, this is just all a word salad. I've been trying to track what you're saying in order to understand what argument you're making, so I understand what I need to respond to.
I say contextually, you treat him unfair.
So how so?
Because he's talking to a host who's on a late night show, who's known for certain bad things. He brings on naked women. He has them do things on their show. So you're using what he says and you're putting it in the public light. You're framing it.
I just want to clarify here. Maybe if listen.
You know what I'm doing.
Maybe if Howard Stern was the person who said that Donald Trump barged into these dressing rooms to look at these naked women, right? You could possibly be building an argument with what you're saying by mentioning the fact that he's intentionally vulgar in many other settings, and that's a part of the shock jock nature of his show. But Howard Stern isn't the one that said Donald Trump walked into these dressing rooms. Donald Trump is the one that said he walked into these dressing rooms. So really? I think any attack on the character of Howard Stern. man,
rooms?
just
I'm sorry,
completely
I'm sorry, no,
disappears
I'm sorry,
the
I'm sorry, I'm
moment,
sorry.
right? We
I
remember that
missed
Donald
where
Trump said
Donald
this.
Trump said he walked into dressing rooms. Can you show me where Donald Trump said he walked into dressing rooms? Where was that again?
Of
Where
course.
was that? The
Yeah,
answer
so-
is no, he never said that.
Okay, so
it's
he did.
disingenuous of you. You did
It's
it
not.
again.
That's not.
Okay, show me where he said it.
Of course.
He
When he
Donald Trump said he
described
walked into dressing rooms? Okay.
Yeah, when he defined dressing rooms, yeah.
Everyone, did everyone hear that? He just lied to you. He's disingenuous. The way he describes dressing rooms, it's called conjecture. Did you see what this guy just did? Did you see what he just did? Donald Trump never said he went into dressing rooms. He said he went backstage. But to all you stupid fat white liberals who are going to fucking message me, you're going to say,
insane.
oh, backstage and dressing rooms are the same thing. He just lied to you on the thing. He just lied to you.
Yeah, no, I
So,
didn't.
so what
I can
does he say,
explain how.
Dean? What does he say? Does he go backstage or does he go to
respond.
dressing rooms? What did Trump
so,
say?
I
What
understand.
he said, not what he
I
described. Not what he
understand.
described. What did he say? What did he say, Dean?
So what he said was the description of dressing rooms, which is saying that he walked into dressing rooms.
Oh, the
because
description of dressing room. Just say what he said, dude. The truth doesn't
That's what he said.
need your bending. No, the truth doesn't need your bending. What did he say? What came out of his mouth? What words came out of his mouth? Just say the words,
description
Dean.
of
I know
what
it
a
hurts
dressing
you.
room is.
Okay, what did he say though? What were the words though? What were the physical words?
Yeah,
What were
the
they?
description of what a dressing room is, I could.
No,
quote them
you
if
can
you'd like
say,
me
Dean,
to.
he went backstage. He went backstage. It's okay. Use your
No,
words. Use
he
your
said that
lips
he walked
to say
into a dressing
backstage.
room.
Move them.
I could explain to you
He
why
said
you're
that
wrong,
with his
but
own
you won't.
lips.
Yes.
He said that. Oh, here's
by
why you have to
describing the
explain
dressing
it. You
rooms.
can't say the exact words that he's saying.
Yeah, the
You
exact
can't say the
words would be
exact
like,
words.
men aren't allowed,
Hey,
broken rule
buddy,
by
in
entering,
court,
and no men were
guess what?
anywhere.
In
They were
court,
naked
it's not
and
gonna
dressed,
hold
getting
up for you.
unchanged.
This will
He'd
never
abuse his
hold up
position
for you
power.
in
Back.
court.
Like those would be like the exact
Okay,
words that would
then
amount to
just
the
say what he
description
said
of
out of his
dressing
words.
rooms.
What did he say out of his mouth? What did he
So
say out of his mouth?
I just told
What did
you.
he say?
I just told you.
What
The
did he say out of
description
his
of a
mouth?
dressing room.
Did he say he
I
went into
understand.
dressing rooms, or did he say he went backstage?
So
Did
he
where
said
did say?
he went
Backstage
into
or what?
dressing rooms. I'm trying to describe this to you,
He said,
but you won't let me
so,
speak.
So the words out of his mouth was that he went into dressing rooms? Is
Jack,
that
should I-
correct?
Yeah, the words out of his mouth were a
Was it
description
that
of
he-
dressing rooms.
Oh, it was a description of dressing rooms.
You already did
nothing more
the
to
own
argue
moment.
here. If you
Listen,
can't,
I'm going to put you on mute so I could actually respond. We could refer to concepts either
acknowledge-
explicitly by calling them what they are or giving a description of what they are. Like, for instance, I could prove this to you with a simple question. I'd assume that you define the word woman to be an adult human female. Okay? I assume that's what your definition is. So my question to you is, if I tell you that I'm dating an adult human female, under your view, am I telling you that I'm dating a woman? This one question ends the argument.
I'm asking you a simple question. What words
Can
came
you
out of
respond to
Trump's
my
mouth?
question?
Did he go backstage or did he
The
go into a
description
women's
or
dressing room?
definition of a dressing room.
Oh, it was a description. Okay, let's just be
Right,
clear.
which amounts to him
side with you.
saying he
It
walked
was a
into a
description.
dressing room.
It was a description that you had a
So-
conjecture.
I'm going to ask you to answer my question again. I would assume that your definition of the word woman would be an adult human female. So if I told you that I was dating an adult human female, under your view, would I be telling you that I'm dating a woman? Yes or no?
I'm not going to answer this question because you already framed the argument behind it.
The reason why you won't answer the question is because your answer is yes. Under your view, if I told you that I'm dating an adult human female, I'm telling you that I'm dating a woman, even though I never explicitly use the word woman. Because we could refer to things either by explicitly calling them what they are or by defining what they are / describing what they are, right? This is how language works. This is where dictionaries come from. When you want to define a word, you can't use the term in the definition. That's just holistically how language operates. So when I say that Donald Trump said he walked into dressing rooms, I'm saying this not because he explicitly used the phrase dressing room, but rather because he gave the description of dressing rooms, further than verified by every single beauty pageant contestant that remembers this happening to them. The same way you said, I told you I'm dating a woman when I told you I'm dating an adult human female under your view, even though I never explicitly used the word woman, right? So those two operators would work synonymously. They had as a one-to-one identical analogy. You could continue your crash out. Go ahead.
Dude, I asked you to give me an example, to tell me what Trump said. You still couldn't say what Trump said. And you still can't acknowledge that what came out of his mouth is that he went backstage. And here's actually what he said, because I'll help you. It's easy. The truth doesn't need your curvature to lie to it. No men are anywhere I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant. Is everything okay? You see these incredible looking women. So sort, and get away with things like that because I'm the owner of the pageant. He's the owner of the pageant. He gets away with things like that. Just like I'm the owner of my house, I get away with going into my house, right? And let's start off here. Did he go backstage or did he go to women's dressing rooms? Well, we don't know. You'll never know. I'll never know. We can make conjecture based on, oh, well, it sounds like this. It sounds like a monkey, therefore it's a monkey. What words came out of his mouth and what context was he using? First off, he's on Howard Stern's show. He's on Howard Stern's show, one of the worst shows ever. And he says that he went backstage. Oh my God, I'm getting bombarded by fat liberal women messaging me already. Here
This
we
guy's
go.
insane. He's crashed
I'm
out
not
on me,
insane, bro.
crashed out on the people Donald Trump sexually exploited, crashing out on liberals, generalizing and stigmatizing fat people, shitting on women. I feel like this is a perfect embodiment of MAGA. So, I mean, for the viewers watching at home, if you're curious why Trump's approval rating is the lowest out of any president in history, is because not too many crazy people like this exist. Are there enough to make it meaningful? Yeah, because they got Trump in the Oval Office. But are there enough of them to constitute the majority? Absolutely not, right? That's why Trump's approval rating is so low. But yeah, no, I'll happily respond to you. So I'm happy that, you walked back your claimed dunk about how, well, I'm claiming he said he walked into a dressing room, even though he never explicitly used those words, because I gave you a pretty compelling argument against that. So thank you for the concession there. Now, on to the next part. You're claiming that we don't really ever know if it was just a general backstage area or an actual dressing room. I'd say that we do.
Well, he says backstage.
His description of dressing rooms. Right, because the dressing rooms were backstage. With his description of a dressing room being a place, okay, that no men were allowed to enter, okay, because he said no men were anywhere, and he quote-unquote got away with going in, which means you break the rule and face no consequence.
He's the owner of the pageant.
And the second thing is, he said in order to get into the space, not only did he have to be the owner of it, but he also had to tell a lie of doing an inspection. This statement on its own is incompatible with the notion that it was a general backstage area, because he wouldn't need to lie about doing an inspection to go into a general backstage area. Same thing with his comment about no men being anywhere. If it was a general backstage area, I think that we'd expect someone somewhere working on like the stage crew, production crew, because it was all televised, working as assistants, stagehands, so on and so forth. And then, of course, like the real meat on the bone here would be the fact that he said there's a bunch of naked women changing, okay, and there were only naked women changing that he saw. There wouldn't be naked women changing in large groups in the general backstage area. That's just generally not allowed by regulations and rules and standardized televised beauty pageants. But on top of that, the fact that he only saw naked women changing rules out the fact that it'd be a general backstage area because there's where all the stagehands would be, man or woman. And then the verification that my evaluation of his claims here would amount to them being in the dressing rooms comes from the fact that every single woman and girl who remembers this happening to them said that it took place in the dressing rooms, even the women who were defending him, right? Like maybe for like the 10 women who remembered this happening to them, who came out and said, yeah, Donald Trump barged into our dressing rooms and looked at us while we were naked. It was insane and gross. Maybe you'll just say that they were all lying to get like their 5 minutes of fame or to get a paycheck, right? Because you don't believe and you discount the testimony of women and girls all the time. Well, what about the 11th woman? Her name was Veronica, and she did a sit-down interview with CBS, and she told CBS that, yeah, Donald Trump would come into our dressing rooms, but there was nothing wrong with it because he'd make sure we knew first, he'd give us ample heads up, and he'd give us time for us all to get dressed. So even like the women defending him, arguing that he did nothing wrong, that would have no reason, okay, to lie, right, from your perspective, because they're defending the man, and you think he's innocent, well, they also said he went into the dressing rooms. So in consideration of all these facts, the first 50% of these facts being his own description, and then the second 50% of the facts being, well, what did the women and girls say who remembered this happening to them, including those that defended him, it seems to be the case that it's undeniable that this happened in the dressing rooms.
Right. The woman said they went into the dressing room. What did Trump say? Did he say he went backstage or into the dressing rooms? Here, I'll answer that for you, Dean, because you won't answer it. It's simple. You won't answer. It takes you 30 seconds to just say.
I'm muting you again because you're intentionally misrepresenting the arguments I've made so far into the debate. I have said time and time again that he did say he walked into the dressing rooms.
So those were the words that came into his mouth, out of his mouth, was that he went into the dressing rooms or he went backstage?
The words that came out of his mouth was that he went backstage into a space that is a dressing room, based upon his description of that space. Smack, you've already done the let's go thing one time before. You did that about 5 minutes ago when I told you what he said was that he went into dressing rooms by describing dressing rooms. And then after you got done like parading your supposed W, then I ran the argument on you, the analogy on you. Well, Smack, because you define the word woman as an adult human female, if I were to tell you that I'm dating an adult human female, under your view, would I be telling you that I'm dating a woman? You said yes, even though I never explicitly used the word woman, I still yet told you I'm dating a woman because I described what you think a woman is. The same way Trump described what we all think dressing rooms are. So if you want to, do the
And what
whole,
were the words
let's
out of
go
the
thing
last
again, that's fine.
Representative, what were the words of the last representative that said that he would walk into our dressing rooms? What did she say again? So what were the
last
difference? So Trump says he goes backstage. Yeah. So
are you
you said
talking
that there was
about?
a woman who said that he would go into their dressing rooms, and said he was very respectful, right?
Yeah,
So
Veronica.
there was a delineation between him saying he went backstage and a delineation between him going into dressing rooms. And Veronica herself said he was very respectful. So guess what? He knows when he's going backstage, which is different from going into dressing rooms. I can go backstage. I can go behind a curtain. It doesn't mean I'm walking into someone pissing in a fucking backyard. But you want to use the argument, it's the same thing because I don't have an argument.
Was there?
So use a delineation of what they were
Smack.
saying.
Can you point me towards
Hey,
a
dude.
single woman who said he went in the backstage area?
He said it himself. He would go backstage. That's enough
No.
evidence for me.
No. What he said is that he'd go backstage to then go to the dressing rooms.
No, that's not what he said.
It is what he said because he described the dressing rooms. This is getting really old, man. This is like quickly becoming like really, really old, really, really fast.
You just admitted
because
he's
this
going
happens every day.
backstage. Yeah, here's
Because
thing,
the
dude.
dressing rooms are
You'll
backstage,
never-
Smack.
Okay, well then say that. Just say that. He said out of his own words, he goes backstage, therefore the dressing rooms
And
are
then he-
backstage.
and then he
Now, it
said
may
that he
or may
walked
not
into
mean
the
that he's
dressing
going
rooms.
into the dressing rooms. It may not.
I've already given you the argument, right, that he did go into the dressing rooms based on what he said. Okay, it's not one of those. This isn't one of those like
You gave me the
circumstances
argument that he
where
said that
we
he
don't
went-
know if it was or was not the dressing rooms. And I'll just prove it with you to you with this question. If this was just a general backstage area, then why were there no men around?
Sorry, I was on mute. Why were there no men around?
Yeah,
What was the context of the verbiage that he said there was no men around?
he said
He
that in
said
the
where
space
men
in which he'd
aren't
enter,
allowed.
he said, there'd be
Yeah.
no men anywhere.
Good question. Good question. Yeah. So
Why
whenever you
did
go
he say
to
that?
whenever you go to a swimming suit pageant or a bathing suit pageant, which is what the Trump pageants were known for, you don't just let men willy-nilly backstage when they don't even own the pageant. Guess what? He's allowed backstage. He's the owner
Wait,
of the pageant.
so
And
men weren't allowed
he said
backstage?
it out of his own words. He said it out of his own
Wait,
mouth.
can I
that
just
he
clarify on your
goes
position?
Backstage because he's the owner of the
So
pageant.
I just want to clarify. Is it your position that even like men who were employees of the pageant were not allowed backstage?
That's not my position. Absolutely
Okay,
not. I'm
so-
talking
so
about
you think that-
general
so you-
admission. I'm talking
Okay, yeah, general admission, man or woman, they're not going to go backstage. We're talking about the
No,
stagehands.
absolutely not.
We're talking about the production crew. We're talking about the assistants. We're talking about the staging crew. Okay, we're talking about all the
Absolutely.
employees
The
of the
owner
pageant.
or
So
the
why were
owner
there no
of
like
the
male
owner of the
employees back
pageants?
there?
He's talking about the general admission males. He's not talking about
How do you know
the
that?
people who are running the pageant.
How do you know that?
How do you know it's not?
Because
How do
he
you know
just
it's
said no
not?
men are anywhere. He didn't specify men that specifically work at the pageant.
Yeah, I know you're losing, dude. When you have to stop, when you have to mute me. I know you're losing.
That's how I know that he wasn't talking about like specifically the men who didn't work there that went to the pageant, because he didn't say there were no men who don't work here that just came to the pageant back here. He said that there were no men point blank period here.
He's in an interview with Howard Stern, dude.
So
he's not in
once,
front of a
okay, so
court.
wait.
He's not
So
in
how
front-
does
hold on,
Howard
let me
Stern?
talk, let me
So
talk,
what
let me
about
talk,
him
let me
being in
talk,
an
let me
interview
talk,
with
let me
Howard
talk, let me
Stern
talk.
tells you
Here's why.
that when he says
Because
there was
doesn't
no
know a
men there?
libtard like
Wait,
you,
one second.
Dean. He doesn't know Dean like you. You're going to be using this to
Okay, yeah, he pulled it again to leave. That's fine. We make him crash out, folks. We make him crash out. That's fine. I told him if he said that word again, I'd kick him, and he did. He wanted to leave. Well, I mean, at least he knows he lost, right? Because that's why he wanted to pull the cord to inflate the life raft to swim away, right? That's how we know he knows he lost. It's fine. Welcome in. Do you support Trump, Magasaurus?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's ironic you said it's getting old, as you make the same argument that Trump is a sexual abuser every single live.
Okay, what I called getting old would be the MAGA defense for the clip of Donald Trump saying that he's barging into the dressing rooms. Nothing gets old with calling Donald Trump a sexual predator, because we need to hold sexual predators accountable.
It makes
There's
you
no
money.
statute of limitations on that, and especially when those sexual predators are in such grave positions of power. But what does get old is the brainless defense for those sexual predators, running the most idiotic, nonsensical arguments of all time that make no sense when you even put a second of thought into it. So that's what's getting old. I'm happy I could clarify. How old are you?
28. So
Okay,
you're
thank you.
saying that
I'm gonna go to thank a couple people that'll pass that mic off to you. Miko, thank you so much for the $50 over on Super Chat. I really appreciate you so much for that love, Miko. I want to see 500 Miko W's down below in that comment section. Thank you so much, Miko. You are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please show some love to Miko down below in that comment section. Who says, it's just crazy to me how we're backing Israel, a country that's literally just as bad as what people say Iran is. Did you ever see the 8-year-old video of Netanyahu saying that quote-unquote American could easily be moved when he thought he wasn't filmed? No, I did not see that. That is crazy, Miko. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Show some love to Miko down below in that comment section. Then Amber, thank you so much for the $20, who says, wait, does this dude barge into the bathroom when his daughter is showering because he owns his home? Hope not. Hope he doesn't even have a daughter, right? Thank you for the $20, Amber. Shammy, thank you for the $10, who says the definition for dressing rooms mentions in some context the term can refer to a backstage space. Thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate you. And then Kit Kat, thank you so much for the $5 as well. We're all caught up with the super chats. I appreciate y'all so much for the love. On Venmo, thank you so much, Peter, for the $25, who says this psycho just said, as an example, he gets away with going inside his house. Is he not allowed inside of his own home? Right? Yeah. No, I remember he made that argument that he was arguing in the same way Trump gets away with going into the dressing rooms. He gets away with going into his house. We would never say that we get away with going into our own homes. That's just not the way that we use the phrase "get away with it," you know. So that made no sense. Thank you for the $25, Peter. Show some love to Peter. And then Joseph, thank you so much for the $20, who says, I've never heard you attack the argument this way, but backstage and dressing room aren't mutually exclusive. The only way that you could be in a dressing room is by being backstage. True, Joseph. Thank you for the $20. I appreciate you. Then Jose, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate you so much for that love. And Miss Beth, this came through 13 minutes ago. Thank you so much for the $100 on Venmo. Oh my God, Beth, that is so that's crazy. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much for the love, Beth. I know that you've been watching for a while. Just know that I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the fucking love. I don't deserve a penny of that. That is way too much money. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A billion times over. I want to see 1,000 W's for Beth down below for the $100 donor, who says a backstage area is an open area. You can't barge into a backstage area. Keep on cooking, Dean. Yeah, no, exactly. It just makes no sense to posit that it was a backstage area. I appreciate you for the $100. You're awesome. Thank you once again for the $100 donation. And then Joseph, thank you so much for the $20 donation over on PayPal again. And Margaret, thank you so much for the $25. She says, thank you, Margaret. You know I love you. Thank you so much for your continued support. Please show some love to Margaret down below, as well as Jeremy with the $10, who says, Dean, why didn't you talk about how Trump's sons have investments that profit from this war? Because I haven't looked into it enough to speak confidently on the subject matter, but I definitely will. Trust me. That's in my to-do list. Thank you so much for the love and support. Over on PayPal, thank you, Fussy, for the $7. Who says, hey, Dean, how's the campaign? It was great, Fussy. Thank you for asking, and thank you for the $7. Sean, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate you. I think my answer to that question is no, because of the war in Vietnam. I don't think that Charlie would still support him. Harold, thank you for the $10 as well. I really appreciate you. Amanda, thank you for the 5, and Joseph with the 2. With all that being said, we are all caught up. If you do want to support me, support the stream, you can find the Venmo and the PayPal and the link tree in the bio on TikTok. Pin message over on the other place, and Dean Withers without the E in Withers. And Magasaurus, I appreciate you for your patience. If you want to go and take it away and tell us why you support this terrible president who's destroying the economy, the mic and the floor are yours.
Sure. So Donald Trump is not destroying the economy. I support Donald Trump because of what he's done with immigration. But back to what we were talking about.
Donald Trump hasn't destroyed the economy?
No. Is inflation lower than it was under Joe Biden's peak?
Okay, so yeah, I think the inflation being right? Under 9%.
Perfect. So don't deflect from you accusing someone of.
I'm gonna finish my sentence, please. So yeah, guess what? Today, the level of inflation, 3.8%, is lower than the 9% level of inflation that we saw in July of 2022 onset by the pandemic. Nobody's denying that. But what we're saying here is A, Biden didn't cause that 9% high of inflation, but B, even if Biden did cause that, that wouldn't mean the economy isn't destroyed today under Trump. Because not only do we see the largest monthly increase in the price of groceries in 4 years, but we also see the worst jobs report since 03 ignoring recessions, the most manufacturing bankruptcies since 2010. Investment in manufacturing is in the gutter, and we have the highest level of unemployment since the pandemic, and the most layoffs since the pandemic as well. Yeah, clearly the economy is in a terrible position. And this right now has a lot to do with the price of oil and gas under Trump. We saw the largest monthly increase in the price of gas since the Vietnam War in 1967. To argue that Donald Trump hasn't destroyed the economy is just to argue that a square is a circle.
No, actually, because you just made my point, because you brought up the price of food, the price of gas, which all goes into the price of the consumer index, which is what inflation is based off of. So even with considering that the price of gas going up and the price of groceries, inflation is still lower than under Joe Biden. So you actually just proved my point. And now right now,
That's
like
the
right
argument
now,
I just
hold on,
responded
and
to.
we
Did
don't
you not
base the
listen to me?
economy simply based off the price of groceries and gas.
And we don't
right?
base the
We can
economy
look at the
in reference to the peak caused by a pandemic 5 years ago. Yet you are.
I'm gonna
I just
finish.
gave you an
So,
argument
right
why
now, we have
why
a
that's
stronger
not a
business
smart decision
investment,
to make.
manufacturing recovery. We have private sector focus. We have deficits going down. We have wage and tax relief. We saw what we did, what Trump did with the TCJI, right? The financial markets are good. The consumer investor confidence is great. The S&P 500, the Dow, the inflation. So saying that because gas went up and groceries went up, therefore the economy is trash, you're completely ignoring what the actual economy is. So,
Okay, so you made a
missing
couple
with the
false claims
bullshit
there.
and go back to you defending bullshit about sexual
So
abuse.
we'll go back to the sexual abuse here in a moment, but a couple claims that you made that were false. So the first false claim that you made was that we have a focus on investment. So every single quarter under Donald Trump's second administration, private investment into American manufacturing structures has gone down. That means that less manufacturing plants are getting built. The second false claim that you made is that there's a focus on the private sector. So in 2024 under Biden, there were 1.8 million private sector jobs added to the economy. Now in 2025 under Trump, there were 170,000 public and private sector jobs added to the economy, and jobs reports are in the shitter. So if he's focusing so much on private sector jobs, then why are manufacturers bankrupting, and why are we seeing some of the worst jobs reports in decades, ignoring recessions? And then the next thing that you said there is that, well, we do see that the stock markets are going up. Nobody is denying that. But what I would say is when the stock markets are going up, yet every single macroeconomic indicator is looking worse, then it's likely our markets could be experiencing a bubble. And this is exactly why no serious economist considers stock markets to be a macroeconomic indicator, because bubbles exist.
Yeah, obviously that's not the only thing you use. So, when in regards to like the private sector, the deficit actually went down by 362 billion, just in the last year. The Big Beautiful Bill provisions delivered larger refunds and higher take-home pay. The CEA estimates 4,000 to 7,200 higher annual real wages per worker over time, which helped recover the Biden era power losses. So, like real average hourly earnings showed modest year-over-year gains in like 2026. So, and then the stock market, obviously, you don't have to base it just off the stock market, but you can take that into consideration. What else did you say? Investments, right? So you brought up COVID, right? And you can make that argument all day, but that's not a defense to Joe Biden like doing poorly with the economy or using the recovery of COVID to then like boost the economy and say he did that. So manufacturing and factory investments went up during Trump. The White House and the Census Bureau data points to manufacturing, construction spending, and investments surging under this administration. Trillions pledged in private and foreign investments in manufacturing, tech, and infrastructure. The stock market, again, total return 81.3%. I could keep going. The economy is just such a fucking stupid topic to talk about right now.
If it's so stupid to talk about, it's because it's performing terribly, and you know that you're using AI to try to make an argument that you can't
Joe
win.
Biden.
So the first point that you made there had to do with real median growth rate.
They don't know shit about the economy.
So yeah, start crashing out, calling me an idiot because I'm setting you down. That's fine. So your
say
first
you were an
point there.
idiot.
The first point there that you made was about real median wages going up.
So why
So
don't you
yeah,
wanna
it's
actually talk
true.
about you claiming he's a sexual abuser? Is it 'cause you
Am
know
I just
cook you
not
every time
allowed
we
to
talk about
respond to
that?
any of the things that you said?
No, it's because I cook you every time we talk about that.
Wait, I'm so sorry. If you're
So
cooking
you try
me,
to
then
go
why
to the
can't I
economy
respond to
for
what
no
you
fucking
said?
reason, thinking I don't know shit about the economy.
Dude,
when
it's
the most-
crazy. I got the opposite reaction from somebody like 2 days ago. See, this is a
Okay, I don't
tactic
care.
that. One moment. This is a
Okay,
tactic that many
cool
Trump
story,
supporters
bro.
will try to use in a debate just to like ad hominem their opponent. So I was having a debate with like a larger like Trump supporter on TikTok like 3
one
nights
cared.
ago, and she wanted to talk to me about oil and gas. So we had a conversation about oil and gas, but then somehow Donald Trump's sexual abuse was brought up. So then she started making claims about Donald Trump's sexual abuse. I absolutely debunked the fuck out of them. And then midway through the conversation about sexual abuse that I was having with Millie goes, Dean, the reason why you want to talk to me about Donald Trump engaging in sexual abuse is because this is what you're good at. This is what you're used to. But you would never debate me on the economy because you're way too scared to. Now, 2 days later, this Trump supporter is doing the opposite. They're saying, Dean, you're grilling me on the economy so fucking hard that we should talk about sexual abuse. You would never talk to me about Trump's sexual abuse because you're way too scared to. That's just a diversion tactic that Trump supporters will use. It's a pivot. But I'm going to respond to this guy's last points about the economy. The first claim that you made was about real median wages going up. So it is descriptively true that real median wages have gone up. But however, what's important here is that the growth rate of real median wages is lower today than it was previously under Biden in 2024, which means all things considered, we're not living in a preferable state of affairs. And this is still yet a macroeconomic indicator that is worse off today because of the Trump administration. Now, you spent the second 50% of your argument really honing in onto investment in manufacturing. I've repeated now multiple times that investment into American manufacturing has gone down every single financial quarter under Trump and his second administration. Then you responded with just a straight rejection. You said that investment in American manufacturing is booming. It's doing great. It's doing phenomenal. So the first line of argumentation against that suggestion would be, well, if investment into American manufacturing is doing so well, then why do we see the most manufacturers going bankrupt since the tail end of the Great Recession? Those two things don't seem to live together. Now, the next thing I would say is, well, if investment into American manufacturing is going so well, then why last year did we see the most layoffs and the highest level of unemployment since the pandemic? Those two things don't seem to live well together. The third thing I'd bring up is, well, if investment into American manufacturing is doing so well, then why was GDP growth cut by around 1.5% last year compared to 2024 under Biden? Those two things also don't seem to live well together. And after generally refuting your notion just with the use of rational argumentation, pointing out contradictory macroeconomic indicators that seem to indicate that maybe that investment isn't doing so well, when we look at the empirical facts of the level of investment that we see from private sources into building manufacturing plants on American soil, we see that it's not doing well at all, and you were lying to us. This is the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. They track quarterly investment into American manufacturing that's private. They tell us that at the beginning of the Biden-Harris administration, there was around $66 billion invested quarterly. At the end of the Trump-Biden-Harris administration, there was $151 billion invested into manufacturing quarterly. Massive boom. But then yet the day that Donald Trump wins the election, and every single financial quarter under his administration, it has gone down, 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 down. So there's just absolutely no way you can make such a false suggestion. Stop lying straight to our faces.
Sure. Let's play ball then, Dean. So not only was there a faster GDP rebound, so real GDP grew at 2.0% annual rate in the first quarter of 2026. We have stronger business investment. Non-residential fixed investment surged to 10.4% in the first quarter of 2026. We have manufacturing coming back, ISM manufacturing PMI at 52.7%, highest level since 2022. Private sector job focus, jobs gains mostly in private industries, healthcare, retail, transport. Federal employment declining, White House shift away from government-driven growth into the late Biden period. The stock market gains, again, tax relief for workers, policies like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, expanded tax credits, deficit improvement and claims. Deficit reportedly went down $362 billion. That's what I told you earlier. And obviously, this is all after Trump saying short-term pain, long-term game. So tariffs, and the reason that we had manufacturing layoffs and closures.
Could I have a source for every single one of those things?
I would love to. Yeah, the BLS, BEA, the ISM reports.
So, for instance, where in the BLS can I find that we experienced a real GDP growth rebound of 2.6% annualized in the first quarter of 2026?
It's called GDP Advanced Estimate, first quarter of 2026. I said that earlier. I literally told you in the first quarter of 2026.
Okay,
you can look at the reason that manufacturing layoffs and closures happen is because of the tariffs, the EV transition slowdown, the CHIPS Act.
Why did you lie?
Down. What was that?
You said that in the first quarter of
I'm not done
2026.
yet. You can
Wait,
talk
wait, wait,
about
wait,
that when I'm done.
wait. You said in the first quarter
you
of
wanna interrupt 'cause I'm
2026.
cooking you,
Wait. No.
Hold
You
on, I know
actually
you wanna
lied.
interrupt 'cause
You
I'm
actually
shitting-
just lied. You said in the
me
first quarter of 2026 that there was a 2.6% growth rate annualized in real GDP. That's false. You misspoke.
Real GDP grew at 2.0% annual rate.
Now
in the
you
first
changed
quarter
it
of
to
2026.
2.0.
No, Dean, you're just not very good at listening. It went up from a 0.5.
That's crazy, bruh.
It went up
That's
from a
crazy.
0.5 in the last quarter of
No, that's good.
2025.
Do you know
That's
what real
what's crazy.
GDP growth was in 2024
That's
under
what's
Biden?
crazy. It went up 2.0% from a fucking
do-
0.5%.
Do you know what real GDP growth was?
Why did it go up, Dean?
Do you know what real GDP growth was in 2024 under Biden?
I just told you in the last quarter of 2025 it was 0.5%.
I know, but I'm asking you in 2024.
Why are you deflecting? Why don't you want me to let me finish? You
So
can
this
you
is-
can make your response when
So
I
this isn't a deflection, it's just
Did I
simply a
fucking
correction. Because real GDP growth in
ignore everything else I said and focus on
so
fucking words.
I'm just gonna debunk claim by claim. Now I think that what you're trying to do here is you're attempting to like throw a bunch of points at me at once, overwhelm me with a point, so then I can't look at each one individually.
did.
Because now that I am looking at each point
what you just
individually,
did.
you're like, how about you respond to all the other ones? Okay, well I'm going to respond to this
what
one
you just
first.
did.
So the issue with your first point, that somehow the economy is better today under Trump because in the first quarter of 2026, real GDP growth rate estimates for the year would be 2.0% annualized. Well, the thing is that the real GDP grew by 2.8% in 2024 alone. So this is actually an argument for me, not an argument for you. Because not
You know it's not,
only
because the economy
if we
got
were to
better under Trump.
annualize the real GDP growth rate of
The
the
economy
first
got
quarter of
better.
2026 under Trump, is it lower than the real GDP growth rate in 2024 under Biden? But as you pointed out, this is also a rebound from
COVID.
2025. So we saw significantly lower levels of growth rate in the real GDP in
of
2025
COVID.
under Trump. And then we see
of
maybe a
COVID.
little bit better growth rate of the real GDP in 2026 under Trump. But the growth rate of the real GDP in 2025 and in 2026 is still yet lower than it was in 2024 under Biden.
because of the pandemic recovery.
Prove it.
So you like to use the pandemic recovery as a way
Prove
to
it.
defend Biden, but when it comes to the pandemic recovery, you don't want to bring that up then when it comes to this, right?
Prove it.
So Dean, how about you address everything else I said?
Wait,
with the stronger
wait.
business
Actually
investment?
prove it.
Oh, you want to talk over me?
We rebound. Listen, we rebound. I'm
Why
trying to
did
tell
the
you.
GDP
We rebound.
because we had
Okay.
a government
Listen
shutdown.
to what I'm saying. We rebound from the negative impact of the pandemic on the growth rate of real GDP in 2022. I'll show you that source right now as well. That's fine. So everybody, take a look at your phone screen. So he's saying the reason why we saw faster GDP growth in 2024 under Biden compared to 2025 or 2026 under Trump is because of the pandemic. Well, here's the real gross domestic product once again according to the Fed. So if we isolate here, we'll see that this is the hit from the pandemic right here. Starting in Q1 of 2020, it went down. And then it went back up. But what we'll see is it actually surpassed the real GDP in Q3 of 2021. So all the growth after Q3 of 2021, according to Fred, was surplus growth on top of the rebound from COVID. So I'm just confused why this guy is claiming the growth that we see in this year is somehow a rebound from this dip. It doesn't make any sense to say that the growth that we see in this year is somehow a rebound from this dip. Additionally,
rebound rate-
why would the rebound
Biden's
in
rebound
real
is that
and real GDP just suddenly stop the moment that Donald Trump gets inaugurated?
That's not what I said, Dean. So the rebound is from that dip. Joe Biden got that rebound, and that's what you're trying to praise him for. You guys praise Joe Biden for rebounding on a fucking pandemic, with the same pandemic that Democrats advocated to shut down businesses and to not have people go to funerals to
pivoting.
see their fucking dead.
He's
family
actually
members, by
pivoting.
the way.
How could the rebound from this dip
You're
be in
just
this year?
interrupting. That's what you're fucking doing. You're
Can
pivoting.
you
'cause
explain
I
to
just
me
gave
how
you a
the
list of fucking
Can you
things,
explain to
and
me
you
how
have
the
to pivot 'cause
rebound
you're
from
getting
this
fucking
dip could
cooked.
be in this year?
I didn't say it was. It was actually
You did.
from Joe Biden's.
You did, brother.
Is
You
that Joe
told me.
Biden's administration?
Listen, you told me the reason why real GDP grew faster in 2024 under Biden compared to 2025 or 2026 under Trump was because of a rebound from the pandemic. Okay, so how could we see a furtherance of the effect from a rebound from this dip, okay, that was fixed in Q1 of 2022 in this year? right? I don't think that the growth rate of real GDP in this year that I'm highlighting is going to be impacted via the quote unquote rebound from this dip that was fixed in Q1 of 2022.
If you mute me and don't let me answer, you're conceding and losing the argument.
That's what losers say. Go ahead and respond to the question.
Yeah, go ahead. That's actually what losers do, is silence the opposition.
I won't silence
Like
you
they
if
did
you
to
can
Charlie
respond
Kirk.
to the question without pivoting.
I already told you, Dean, and actually you pivoted.
So can you
You
respond to
wanted
the
to,
question?
you wanted to ignore everything else I fucking said.
Wait,
I
can you
told
repeat the
it's
question?
a rebound because it's during his administration during the fucking pandemic.
Wait, so the pandemic was in 2024?
The pandemic was during his administration.
But was it during 2024?
Dean just likes to play word games.
But was it during 2024? Can you tell me?
Dean
Was it
likes
during
to fucking
2024?
pivot when he's getting shit on?
No.
know what to
Answer
say.
the
He doesn't
question.
know what to do.
Guys, he's crashing out because he can't answer the question.
Guys, he
so
doesn't
he's
wanna-
claiming
he doesn't
victory even
wanna-
though he's losing. Can you
He's
tell me,
slowing
was the
because the
pandemic in
government shut down.
2024?
You don't want to address the GDP slowing because of the government.
Oh my
shutdown
God,
that
we'll address all your
Democrats
points.
created.
We're just going
You
point
don't
by
wanna
point. Answer the
address
question.
it,
Was
Dean.
the
You wanna
pandemic in
talk fucking- You want to
2024?
play word games because you're getting fucking.
This isn't a
cooked.
word game. It matters.
I-
This isn't just semantics.
The
Okay, clarifying that the pandemic happened in 2020 and 2021, and we saw a rebound from the negative implications caused by the
During his
pandemic on real
administration.
GDP in Q1 of 2022. It absolutely matters, so much so when you're claiming the reason why we saw good GDP growth in 2024 was because of a rebound from the pandemic. These aren't just words, okay? This is an economic evaluation to dispute your view. So go ahead and answer the question. Okay, in 2024, were we in the pandemic?
No, Dean, what I said was we had a pandemic during Joe Biden's administration. Can you
That we
answer basic
rebounded
questions
from
right now?
before
Can you answer
2024?
two basic yes or no questions? Or are you
Listen,
going to concede?
not until you either concede or counter argument. Give me a counter argument to my point. So can
don't
you
wanna
agree?
answer two basic yes or
Listen,
no questions.
can you agree that
'Cause you know you're getting
that the
cooked.
growth of real GDP rebounded from the negative
Did Joe
implications
Biden
onset by the
have an
pandemic
economic rebound because
Okay.
of the pandemic? Yes or no?
in his earlier years,
Did Joe-
not in 2024?
Did Joe Biden have a rebound during his administration because of the
In his
pandemic?
earlier years, not in 2024. And your claim was the reason why we had good GDP growth in 2024 was
So in
because of the rebound from the
2024, we were not
pandemic.
recovering from the pandemic?
Our real GDP growth rate was not
So in
rebounding from the
2024, we were
pandemic.
not recovering from the pandemic, Dean?
Our real GDP growth rate was not
no,
rebounding.
answer the
No.
question, Dean.
I
In
am.
2024, was the U.S. recovering from the pandemic?
Yes, but not rebounding
Yeah, thank-
in the sense of real GDP
You
growth.
for conceding. Good boy.
That wasn't a concession because I'm being very clear with our
conceded.
language. Our economy was quote unquote recovering from the pandemic in many senses, like attempting to continually get prices down,
Thanks to Joe
to
Biden.
increase the purchasing power of the working
Thanks to Joe
class, so
Biden.
on and so forth. And that, by the way, we're gonna see that recovery for like the next
That's
10
right.
years. Like we still have a big issue that was in part caused by the pandemic when we were referencing the pricing of houses in America even today. Okay,
All of
but
a sudden,
saying that there are some aspects of the economy that are still quote unquote in recovery onset by the pandemic is not saying that we saw any type of quote unquote rebound in the real GDP growth in 2024. That's what I'm trying to show you. See, the negative hit that the real GDP took caused by the pandemic started in Q4 of 2029 and it reached its pit in Q2 of 2022. So we would expect any growth of the real GDP back up to where it was at in Q4 of 2019 to be a legitimate rebound that we wouldn't be able to attribute to new economic growth, right? It's just people going back to work and businesses kicking it back into high gear. So if we want to account for the quote unquote rebound in the growth rate of the real GDP, well, we would probably stop at Q2 of 2021. But all of the growth after Q2 of 2021 was no longer the naturally expected rebound of the pandemic. So I don't understand why you're arguing that the growth in the real GDP that we saw from Q1 of 2024 to Q4 of 2024 was at all a quote unquote rebound from the hit that the real GDP took all the way back here in 2019 and 2020. That makes legitimately no sense to say, but that is what you said. So I would appreciate a concession at this point in time.
I'll explain to you why it's a rebound. Dean, if something is low and goes down and then it goes up, is that a rebound?
Yes.
Okay, and so if at quarter 4 of 2025 it was at 0.5, and then at quarter 1 of 2026, the next quarter, it went up to 2%, did it go up?
Can you repeat the question?
if in the quarter of 2025, the last quarter was at 0.5%, and then in the very next quarter, the first quarter of 2026, it went up to 2.0%, you wouldn't call that a rebound?
Yeah, I would not call that a rebound from the pandemic.
If it went up, I didn't say it was from the pandemic. I said Joe Biden had a rebound because of the pandemic.
Not in 2024, right?
You just conceded that our economy was recovering in 2024 because of the pandemic. Yes?
I conceded that some aspects are still recovering, including in 2024, like the housing markets. But I explicitly clarified that this is not true of real GDP growth. Like once again, this is my last time I'm going to explain this. This was the negative hit from the pandemic. This was the rebound. Okay? Right? So any growth from this little dip down here, any growth from this little dip down here to around right here would be the rebound from the pandemic. That's the rebound from the pandemic. Okay? Okay? That's the rebound from the pandemic. This right here, Q1 of 2024 to Q4 of 2024, that is not the rebound of the pandemic. I want to clarify for everybody watching that this guest is saying, okay, the highlighted section of the graph is the quote-unquote rebound from the dip that you see starting in Q1 of 2020. This dude's an idiot.
What's your source of that graph, Dean? Just real quick so I can look at it.
Federal Reserve, FRED.
Sure, what's the title of the graph?
Real gross domestic product. Fuck.
We're talking about the real GDP. So if you were to look at a real graph for the real GDP growth, it would actually look like this.
Can you read?
So would this be a rebound, Dean?
Can you please read the text on the
Would
screen
this
that I'm
be a
showing you?
rebound, Dean? No. Answer the question. Look at this graph.
I don't
Would this
know
be
what
a
the
rebound?
graph you're showing us is articulating.
I showed you the U.S. real GDP.
But what
growth,
is the
annualized.
x-axis? What is the
Annualized
y-axis?
percentage. The growth rate percentage and the quarter. So quarter 24, 2025 at 0.05. And then this quarter, you're saying this is not a rebound.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is that 2024 wasn't a rebound from the pandemic.
But this was.
Yeah, we could talk about that next. I think that was a little bit of a
Okay.
rebound experienced by Trump because Donald Trump really
Bro, you're
tanked
playing
GDP
games.
growth, and then he was able to get it to go up by a little bit. But still yet, even the original tank in the GDP growth was worse than what we saw under Biden in 2024, and Donald Trump's quote-unquote rebound in the GDP growth was still even lower than what we saw in 2024. Like, I don't
your
mind
graph that you were
conceding
showing.
that under some sense, Donald Trump was able to like quote-unquote rebound like the real GDP.
That was
But
my
even
whole
the
point.
rebound of the real GDP is still yet lower than the real GDP growth that we saw under Biden. But no, the point that you made that I'm still yet contesting is when I brought this up, when I told you that like even the Donald Trump's quote unquote rebounded GDP growth rate of 2% annualized in the first quarter of 2026 is still yet 0.8% lower than the growth rate that we saw in the real GDP in 2024 under Biden. All right. And then you said, well, the reason why there was significantly more GDP growth under Biden is because that was just simply rebounding from the pandemic. So then I brought up this graph to show you there's literally no way that the growth rate in 2024 under Biden could be rebounding from the pandemic because the rebound from the pandemic was all the way back in 2021. Right? Any growth that we see up here in 2024 is very clearly not a rebound from the dip all the way back here.
Except we just admitted that you actually agreed that Biden did have a post-pandemic rebound.
Yeah, back here.
That's your opinion, though.
No, that's just what the data shows. Because a rebound is when something goes down and then it goes back up to where it was before. So the GDP growth went down and then it went back up to where it was before by Q1 of 2021. That's just statistics.
No, so why did Joe Biden do stimulus checks?
Why are you pivoting?
Why? No, has to do with Joe Biden's spending.
Yeah, we're not
So,
talking about Joe Biden's
you're saying
spending.
it's not 'cause of
we're
COVID,
talking
but
about
he did stimulus
we're
checks.
talking about an
What
articulation.
were the stimulus checks for?
Wait, yeah, the stimulus checks were because of the pandemic in
Exactly.
2021. Like, what didn't you get about this? Remember, your argument is trying to connect growth in the real GDP in 2024 back to 2020. That's what the goal is of your argument, but you can't do
Yes,
it.
his whole fucking presidency was recovery from the pandemic, and you conceded that. You admitted that.
No,
you said that is
you're
true.
lost.
You
You're
said
lost.
up until 2024, up until Joe Biden's last fucking year, we were still recovering from the pandemic. You said yes.
No.
You said yes.
I said that some aspects of the economy
Some
were recovering and
aspects.
still are today, right? And that's an undeniable fact. Some aspects of the economy are still recovering from the pandemic, like the housing market, okay? 110%. But other aspects aren't. One of the aspects that is not still in recovery from the pandemic would be the growth of real GDP, because it's already recovered. This dude's out of his depth. Way out of your depth, little bro.
Couldn't answer that, could you? Said it already recovered, yet it was down to 0.5. Anyways, this is getting old, Dean. What about the ISM?
No, concede.
You already did. You conceded.
What did I... This idiot.
Conceded that it was a rebound. You conceded that Trump did make it go up from 0.5
This
to
idiot.
2.0.
Wait,
and then your
wait.
defense to that was, well, Joe
wait,
Biden did it too.
Dude.
That was
Dude. The first point that you brought up is that Donald Trump was able to rebound shitty GDP growth into kind of
Stop.
shitty GDP growth. My counter argument is that we saw
point.
significantly better GDP growth under Biden in 2024 than we did
COVID
under Trump
recovery.
in 2025
Because
or
of COVID
now.
recovery.
And then you attributed that to COVID
That was your
recovery.
defense to,
But brother,
to Trump bringing back the economy. Well, Joe Biden
okay,
did too.
okay. Oh, listen. Okay, how about
Joe
this?
Biden
This is
recovered
this
too.
is
Yeah,
this
'cause
is
he
the
had a
last.
fucking global
This
pandemic.
is the last.
That's
This
not a
is the
real
last.
argument.
This is the last thing I'm going to try in the
You
stream.
said, well, the economy
So on
is
the
trash
graph,
right now. Actually,
on
no,
the
it's not
graph
because
on
of
your
this, this,
screen,
and this.
on
Well,
the
Joe
graph on
Biden-
your screen, point me
numbers go up
towards
too.
the recovery period
That doesn't mean
in
the economy is
specifically
trash
real
right now.
GDP.
That means Joe Biden had
Listen, on the screen, point me towards the recovery period, specifically from the negative GDP growth onset by the pandemic. So we're going to start right here. Can we agree that the highlighted data point on the graph would be the pit of the negative
that is
outcomes?
the lowest point.
Okay.
Can we agree that from
So-
there
so-
on
so-
it's increasing and recovering?
Yeah, so show me where the recovery period ends, okay? Does the recovery period end here?
No, still going, still
What
increasing.
about here?
No, still increasing, right?
Okay, what about
Still
here?
recovering, still going up.
What about here?
Still recovering, still going up.
It's still recovering from this dip?
Dean, is it still going up?
Yeah, but it's not going up
Yeah,
past
so that
the
means it's
previous peak
recovering.
from this dip.
That means it's recovering, Dean.
Yeah, but it's
going
not.
up.
Listen, it doesn't mean that it's recovering. Let me try to find another way to describe this.
And this is your defense
Listen.
to Trump making the economy better.
Recovery is not growth.
Well, Biden had-
Listen, can you listen to
had
what I'm saying
good
here? Because
stuff too.
I want to describe this to you.
Dean, your
Recovery
argument
is
was
not.
Biden did stuff too.
Listen. Recovery
That was your
is.
defense.
Hey, my friend. Listen, recovery is not growth. Okay.
were talking about Trump, and you brought it up- you
listen
brought up
to what I'm
Biden.
saying. Listen to what I'm saying here.
Sound like a Trump
Recovery.
supporter
Listen
right
to what
now.
I'm saying here. Recovery is not growth. Recovery is rebound. So when we
Exactly.
want to point towards the recovery period in the real gross domestic product that we saw caused by the pandemic, we're not just going to be pointing towards literally all of the growth after the pandemic. That'd be silly. This is like saying that we would still be recovering from the pandemic in 2060 because hopefully the GDP growth will still be going up in 2060. The recovery period would just simply be from, well, the worst of the worst right here to getting us back to where we were before, right? But like, do you agree that under like your definition of what it means to be in a recovery period from the pandemic, that we would still be in the recovery period from this pandemic 100 years from now if the GDP growth is still going up?
No, because there would be more dips from then. It would be recovery from other dips.
Wait, it's just until the next
Pretty
dip?
fucking simple, Dean.
Wait, so
If
so
there
so
are
if we
dips,
didn't
dude,
see,
do you let
so if there
anybody
were
else
no
speak?
recessions for the next
Is this
50
just
years,
the Dean show?
if there were zero
Debate
recessions
yourself?
for the next 50 years,
Do you
would
wanna
we be in
debate
recovery
yourself?
from the pandemic for the next
You
50
want to
years?
debate yourself?
Just answer my question, please.
Do you want to debate yourself?
Just answer my question, please. If there were no recessions for the next 50 years, no dips in GDP growth for the next 50 years, would we be in recovery from the pandemic for the next 50 years?
ask your question again. Sorry, I was looking at the numbers before the pandemic, which are higher
Perfect.
than.
I'm going to ask the
recovery.
question. I'm going to ask the question again. So if there were no recessions for the next 50 years, no dips in GDP growth for the next 50 years, would we be in GDP recovery from the COVID pandemic for the next 50 years?
You could say that. You could argue it.
Okay. You are economically illiterate. Thank you for coming up. I'm debating kids, dude. That's that. And that's that. How absurd. And that's that. All right, let's go to get the next guest loaded up in the box right now. Only hop inside of that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. Oh my God. How sad. What a sad life that guy must live. Think about how much, I must live rent free in that guy's skull. Let me tell you why. The reason why I live rent free in that guy's brain is I had him present himself like a complete moron just because he didn't want to concede to me because he doesn't like me. By the way, even like children can understand my argument there. The fact there. I don't even want to use the phrase my argument because it's not just an argument, it's a fact. Even like children could understand that the recovery period from the pandemic would be the period in which it takes to get our economy back to where it was before the pandemic, right? Even children could understand that. But that guy, he intentionally and obtusely rejected that and then just redefined the recovery period of the pandemic as any growth that takes place after the pandemic, indefinitely, until after you and me die. And the pandemic is nothing more than a figment of history books. All because he didn't want to concede to me. I must really live rent-free in his head. We're going to get the next guest loaded up in the box. Guys, I'm still recovering from getting my tonsils out in second grade because my health has only gotten better since then. I'm still recovering from a scratch that Momo gave me a year and a half ago because the tenacity of the skin on my body has only been getting healthier since then. She hasn't scratched me again. Like, what a dumbass. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
How old are you? Hello? Okay, he's not here. We're going to kick him and move on to the next guest, guys. Only up inside of that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. Dude, I'm laughing hard as hell at that. And the funniest thing is, dude doesn't even have like the Trump supporters in the comment section.
I think you're honestly economically illiterate. That was all.
That last guy doesn't even have like Trump supporters in the comment section defending him. Like, dude was all on his own on that one. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up with the box. Only up inside of the queue if you happen to be MAGA, please and thank you. Hey, Nicholas, thank you so much for the $15 donation over on PayPal. Let's get 150 Nicholas W's down below. I really appreciate you. Nicholas with a 50 bucks says, if I get a disease and fully recover it from it and then gain 30 pounds of muscle mass several years later, the muscle gain is not me recovering from the said disease. I know dick about economics and can follow what you're saying. Exactly, Nicholas, because the concept of economic recovery is no different than any other framing of recovery. Like, the concept of economic recovery is just like your like personal recovery from an illness, disease, or surgery, right? It's no different. That's why it's so easy to understand.
When you take into account where you would be without the pandemic. So are black
He's back on another account!
Are black people not recovering from slavery?
He's back on another account! Oh my god, bruh! He's back on another account to continue it! You wanted to drill the point in! Our economy is still in recovery! It's still in recovery, everybody! It's still in recovery, you guys! Quite frankly. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in the box. You know, dude, I hope that, your recovery for the tonsillitis you got in first grade is going well, man. You sound about 35 years old. I hope that the recovery from getting your wisdom teeth out at 19 years old is going well, man. You know, and honestly, when you're 85 years old, I hope that the recovery from getting burnt so fucking terribly by Dean Withers today is still going so well, man. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Mason, you're a child. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in the box right now. Only up inside of that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. Only up inside of that queue if you happen to be MAGA, please and thank you. But I appreciate you for the $15, Nicholas. Guys, please do follow the rules of the live stream if you want to join. Make sure that you follow our rules, please and thank you. Make sure that you follow our rules, please and thank you. We're going to go to get that next guest loaded up into the box right now, you guys. We got Gabrielle connecting in. Hey, Brenda, thank you so much for the $60 donation on PayPal. Brenda, thank you so much. That is beyond kind of you. I'm so very grateful for you. Thank you so much for the continued love and support. Brenda with a $60 says, first
Let me see
dono.
your cock boy.
Banned again. First dono, started listening in a few weeks ago. I live in Arkansas and can tell you that a lot of people are also uneducated and they cope by believing in conspiracy theories. This guy wants to be smart, but he doesn't realize he sounds so incompetent. He cannot follow advanced conversation. Well, I really appreciate you so very much for the $60, Brenda. Thank you so much for the love and support. I want to see 600 Brenda W's down below because that is beyond kind of you, and I'm so very grateful. Please show some love to Brenda down below in that comment section. And no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, he sounded absolutely incompetent, bending himself into about a billion different shapes. SJ, thank you for the $10, who says oh, I appreciate you for that love, SJ. I'm going to shout you out anyways. Thank you for the $10. And Addison, thank you so much for the $20. Let's get to her. Addison W's, that is ADDISON, who says, for that one guess, why would he have to say that he got away with it? Was it morally right? Also, appreciate you ton. Watch every day and learn so much. Thank you, Addison. And Addison's question was actually addressing this motherfucker who's up in here arguing that Donald Trump was not a sexual predator for perving on the bodies of naked women and girls in their dressing rooms. He was the first guest of the day. We had him on around 40 minutes ago. Lorraine, thank you for the PNM Mirage. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? Gaming with Max. Okay, they left. Just looking for debates, everybody. I'm trying my hardest here to find somebody who's down to come up on the box and have a conversation with me. Hello, welcome in. Do you support Trump, Skittle? Okay, no, Skittle just left as well. So we have a bunch of people who are hopping inside of that queue and then leaving the queue the moment they're actually accepted onto the live stream. I don't really know how to explain that one. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do, brother.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 33 years old.
All right, sounds good, dude. I'm going to thank a couple people, then I'll pass that mic off to you. We actually all caught up over on PayPal. Over on Super Chat, thank you, Rodney, for the $10, who says, Dean, then having him explain recovery under Obama, Trump claims is his. No, for real. Yeah, under Trump in his first term, we were just still yet recovering from the Great Recession, right? We were still yet just recovering. Hey, thank you so much, Lord T, for the $10, who says stop using ChatGPT. That would be some good advice to that last guess. And Grandma, thank you so much for the $50 on Super Chat. That came in around 40 minutes ago when we were in the middle of the debate with the last airhead. I really hope that you're still in here, quote unquote, Grandma 2222, so you could hear me say this. Just know that I really appreciate you so much for the love and support. That is beyond kind of you. And I'm so grateful. I don't deserve a penny of that. Thank you, Grandma, for the $50. Please show some love to Grandma down below. Same thing to Phoenix and Shammy for the $10 over on Super Chat. We are all caught up on PayPal. We're all caught up on Super Chat. To get caught up on Venmo, thank you, Heather, for the $3. I appreciate you. Peter, thank you for the $20, who says this guy's hill to die on is that the GDP seems so insignificant while Howard Lutnick still has a job, right? Thank you for the $20, Peter. You're the goat. Let's get to our Peter W's. Lucas and Jason, thank you guys for the $5. And Barda, thank you so much for the $20, who says Andrew Wilson ran from my live stream last night. No way. That's crazy. Claimed he had a scheduled debate and then watched me debunk his claims for the next half hour on his stream. We were watching him watch us. Damn, dude, really? You also dropped your TikTok ad. I'll have to check you out, man. I love that. I love to hear that. Fuck Andrew Wilson. I'll definitely be checking you out, boss. Thank you so much for that love and support. Julia, thank you so much for the $10, who says, please stop having a life of your own and go live 24/7. You were awesome. Dude, yeah, right? Oh my God, I would die. I couldn't do it. My mental health would just be so terrible. Chris, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. I appreciate you. Let's get to it, Chris W. Thank you so much for supporting me and what we do. Gracie, thank you so much for the $10. And Ramona, thank you so much for the $5. And Matthew, thank you so much for the $20. $25 donation who says, hey, Dean. Hey, Matthew. I appreciate you for being here, man. Thank you for the $25 dono. Thank you so much, you guys. With all that being said, we're all caught up. I appreciate you guys so much for the kindness. If you want to support me, if you want to support the stream, allow us to be able to continue to do this for 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can find the PayPal and the Venmo and the link tree in the bio on TikTok. Pin a message over on the other place. And Dean Withers without the Ian Withers. I appreciate you so much for your patience. Go ahead and take it away, Ultimate Man. Tell us why you support Trump.
First of all, man, Dean, I'd say your broadcast is probably one of the hardest to get into out of all your friends. So it's an honor to finally have the privilege to, come in here and talk to you. I support Trump on many different reasons. I support his immigration policies. I support how he runs the White House, and obviously UFC, that fight is going to be there, and I think that's amazing. You don't think that's cool?
I don't think it's presidential. And the reason, here's my gauge. If it's something that I would find really, really cool in 3rd grade, then it's probably not presidential. Admittedly, I would probably find a UFC fight on the White House lawn cool as fuck when I was 10 years old. Okay?
I think that's still pretty cool till this day.
And that's fine. Okay, even if you think that's cool, I understand that there's some really big UFC fans. Admittedly, if I was a really big UFC fan, I might also think it's kind of cool that there's a UFC fight going on in the lawn of the White House. But listen, from my perspective, I just think it's trashy. Honestly, I think it's so trashy. White trash. That's just white trash. When you think of a white person drinking a beer tube and going down a river, that is just as white trash as Donald Trump hosting a UFC fight on the White House lawn. It's just cheap. You know what I mean? And hopefully you don't support the leader of the most powerful country on earth because he does cheap, trashy shit like hosting UFC boxing matches on the White House lawn.
That's a stab wound to the heart, brother. I mean, I think it's a great idea, first of all. And, like I said, I do support
It just
Trump.
reminds me of the Roman Colosseums too, right? I don't know, state-endorsed fighting at the country's capital on ground in which used to be respected. I feel like it's something I'd see in Idiocracy. That's another good gauge we could use here. If it's something that realistically could have been written into the Idiocracy plot for the movie, then it's probably not something we should support our president doing.
Okay. And another thing, Trump recently passed this new law. I think it's PD 417. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it pretty much indicates that Parker gets to fuck Dean in the ass in the mountains, and I get to watch. And Harry Sisson's gonna join too, and he's gonna watch also.
Why?
Greetings.
Why? Just why?
What was up with that last guy? He was being weird.
How old are you, Matthew?
Old enough.
Earmuffs, little bro. Earmuffs, dog. Put them on. Bro. I don't know why MAGA spends so much of their time talking about and thinking about gay sex. And then at the end, he threw I Get a Watch in there. Hey, yo, bro. Leave it to Wattpad, not the political debates on stream. Dude, welcome in. Do you support Trump, Cadence?
Yeah,
How old are you?
13.
Get Cadence. Goodbye. We're going to go ahead and put the rules back up in the middle of the live stream. Guys, I think that we need them. I think that we need those rules. You got to be 18 plus, American and MAGA. Make sure that you're following the rules. We're going to go ahead and try to get the next guest loaded up in the box right now. Frankly, I don't think that there's too many Trump supporters left. At all. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
I do.
How old are you?
27.
27. Cool, man. You shouldn't support Trump. That dude's an idiot. Let me thank a couple people here. Hey, Sean, I appreciate you so much for the $25 donation on Venmo. Thank you, man. Please show some love to Sean down below in that comment section. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get 250 Sean W's also. Appreciate your message, man. Appreciate your message. Emma, thank you for the $1 who says, hey, Diva. What's up, Emma? Appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Over on Super Chat, thank you so much for the $5. Cheesy. I appreciate you so much, Cheesy. And Randy. Dude, Randy. Oh wait, that's from yesterday. Never mind, Randy, if you're still watching, just know I appreciate your donut from yesterday. And Cheyenne, thank you for the $11, who says, good evening, Dean, how was your day? It was pretty good. It was really slow. Honestly, I just kind of napped all day coming back home from camping. Let's get 100 Cheyenne W's. Go ahead and take it away, man. How the hell do you support this terrible president who's tanking the economy as the worst character out of any president in modern American history? He's an admitted sexual predator that's been found guilty of rape in court. What are your thoughts?
What do you mean, Christian? We have a Christian country back. Charlie Kirk has made a huge impact on the United States. There's a huge Christian revival happening. I mean, to try to say, oh, Donald Trump is bad, maybe he's a bad guy. Look at what's going on in the United States today. Gay is not okay again. Trans is not okay again. Christianity is coming back better than ever.
Mm-hmm. So according to the Pew Research Center, 5 years ago, 68% of people identified as Christian. Today, 62% of people identify as Christian. So there's actually less Christian people. But you're saying there's more bigotry. Like, you know.
Well, yeah, in the 1950s, we were 90% Christian. So yeah, you can call it bigotry. I call it American.
So why is it wrong to be gay?
Why is it wrong to be gay? I mean, you can do whatever you want. I hope to see you in heaven, Dean.
So do you have an answer to the question? Because if you don't, then it's by definition bigotry. Bigotry is just unjust.
No, I want what's best for you, and I would love to see you in heaven.
Okay. Do you have an answer to the question?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to see you in heaven.
So why do you think it's wrong to be gay if you don't have any good reason to believe it's wrong to be gay?
No, like, let's say if my sister was gay.
Like check this out.
I say, hey, I would like to
if a belief can be proposed with no evidence, then the belief can be dismissed with no evidence. So because you propose the belief that it's wrong to be gay with no evidence, then I shall dismiss the belief that it's wrong to be gay with no evidence.
What I'm saying is that I love everybody. I want what's best for you, and I'd like to see you in the afterlife.
You know who you won't see in the afterlife?
Who?
Trump.
That's okay. I'll see Charlie.
I don't think you'll see Charlie either.
Oh, I'll definitely see Charlie.
No, Charlie's in hell.
Yeah, I'll see Charlie.
Do you want to know why I think Charlie's likely in hell?
Why?
Because he's okay with child torture.
He's not.
Yeah, he was.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he was asked. I mean, I watched this. I was 10 feet away during the filming of the episode. He was asked if his 10-year-old daughter was raped and impregnated, would he allow her to access abortion? And he said, all I'm going to say is that baby's going to be born. So forcing raped children to maintain their pregnancy. One moment. Forcing one's child to maintain pregnancy and to give birth is child torture.
No.
Why not?
Because one egregious act does not mean it's okay to kill a baby, Dean.
Yeah, I actually think it does, even under the Christian worldview, because it's more so the claim that the raped child wouldn't have an obligation to provide for the means and the needs of the fetus. Can I give you an analogy?
So you just like killing babies. That's what you're saying.
Well, I just like respecting individualistic rights, liberties, and freedoms. This is what we call this is what we call a red herring fallacy, where you attempt to restructure my argument into some like crazy offshoot variant that you think is easier to defeat. So I'm actually just going to give the analogy here because I think that you'd actually be okay with quote unquote killing babies if we were to make the logic apply to you. Do you know who Max Irby is?
No.
Okay, you don't really know much, so I'm not surprised. Max Irby is...
How do I... What did I say that...
Hey, buddy, just turn the other cheek. Much. Remember, Matthew 5:39, okay, says to turn the other cheek. Just take it with grace. 17:15. Take it with grace, okay? But now to continue, you don't know who Max Irby is. That's fine. Max Irby is a 15-year-old who is going to die unless he gets a stem cell transplant. And this is, like, a true story, by the way. Everything that I'm about to say is true. But, see, the thing is Max Irby's stem cell type is so rare. His father Juan Irby, I believe, started a drive called like Cells for Max or something like that, where they will send out DNA testing kits to anybody that requests one off their website to see if you are a stem cell match. Now, they've collected around 4 million of these kits, and they've tested the stem cell type of 4 million people to maxes. And what they've found is that nobody yet has been a match. All right. And as far as we know, it's possible that if there is a match, it's likely just one person or no one. So here's my question to you. Okay. If we found out you are a perfect stem cell match for Max Irby, and you're the only match alive, do you think that the government should be able to force you to give your stem cells to Max to prevent his death, even if that meant being connected to Max via a cord for 9 months at significant mental and physical stressors, pains, and traumas to yourself?
I do not think the government should be able to force you to do anything.
Exactly, right? You're telling us here, right, that you shouldn't be forced to give your bodily resources to Max, even if your bodily resources, okay, are the only thing that will keep Max alive. So very similarly, victims of rape shouldn't be forced to provide their bodily resources to the fetuses growing in their uterus, even if denying them access to their bodily resources would then lead to the death of the fetus, since they were the only thing keeping them alive, very similar to how you denying access of your bodily resources to Max would lead to Max's death.
Listen, if you're underneath the age of 18, everything is your parents' fucking decision. And you should not be able to go through transgender surgery or have hormone tampering.
Come on, bro. You're smarter than this. You know what a pivot is.
You just said that. I don't know much. Now you're saying I'm smarter than this.
Yeah, you're smart enough to know that we weren't talking about HRT. You're smart enough to know that I just gave you an analogy to demonstrate why victims of rape should be able to access abortion in accordance with your own logic.
Right. What I'm saying is the government should not be able to force you to do anything. Yes, if you have a child, you should be able to pick and choose what goes on with your child.
What about adults that are raped?
Yeah, no baby should be killed.
Okay, so the state should be able to force adults that are raped to provide their bodily resources to the fetus. So why shouldn't they be able to force you to give your bodily resources to Max?
Abortion is worse than the fucking Holocaust.
Okay, yeah, that's also what Charlie Kirk said. Making an outrageous claim is something that sometimes will get me to completely drop the argument I'm making. I'll respond to that outrageous claim right after you respond to this, because you're using that outrageous claim as a pivot. Very outrageous and insincere. Crazy, if you ask me.
No, more Christians were killed by Jews than Jews were killed by Christians.
Okay, are you a Nazi?
No. I love Jews. I love
how many Jewish individuals were killed in the Holocaust?
I'm Jewish.
How many Jewish individuals were killed in the Holocaust?
Was it like 12 million, 6 million? There's numbers all over the place.
Okay. Okay, I'll respond to all of this like here in a second, because I want you to actually answer my question. If the state shouldn't be able to force you to provide your bodily resources to Max Irby, then why should the state be able to force victims of rape to provide their bodily resources to fetuses?
I've made my answer very clear. If you have a child, you should have the option to do what you will with your child. In states that have been decided, listen, abortions are not okay. That's fine. We should make the entire country have abortions not being okay. So there should be no babies getting killed.
So then why should there be Max Irby's getting killed? Why should the state not be able to force you to provide your stem cells to Max?
They should not be forced to do anything other than not kill babies. This is very simple.
Well, the same way that an abortion bill would be killing a fetus is the same way that you'd be killing Max Irby, by not giving him your bodily resources.
What?
You don't understand that sentence? So an abortion pill just simply cuts off the sustenance of bodily resources from the pregnant woman to the fetus. Then the fetus dies because they need those bodily resources to live. Very similarly, if you didn't give your stem cells to Max Irby would die because he needs your stem cells to live. Yet you don't think that the state should be able to force you to give your stem cells to Max Irby. So therefore, an extension of your logic would be is that the state shouldn't be able to force pregnant women to give their bodily resources to the fetus.
No, more Christians were killed by Jews than Jews were killed by Christians. In states that have been decided, listen, the government should not be able to force you to do anything other than not killing babies. This is very simple. The government should not be able to force you to do anything. But yes, killing babies is bad.
Okay. If the government shouldn't be able to force them to supply their bodily resources to the fetus, then they should be able to choose to stop supplying their bodily resources to the fetus. The same way you should be able to choose to not give your stem cells to Max, right?
This is a fucking ridiculous argument.
It's not ridiculous. My proof that it's not ridiculous is that you can't respond to it. It tells me it's pretty damn solid. Pretty damn impenetrable.
It's fucking ridiculous. I've responded to it 10 times. The government should not be able to force you to do anything. Yes, killing babies should be illegal. You should go to prison for the rest of your fucking life.
So do you think that do you think it should be illegal for a woman to take an abortion pill, essentially starving a fetus to death by cutting off access to that fetus from their bodily resources?
You're just gonna jump to the Bible.
Should that be illegal, please? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so then it should be illegal for you to cut off access from your stem cells to Max Irby, because Max Irby will die if he doesn't have them, right?
Max Irby, who the fuck even knows what this kid is? What are you talking about? You're telling me that a woman taking an abortion pill to kill her baby is equivalent to
you not giving your stem cells to Max Irby.
Being forced by the government to kidnap me, handcuff me, and take me into a hospital and steal my stem cells.
Yeah, I would say that those two things are quite equivalent to a victim of rape not being able to access abortion, yeah. Because the government is just handcuffing you to a fetus grown in your uterus compared to somebody else outside of your uterus.
You're not making any goddamn sense.
If anything,
two completely
it's
different
actually
fucking situations.
If anything, it's like more invasive for the victim of rape because although like the government is infringing upon your liberties and freedoms by forcefully handcuffing you to Max Irby, at least he's not like in your body, right?
All right. Let's take this into consideration.
So what exactly am I saying here that's not making sense?
The leader of Israel is gonna die unless he gets your stem cells. And you're like, oh, no, I don't want to give it to him. They kidnap you, bring you to Israel, tie you to a hospital bed, and steal your fucking stem cells. Like, what the fuck are you even saying?
Okay. So how many continents are there?
Too fucking many.
How many specifically?
7.
Name them.
Oh, it doesn't even fucking matter. They're all going to be the United States here pretty soon. They're all going to be America.
Oh my God. You know what you're not going to be doing anytime soon? Passing a 3rd grade math test.
All right,
2nd grade max. I'm sorry. He's not intelligent enough to be able to continue that dialogue, guys. You know, something I've noticed here is that many of these Trump supporters are just simply too unintelligent to hold a conversation. And for that reason, okay, when they just completely lack that ability to critically think and to comprehend these subjects, like an analogy to Max Irby, as it would make sense in reference to like a pregnant victim of rape. You know, what we see is that sometimes we just have to move on. Rumvin, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Sorta.
Okay, how old are you?
Me? 21.
Yeah, 21. Okay, is Z06 scaps you, buddy? Z06 scaps you, buddy?
What's that?
I said Z06 scaps you, buddy?
Probably. I got a Beamer though that doesn't get gapped by any other cars.
I don't know. What year were you born in?
2005.
2005? In what month?
January 22nd.
Okay. You'd be 21.
I'm 21. I just turned 21 not long ago.
Guys, did he say 20 or 21?
Said 21.
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. That's what he said? Okay, perfect. If the election was held tomorrow between Trump and Harris, who'd you vote for?
Trump.
Okay, is there anywhere a little bit more quiet that you could go? There's just a shit ton of background noise.
Yeah, sorry. I'm outside.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to go inside?
I can't.
You can't? You just want to come back later?
Let me see if I can get in a quieter area. It's pretty windy here in Cali.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, in the meantime, guys, make sure that you're double tapping away on that phone screen, sharing out this live with a handful of friends. Hit that repost button if you haven't already with that share button. And if you want to support me, if you want to support the live stream, ask a question, get a message across, you can find the PayPal and the Venmo and the link tree in the bio on TikTok, pin message over on the other place, and Dean Withers without the E in Withers Great way to support what we do to keep us going for 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. So tell us, why the hell do you support this terrible president as president? Why are you MAGA?
I like my gun rights. You see, here in Cali, it's very liberal, and it sucks so much. I'm a hard worker. I pay so much in taxes, and it sucks. But hey, California's chill, and everybody follow me also.
Okay, just came up here to beg for followers. We're gonna move on to the next guest, you guys. Please, only up inside of that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. Please do follow the rules of the live stream. Please and thank you. Please follow the rules of the live stream. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in the box. We got MO3 Baby loading in. Hopefully they are MAGA. Let's see here. Hey, Annie, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. 200 Annie W's down below. Thank you, Annie. Annie with a 200 with a $20 says, tell Cadence and all the other kids in the chat to put down the phone and pick up a book. I recommend, quote unquote, lies my teacher told me. You know what? I love that message, Annie. There are way too many kids in here. Listen, if you're like 14, guys, just scroll. Just scroll, man. Just fucking scroll. So true. Annie, I appreciate you for the $20 and the good message. Same thing to Gloom. Thank you for the $10 who says we should raise the age of consent. Raise the age of consent and see who gets mad. I appreciate you so much for the $10. You know, I think what we should like raise immediately, like literally like fucking should have happened yesterday, is specifically the age that you can consent to like filming pornography. Like, I don't think that that's something that 18-year-olds should be able to do, right? We need to bump that age up a little bit. I just think that that's like too young to like comprehend like the lifelong ramifications of that. You know, like if you want to sit here and say that like an 18-year-old can consent to engaging in sex with an 18-year-old, that's fine. I agree. All right, whatever. Okay, but like consent to pornography, absolutely not. And I think for age of consent laws that they should be staggered. Right? Like, I don't want to like sit here and say that we should fully take away the age of consent from 18-year-olds. I just think that they should like only be able to like consent to engaging to sex with individuals within like a particular age range. Okay? Right? And I think that's hopefully something that we could all agree on. When we hear stories about like 30-year-olds being in relationships with like 18-year-olds in high school, like I hope that we all kind of have like a jump scare reaction to that. You know, it's just something that like we could intuitively understand as being wrong. And I bet that I will only like further make that acknowledgement the more that I age. You know, like I'm 21. And when I think about that, I'm really grossed out. I mean, how much more will I be grossed out when I am 30, looking at other 30-year-olds dating 18-year-olds in high school? Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
No, I just want to say I love you, Dean.
I appreciate you so much for your kindness. Yo, Uncle Rom, I'm going to go ahead and send you an invite to turn your mic on.
Then I just crop dusted. My ass stinks.
We got a lot of trolls in the queue, guys, but that is because we have a temporary 10-minute restriction. We have a temporary 10-minute restriction for those joining the live stream. So hopefully here in a handful of minutes when that restriction is over, the live stream will be able to shoot out far and across that For You page and get those crazy Trump supporters in here. It would really help out if you could double tap away in that phone screen, shout that live, spam that chat, try to increase the engagement so hopefully we can reach more people on that FYP. Welcome in. Do you support Trump, Doctor?
Yes.
All right, man. One last thing I want to say here on that last topic is I feel like maybe the reason why legislators don't like see this push for like increasing the age of consent is because like they allow 18-year-olds to join the military, right? And it seems like hypocritical to say that 18-year-olds should be able to consent to die but not consent to have sex. So maybe we even need some reformation on that point too, right? I'm going to thank a couple people and then I'll pass you that mic. Thank you so much for the $50 over on Super Chat Maya. I really appreciate you so much for that love and support. Let's get 500 Maya W's down below in that comment section. Thank you, Maya. Please show some love to Maya. Thank you so much. It is very, very kind of you. Maya with a 50 says, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Parker yesterday. If you ever had the chance to meet Trump, would you? And what would you say to him? Oh, if I ever had the chance to meet Trump, I would absolutely take him up on it. And what would I say to him? Everything that the journalists in the White House haven't had the fucking spine to, right? I would love for somebody to call him out to his fucking face. And unfortunately, we just don't see that to the level that I would like. Couple people to thank really quick over on Venmo. Thank you once again, Maya, for the $50 donation. That is very, very kind of you. Kiara, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate you so much, Kiara. Show some love to Kiara. Melanie, thank you for the 5. Katie, thank you so much for the 5. And over on PayPal, Emily, thank you so much for the $10. Who says, I was listening to an old VOD yesterday, and it turns out that Chud the Builder literally came on your show a couple months ago. He loaded in, introduced himself, and immediately started screaming the N-word and got kicked. Such a weird, slimy little man. Are you sure it was him? Like what level of verification are you using to ensure that it was him? Like, did he say it was? Do the voices match? That's nuts. I hate that weirdo. Now he's facing 56 years max in jail, which I love. Hey, Francis, thank you so much for the $20 donation over on PayPal. He says, I'm a Dean fan. My mom's a Parker fan. Here's $20. Thank you, Francis. Shout out to you and your mom. Thank you so much for the $20. Let's get to other Francis W's. And then Brooklyn, I appreciate you for the $5 as well. We are all cut up. Let's go ahead and hop into that debate with Doctor. Once again, if you want to support me, you want to support the stream, you can find the Venmo, PayPal, link to in the bio on TikTok, pin message over on the other place, and Dean Withers without the Ian Withers. Go ahead and take it away, Doctor. How the hell do you still support this asshole?
I do.
I know I said how.
I think he's a baller. I don't think he's an asshole.
I understand you think he's a baller, and that he is. He's balling with billions of dollars, grifted off the backs of Americans by selling a Trump phone, Trump watches, Trump Bibles, Trump shoes, Trump guitar, Trump tequila, making money off of the war, making money off of crypto, pardoning fraudsters, plus he's a fraudster himself. But you know who's not balling? The average American.
I know. He pisses you off, and I like him because of it.
Yeah, I think that you just fundamentally have a misunderstanding about how you're supposed to engage in the political system that we live in. I think that you're low-key just a spineless droid if you support a president because they piss somebody on the internet off. You should probably support politicians because you think they're doing what is good for the country. Would you be able to articulate one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago?
Better off than it was a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
The weather. I don't know. How do you answer that question?
Well, you can answer that question because there's not a single macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago. But, buddy, good to know that I live rent-free in your head. You're just always thinking about me so much that you're thinking about me when casting a vote. Love it.
Yeah, because they're so cute. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about the fact that Trump's a rapist?
That's alleged. There was never any conviction.
Okay. Well, here's a jury verdict for him from a civil court that found him guilty of sexually abusing Miss
Civil
Carroll.
court is not
Sexual
criminal
abuse
court.
here is a synonym for rape.
Criminal court. I mean, civil court. You can get anything done.
Are you sure?
Not in criminal court.
So
Criminal
what
court
are
is what counts.
So what are the
Civil court don't
differences?
mean shit.
What are the differences between civil courts and criminal courts?
Civil court don't mean shit. That's what.
Okay, but like, what are the differences between the two courts? I just want to make sure, like, you know enough in order to like appropriately argue why you think civil courts don't mean shit. So, like, once again, please answer the question: what are the differences?
The proof of liability is lower.
Okay, and what is the burden of proof?
Yeah, the burden of proof. That's what I mean. It's lower.
Yeah, but what is the burden of proof in civil courts?
That means that it doesn't take much to prove your case.
I don't think that you're listening to me, man. What is the burden of proof in civil courts?
The burden of proof, that means if they were guilty or not, but it doesn't matter because it's not a criminal court.
Dude, holy fuck. No,
You know what I mean?
I'm
Doesn't matter.
asking you literally what the
So when
burden
you
of
go
proof
around-
is.
When you go around saying he's convicted,
Brother.
he's really not, because he has to be convicted in a criminal court.
Dude.
Because if he was convicted in a criminal court, he wouldn't be president right now.
Dude, repeat after me. What?
Right?
Can you say
What
it is
is?
the burden of proof
What is the burden of proof?
in civil courts?
Damn it, I don't know anything about civil court.
Then how do you know that somebody being found guilty in a civil court doesn't mean anything?
Because of OJ. Man.
Oh, okay. Well,
Y'all
courts
learned it back then.
courts can get it wrong sometimes. So just because you disagree with the outcome of a court case doesn't mean that the court system as a whole is unreliable. But B, that court definitely didn't get it wrong. He was guilty.
Yeah, but see, a civil court just makes you liable. That means you liable for, whatever the verdict is. That means you have to pay.
Right. Do you think that OJ was guilty or innocent?
I think he was innocent because if he was guilty, he wouldn't be president right now. Trust me.
I didn't.
I think, dude, everything
I just like,
even the
oh my god, you can't track. Oh my goodness, you can't track. I asked you about OJ.
OJ.
Was OJ innocent or guilty?
Oh, guilty as hell.
And you said that you disagree with civil courts because of the OJ case?
Well, I mean, yeah, because at the time I didn't think he was guilty. You know what I mean?
But now you do. And by the way, the only court that got it right about OJ was the civil court. The civil court was the only court that found OJ guilty.
Yeah, because the proof of viability is less, or the proof of burden, or whatever the fuck you said.
But I thought you just agreed that he actually did it.
Yeah, but that was after the fact, when he came out with that book that says, if I would have done it, this is how I would have done it.
Right, so it seems like they were actually operating off of sufficient evidence inside of the civil court. Listen, okay, the burden of proof inside of civil courts is a preponderance of evidence. A preponderance of evidence just simply means more likely than not. So the court determined that it's more likely than not Trump raped E. Jean Carroll. But when we look at the actual evidence submitted inside of that court case, it's really damning. We'll go over that now. The first piece of evidence was E. Jean Carroll's testimony that she's been able to keep consistent for the last 30 years, describing in great detail how she was raped by Donald Trump. The second line of evidence was the fact that this testimony was corroborated by 4 of her friends that she had shared the story with over the course of the last 30 years. The third piece of evidence was therapist notes from the 90s indicating that she was raped by Donald Trump. The fifth piece of evidence was a body language psychotherapist expert who testified to the fact that she seems to be telling the truth based upon her tonality and her body language and the with the present of trauma when reiterating the story of what happened to her. The next piece of evidence would be the inconsistencies within Donald Trump's testimony inside of that court case. He testified that he literally never met E. Jean Carroll. Okay, but then E. Jean Carroll proved that wrong by giving the court a picture of them together. Then he also testified under deposition that he never would have raped her because she wasn't his type. By the way, that's something a rapist would say. A non-rapist would say, I wouldn't rape her because rape is wrong. But then he confused a picture of his ex-wife, Marla Maples, to be E. Jean Carroll. Okay, so she certainly was his type. Now, the next piece of evidence we have is address. So she actually submitted a dress to the courtroom with male DNA in it, claiming that was a dress that she was raped in by Trump, and that was Trump's DNA. The court then took that dress, confirmed it had male DNA in it. They turned around to Trump and they were like, hey, dude, you're saying you're innocent. You're saying you never met her. Give us a DNA sample. We'll be able to prove this crazy lady wrong. We'll be able to exonerate you. You'll go on your way. Trump never did it. He never submitted his DNA to be tested against the DNA on a dress. That's something only a guilty man would do. And then the last piece of evidence here would be his character priors. Okay, when somebody engages in sexual violence once, they're significantly more likely to do it again. His ex-wife claimed that she had raped her in the court divorce documents. He claimed that he had sexually exploited women and girls at the beauty pageants he owned by barging into their dressing rooms looking at them naked. He clearly doesn't care about the consent of women and girls. Jeffrey Epstein claims that he shared their sexual attraction for young, quote-unquote, nubile girls. That just means sexually attractive. Jane Doe number 4, a victim, a minor that was trafficked by Epstein, claims that she was trafficked by Epstein to Trump in a confidential private interview with the FBI 3 times. So in consideration of all of these facts and more, it becomes incredibly clear that sure, he did rape E. Jean Carroll.
It doesn't matter because he wasn't convicted in criminal court. If he was convicted in a criminal court, that would be completely different. Convicted in civil court, 2 different things.
Okay.
I could have an orange convicted in civil court for it not being an orange.
Okay, so you're going back to the line of defense that many Trump supporters are left with. Even though you're able to present all of this evidence to me, as well as the outcome of a civil court, it doesn't matter because there's never a conviction inside of a criminal court. This is a standard that you're only holding towards Trump because you're an idiot. Once again, you said that OJ was guilty. Yes or no, was OJ convicted in a criminal court?
He was not convicted.
Oh, therefore, therefore it doesn't matter because he wasn't convicted in a criminal court.
You're a fast talker. I got to give you that. OJ was not convicted in a criminal court.
It doesn't. Oh, so then when you say he's guilty, you're wrong and it doesn't matter because he wasn't convicted in a criminal court.
That's right. He wasn't convicted in a criminal
So therefore he's not guilty, right? He didn't do it?
Well, he was not convicted. It was never convicted.
Right, therefore he's innocent. He did not kill her.
According to the law, yes.
No, according to you, dude.
It doesn't matter what I think.
It doesn't matter that you think OJ is guilty, even though he was never convicted in a criminal court, even though you're using the standard because Trump wasn't convicted in a criminal court. You're going to baselessly write off the civil court that held him liable alongside all of the evidence inside of it.
Well, there's reasonable doubt in my mind still. I mean,
yeah, what's the reasonable doubt to the evidence I gave you?
Reasonable doubt? Because there's no way that dude could have ran that far. Have you looked it up on a map?
Oh, to the OJ case. No,
Yeah.
reasonable doubt to the civil court case. Because I would actually say that the civil court case that held Donald Trump civilly liable for raping E. Jean Carroll had approved it, okay, to the standard of evidence that criminal courts uphold. And I think that they proved it beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt. If you disagree with me here, please name the reasonable doubt to the evidence submitted inside of the Trump v. E. Jean Carroll rape case.
He was not convicted. That's how I know.
This isn't a reasonable doubt, man. I'm saying that he was proven to have raped E. Jean Carroll beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt. My argument that he was proven to have raped E. Jean Carroll beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt was all of the evidence that I just gave you. Now, if you want to refute my argument here, would you please name the reasonable doubt to the evidence I named?
Okay, look, man. That means he was held liable. He wasn't convicted. He was held liable.
So he was found guilty through a civil court, which means to be held liable. So liable is a synonym for guilt. They mean the same thing, to be held responsible for.
Well, it also, but he was not convicted in a criminal court.
But that doesn't matter because they proved it to the same standard of evidence that a conviction in a criminal court would.
It does matter.
No, not if they proved it to the same standard of evidence that a conviction in a criminal court would, right? Listen, I'm saying the reason why it doesn't matter is because it was proven to the same standard of evidence that a criminal court would.
But it doesn't matter. It's not criminal court. You understand?
The reason why you are saying criminal courts matter is because they prove things beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt, right?
No, I'm saying that the reason why a criminal court matters is because if you're found guilty, you have to do time. If you're found guilty in a liable case, you just have to pay people.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the consequences for the action. We're just talking about if we know he engaged in the action. Like, listen, if, like, I'm a kid and I do something wrong, right? I draw on the walls, and my mom chooses not to punish me harshly, that doesn't mean that I never drew on the walls. Very similarly, when you say that you dispute the outcome of the civil court case that held Donald Trump liable for raping E. Jean Carroll because he wasn't punished harshly, he just had to pay money compared to going to jail. Okay, that doesn't mean that he didn't rape her, because the evidence inside of the case proved he raped her.
Yes, and there was also, biased jury, It's just a, it's a setup. It's all set up.
Okay, do you have any direct evidence that the jury was biased?
If you give me 15 minutes alone with him, I can pull it up for you.
It'd take you 15 minutes?
That's right.
15 minutes to do what?
The waterboard him, and I get to get your answer for you.
Oh, to waterboard the jury.
That's right.
Okay, so as it stands, you don't have any evidence.
Of course not. But see, we're him and Han.
Did you know that Donald Trump's lawyers argued in the case that it wasn't biased?
See, this is old news, man.
Listen, did you know that Donald Trump's lawyers argued in the case that the jury was not biased?
Look, man, you arguing about shit that happened years ago.
Yeah, I don't care if the rape happened years ago. If the rapist is president today, I'm gonna fucking talk about it. Look, Politico, Donald Trump lawyer rejected claim that jurors' political affiliation signified bias.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He's still president.
A newly unsealed filing in the E. Jean Carroll case reveals how Trump successfully kept a listener of a far-right podcast on the jury. So when you sit here and you say that the jury was biased against Trump, you're wrong. Even Donald Trump's lawyers rejected that claim.
I'm saying this. He's president. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. And he's going to be president for the next 3 years.
Yeah, saying that he's going to be president also for the next 3 years, doofus. He has around 2.5 years left. Okay, saying that he's going to be president does not negate any of the evidence that I've supplied to prove that he raped a woman, nor does it negate the counter arguments that I've supplied to your claims, such as the jury that agreed he raped her was biased against him.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, why dwell on something that you cannot change? It's like that innate thing. You have to accept the things you cannot change.
Okay.
That type of thing.
So if Jeffrey Epstein was president, would you just accept it and move on? Or would you dwell on it and probably argue that people shouldn't support him because he's a multi-count child rapist?
Well, one, Jeffrey Epstein is alive, and he's at Palm Beach Pete. You ever seen him on TikTok?
Can you answer my question?
What now? What do you mean answer?
the question I asked you?
Dude, I don't care about Jeffrey Epstein. He's just a rich dude. He has nothing to do with my life or your life or, anything that, has nothing to do with anything.
Okay. I just think that guy was a brick wall. We're fucking cooked, dude. We're fucking cooked. We're cooked. We're so cooked. I posted about this on Twitter the other day. 48% of Republicans in North Carolina think that Biden is to blame for the state of the economy today. How can we move forward as a country with such mediocre incompetence festering in our electorate? And I feel like that guy was a shining example of that mediocre incompetence. Such a shining example. Like, what other words could be used to describe the nature of that last guest we heard? Mediocre incompetence. Hey, welcome in. Do you support Trump, Rick?
We are Charlie Cook.
We got our next guest loading up in the box. Only hop inside of that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president, please and thank you. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, PayPal link tree in the bio on TikTok. Pin message over on the other place. And Dean Withers without the Ian Withers. Hey, do you support Trump? Going once, going twice. Moving on to the next guest. Do not want to know what they were about to say there. Happy we kicked them. We got the next guest, Jay Marr, loading into the box. Awesome. Yo, Caitlin, thank you for the $2 on PayPal, and Raven, thank you for the $3. Jay Marr, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Well, let's just say this. I'm kind of ashamed that I voted for the guy 3 times. I'm not gonna lie. I think he done a pretty good job from like 2016 to like 2019, but I think it was just the reason why I voted for him is because it was something new. You know what I mean?
Well, Jamar, I appreciate you for coming up, man. Because like your first words on the live were to say that you're ashamed about your previous support for Trump. We know that you're no longer a Trump supporter today, man. And just know that I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for walking back that support. I think that's really important for many people to do. I think that right now is a big eye-opener moment just to how shitty he is. So I appreciate you for being ashamed of that vote. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, of course.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
What year were you born in?
2007.
Okay. What month?
Huh?
What month?
April.
And why do you support Trump?
I don't know. I feel like he's just better than any of the Democrats, for real.
And why is that?
I don't know. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like they're just kind of like you said about one of the other guys. They're all just brick walls. They're gonna be stuck on their agenda no matter what.
So can you tell me why you think Trump is good? How about this? What's your favorite Trump policy?
My favorite Trump policy. You got me there. I couldn't name one definitely off the top of my head, but I do think that he's done way better things than Biden, though, for sure.
So then what's your favorite thing that he's done?
In referring to what, as his
Lita, thank you so much for the wolf. I appreciate you, Lita. That is Leeta. Thank you so much for that support. I appreciate you. Show some love to Lita in that chat. Yes. Okay, he just left. Like I said, I will repeat it again. Mediocre incompetency. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in that box. Show some love to Lita down below. Brad, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
And how old are you?
19.
What year were you born in?
2006.
What's your favorite Trump policy?
You're a stupid piece of shit, Nick.
Okay, once again, mediocre, racist incompetency. Proving my point, guest by guest. Every single guest that joins the live stream proves my point, apparently. Every single one of them. Mediocre incompetency. Moving on to the next guest right now. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yes and no. I'm more of a Charlie Kirk supporter.
And how old are you?
18. Born in July.
What year?
What's your opinion about Charlie Kirk's death?
What year were you born in?
2007.
7 of
What's your
July.
opinion about Charlie Kirk's death?
If the election was held tomorrow between Trump and Harris, who'd you vote for?
I prefer Trump because I like closed borders.
Closed borders. Okay.
I don't like illegal immigration.
Yeah, sure. What is one way that mass deportation materially makes this country better?
For one, if you come into this country illegal, it is legal. It is a federal law.
Let me look at his post. Yeah, dude. Based upon your post, yeah, he left. He was under the age of 18. Okay. Moving on to the next guest. Only opposite side of the queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. Only opposite side of the queue if you happen to be MAGA. We're gonna get the next guest loaded up in the box right now. Only hop inside of the queue if you happen to be MAGA. Please and thank you. We got therapists loading up in the box. Only hop inside of the queue if you are MAGA. Please and thank you. Colin, appreciate you for that swan, man. Appreciate it, dude. What's up, therapist? Do you support Trump?
No, I don't. But why can't I speak on this chat?
Because I'm looking to debate people who do support Trump. You have a good rest of your day, okay?
You're like Charlie Kirk. You're just on the other side of the politics, but you treat people just the same. You're criticizing anybody that supports Trump, but you will not hear from my side, which agrees with you, about how you're doing it poorly.
Okay. Yeah, sure. How am I doing it poorly? Tell me.
You just make people feel like shit instead of saying, okay, I can like there's some things people are saying that can be respected, even if you don't agree, but you make them feel like they're idiots for even thinking that way.
Yeah, can you give me an example?
On our side of politics, just the same.
Can you give me an example of like me unfairly making somebody feel like an idiot?
No, I mean, just take the 10 minutes ago you were talking to somebody. Why do you think people hang up so fast?
I think that they hang up so fast because they don't know how to respond to my interrogation of their worldview. So you're unable to give me a specific example. Here's what I'd say. I think that I think that I'm very fair. I think that I'm very patient. I think I'm much more non-confrontational and respectful than most people would be in my position. And frankly, I think that I'm more respectful than I should be. Like, I could give an example. A couple of guests ago, I was debating with some guy about abortion, right?
I don't think anybody needs this.
Wow, you're being really disrespectful to me by not allowing me to speak and shutting me down at the introduction to the conversation and telling me that you don't even want to hear the counter argument to what you believe in. Listen, I'm actually now going to critique you. I think you could like have these conversations a lot better if you actually let the other person speak and like, you know, share their opinion and give you their point of view instead of just shutting them down out of the gate. I think that like there's a big problem with people like you that do that. It's just really unfair. It's not that effective at dialogue.
What did I
No,
do?
but listen, here's my point. I think I'm a lot more respectful than I have to be. And I think that you just get mad because of, I don't know, some underlying issues with your own life that don't involve me. Like if I had to take a guess.
Absolutely, sure. I mean, whatever.
Like if you want to give a specific example of me being unfairly demeaning to somebody, feel free.
I'd have to log out, log it, make note of it. It's like just because you can overpower someone with all kinds of words and stuff doesn't mean you're right or that it's respectful.
So I think what makes me right is the fact that I'm able to prove what I think.
And I come back with an example, but I don't think it's going to change your opinion.
Okay. Well,
like,
I mean,
have you ever been wrong in a debate and been like, "Oh, that's legit. Thanks for mentioning that."
So I literally
haven't heard that on this channel ever.
Because the things that I debate people on are things that I'm not wrong on. Like for instance, when I tell somebody that Trump is a rapist, like I can't be wrong about that because it's demonstrably true. When I tell people that Trump has destroyed the economy, I can't really be wrong about that because it's demonstrably true. Like, yeah, and more like nuanced conversations about like of like hyper technical subjects of like meta ethics, epistemology, philosophy of mind, so on and so forth. Like the debates that I kind of have in my free time. Like I could be wrong about those things a lot of the time. But for like the conversations that I have on this stream, like I really can't be wrong because it is a demonstrably true point that Donald Trump is a terrible president.
Yeah, I agree. But then I guess my question would be, why have a channel like this to bring people on just to shut them down? Because we already know demonstrably that's true.
Yeah, because a lot of them don't.
The other side.
A lot of people don't. Who it alienates is those that understand it's demonstrably true that Trump is a bad president and they don't care because they're inherently irrational or evil. And I'm fine with alienating those people. The point of this live stream is to change the minds of everybody who isn't inherently irrational or evil and supports Trump because they've been misled or propagandized. So that's who I'm demonstrating my points to be true to. Everybody else deserves to be alienated because I hope that that alienation and that social ridicule will be the thing that changes their mind because very clearly logic and rationality won't.
Okay, I follow that. But that's actually not the people calling in, right? So the influence you're trying to have is on the people listening, not those calling in.
The biggest influence of this live stream is on the people listening. Sometimes we'll change a mind on live, but for the most part, it's about the people listening.
I just feel like you're one of those people adding to the split that's happening in our nation by making the other side feel shitty instead of saying, okay.
I'm sorry, we can't kumbaya when the president that they support is calling for the execution of sitting Democrats in Congress, dropping bombs on girls in elementary schools in Iran, or illegally deporting black and brown people to be tortured in Sikhat. We can't kumbaya until we're able to reject such atrocities and come back to a more reasonable point in American politics where political disagreement is about minuscule discrepancies in tax policy compared to the innate value of the life of a 6-year-old child.
No, that's fair. That's fair, which is also in congruence with your question, which is how do you still support Trump rather than how are you a Republican? I guess I should question the validity.
We're going to go to get the next guest loaded up in the box. I thought I'd hear him out. You know, sometimes when people come up here really angry with me and they're on the left, I try to hear them out. That guy at least seemed more reasonable than like the last person who's really angry with me on the left. Do you guys remember that communist who came up here a couple weeks ago and by the end of it, he was just like screaming and shouting over me, repeating about 1 billion times that I'm okay with genocide, and superimposing the pro-Israel view on me, even though I've been demonstrably pro-Palestine and anti-Israel for years now? That was wild. Okay, so at least this guest was much more reasonable than him. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? Grinch, hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Are you a Trump supporter, Grinch?
I would say for the longest time.
Hello? He left the app. And he's gone. I think you probably got a phone call or something. Grinch, if you want to hop back inside of that queue, feel free to. I think that you got a phone call or something. Hey, this just came in over on PayPal, Lexington. And thank you so very much for the $20 donation. I really appreciate you, Lexington. Show some love to Lexington down below in that comment section. Lexington with the 20 says, the weaponized incompetence constantly astounds me with these guests. Keep up the good work exposing it, Dean. Thank you so much for the $20, Lexington. I don't think that there's a better way to refer to the people that we talk to outside of using that phrase, weaponized incompetence. And I love hearing that from somebody like you, Lexington, a viewer of the live stream, just so I know that I'm not alone in this, right? I just feel like I'm so alone at some points when talking to these people because all that I hear from them is a gibberish nonsense. Like, you know, every guest, gibberish nonsense after gibberish nonsense. So it's like good to remind myself time to time that there are, you know, thousands of people watching from home that like agree with me that they're insane and that this is so clearly nuts. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in the box right now, everybody. We're still looking for that next guest to join the box to have a debate with us. Please only join that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. I am looking really hard for that next guest, but I'm struggling to find them. Now, if you want to help us find that next guest a little bit easier, if you could double tap away on your phone screen and share out this live with a handful of friends, repost it on your own FYP with that share button, bottom right hand corner, and spam that chat. It'll really help us load guests up into the live a whole lot faster. Because then the live will shoot out to more people. Hey, but once again, Lexington, thank you for the 20. As well as Kyle, thank you for the $3. Sean, thank you so much for the $10. Who says, Dean, please check out the edit I made for you. If you want to link it, I'll take a look. Thank you so much for that love, Sean. And Raven, thank you for the $3. Welcome into Sports Trump Mine.
Yes, I would say that the things that he's doing, though, lately are not good. But I want to hear what you don't support.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, and before we get into that, I want to know why you still support him as president, even though you could explicitly acknowledge that the things he's been doing with the presidency have been bad.
I will say that, you know, I'm not him, so, like, you know, that just happens with all presidents. They end up doing something dumb. But the reason why I support Trump still is because I believe that we should have a Republican still in office. I think it's better for society.
Okay, so you think if Harris was elected, we would be worse off. Okay, so prove that.
I think that we would have a lot more funding to Israel.
Oh, okay. So you think that she's more pro-Israel than Trump? Prove that.
Well, honestly, what I say is that they're both crooked for Israel. That's what I think.
But you just said that Kamala Harris would have given them more funding. So prove that.
More funding? I'd say they get the same. I'd say that both like people were bad.
Okay, prove that.
Bad options. We're kind of like not in a good position at all. I feel
So
like.
can you prove that the GOP is identically as pro-Israel as the DNC?
No, but I can tell you that California and the Florida. I live in Florida, and there's a reason why I'm in Florida. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Well, Cal, then I'll prove you wrong. Listen, I agree.
I want to know why.
I agree that there are many members of both parties that are pro-Israel, 110%. I also agree that it's a bad thing to be pro-Israel. That's why I support more progressive politicians that are anti-Israel. But to say that Harris and or Biden are just as pro-Israel as Trump is nuts. So first, I mean, when we look at like the weapons given to Israel under Biden and Harris, they placed restrictions on bombs over 3,000 pounds. Trump walks into office and lifted that restriction. He just gives them anything and everything now. That's a slight difference that shows the Biden-Harris admin to be a little bit less pro-Israel than Trump today. The second larger difference is that Israel tried to get Biden to start a war in the Middle East, told them to preemptively strike Hezbollah. Biden said, no, I'm not going to fight your battle for you, Israel. Israel did the same thing to Obama. Obama said, no, I'm not going to fight your war for you, Israel. What did Trump say? You got it. Dropped missiles across Iran, killed girls, took out their Ayatollah, and now we're in this prolonged 3-month war with no end in sight. Donald Trump is demonstrably more pro-Israel than the Democrats.
I do take back my statements. Joe Biden did say no a lot of times to Israel's they're begging, and Trump just gave it up. But that's the thing, is that the 2016, I believe that he was very true in himself, and now he's controlled.
No, he was super pro-Israel in his first term as well. Do you know what the JCPOA is?
Inform me.
So the JCPOA was a denuclearization agreement which prevented Iran from constructing nuclear weapons. And this agreement was bad news for Israel because it guaranteed that Iran was not an imminent nuclear threat. And Israel hated that because then they weren't able to use Iran getting nukes as propaganda to justify more tyranny, right? And that's actually the reason why Israel opposed the denuclearization agreement. They said, no, we don't want this denuclearization agreement. Kind of crazy. Obama did it anyways. I think that was kind of a split that we saw between Obama and Israel. But then Trump walks into office and tears that agreement up. Why?
Yeah.
Who does that help to nuclearize Iran? The only body that it helps to nuclearize Iran would be Israel, because then Israel is able to use that as propaganda to start a war. And then what did Israel and America do? Use the propaganda of Iran being an imminent nuclear threat to start a war under Trump's second administration. So if you think that he's influenced by Israel in his second term, he was definitely also influenced by Israel in his first term, because his first term laid the groundwork for what we see now.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, I just think that Republican is good. I don't know you kind of held me. I don't know. It's the way I've been raised. So at the end of the day, Trump honestly has done some messed up things, but we're not all perfect. Did Joe Biden do some messed up things? I believe so.
Not as messed up as what we've seen Trump do.
True.
Listen, this is
true.
Listen, this is what I'm going to recommend to you. I'd recommend that you just watch my live stream and hear me out for what I have to say. I don't think that our debate's going to really go much further. The reason why I say that is because I think that you were really honest when you told us that the reason why you think this is because of the way that you've been raised. Okay? But I just recommend hearing me out for what I have to say on live stream. Appreciate you for coming up, man. We're going to go to get that next guest connected right now, guys. We are looking for the next Trump supporter to come up here and give us an argument. Welcome in. Do you support Trump, Wyatt?
Yes.
And how old are you, Wyatt? Wyatt, you left the live?
Hello?
How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
18. 2007.
2007, 18. God, a bunch of 18-year-olds today. Yeah, and why do you think it's appropriate to make somebody president who has launched a brazen and intentional attack on human rights as well as the Constitution?
I don't think he has.
Okay. I don't think he has. Well, he has. Like, for instance, Executive Order number 14160 intentionally targeted the 14th Amendment. He targeted the First Amendment when he said that it's now illegal to criticize him in the media. He targeted the Second Amendment when he said that he wants to try to find a way to ban any and all gun ownership for all law-abiding trans-American citizens. He targeted the Fourth Amendment when he deported 300 Venezuelan immigrants without due process. Then when a judge ruled that they had to be brought back to America, he said, nope, they're going to be tortured in CCOT nonetheless. He targeted the 23rd Amendment when he suggested that maybe he wants to run for a third term. He targets the first and the second article all the time, like with the suggestion that we should federalize the midterm elections. He could pass policy without Congress, or the fact that he just think he falls above the Constitution, which would be in violation of the supremacy clause of the second article. I mean, he explicitly said, he explicitly also called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, in a post on Truth Social in December of 2022.
All of that's from a liberal point of view. If you take it from the conservative point of view, it's a lot different.
Okay, so then give me the conservative point of view on like one of the 12 issues I mentioned.
Give me...
The conservative point of view is a lot different because it doesn't exist. You just ignore it. Like when Trump does something so truly indefensible, it's not like you have an argument to explain why in all reality it's a good thing. No, you just act like it doesn't exist.
Well, when he does these things, he obviously has an idea behind them.
Says who? You're saying it's obvious. I don't think so. Who's to say that he hasn't just completely detached himself from reality and he's a madman living in a reaffirming echo chamber of nonsense? Who's to say otherwise? I mean, I think his Truth Social really justifies that perspective. He's out here saying that Obama's literally a demon that wiretapped Trump Tower and worked with the CIA to coup the government in 2016. Yeah, that's clearly false. Clearly, this man doesn't underpin his statements or his actions with any rational, cohesive intention or framework. Okay, so who's to say that there is a rational and cohesive intention and framework with like any of the brazen attacks on our Constitution that I just listed?
He's done lots of good things too, I think.
Okay, well, what's the biggest good thing that Trump has done in the last year and a half?
I think it's securing the border.
And how did he secure the border?
He like
I'm going to give you the same recommendation I gave to the last guest, Wyatt. I appreciate you for coming up here. I hope that you could tune into my live stream and hear me out for what I have to say on these various topics. I think that, you could learn a lot from what we discuss on live. I think that could be very meaningful and important towards your political development. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, man. Let's go to get the next guest loaded up in the box. Welcome in, Johnny Boy. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Yes. How old are you?
34.
What year are you born in?
92.
Have you been up on my live recently?
Yeah.
When?
Maybe a week ago.
Okay. All right, could you get a little bit closer to your mic?
Is this better?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm going to thank a couple people, then the mic will be yours. This is over on Super Chat. Thank you, Lord T, for the $20, who says, people who are younger and still with your parents, think about how politicians will make your life better. You need to start thinking of it for yourself, as your parents will not be alive forever. Think critically and research. Not to mention, right, that like their life is going to need more support than their parents' lives. Chances are their parents are in like their 40s, 50s, 60s. Meanwhile, they're like brand new adults, okay? They're going to need more support than their parents. Thank you so much for the $20, Lord T. Over on Venmo, thank you so much, Kamani, for the $20 as well. Show some love to Kamani and Lord T. Kamani with the $20 says, unpopular opinion. I think that you should be a lot meaner to these guests, but I respect your decision to not be. Love you, Dean. I love you too, Kamani. No, absolutely. I would totally be justified in being much more of a dick than I am. Abigail, thank you so much for the $20 as well. I appreciate you so much for that love, Abigail. Let's get 200 Abigail W's down below. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Abigail. Jose, thank you so much for the $30, man. Thank you so much, you guys. Y'all have been so kind to me today. Please show some love to Jose. Let's get 3 trillion Jose W's, who says, for Dean, MAGA is insufferable. They carve out criminal versus civil court arguments. They give Trump a pass. They make excuses for the jury, etc. They're fake human beta man children. God, they frustrate me. Fight on, Dean. God bless. Thank you, Jose. I know. It's every day. It's just new sophistry for corruption and cognitive dissonance. It fucking sucks. It is very insufferable, man. Thank you for the $30 dono, dude. Same thing to Laura. Thank you so much for the $15. I appreciate you so much for that love. Show some love to Laura down below. And then over on PayPal, thank you so much for the $20 Samantha, who says, love what you do. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you for the $20 Samantha and the kind words. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed the rest of the live stream. Show some love to Samantha down below in that chat. And Mr. Christopher, my god brother, thank you so much for the $100 donation on PayPal. Yo, what the fuck, dude? That is crazy. That is so much money, man. I don't deserve that. Never have, never will. Thank you for your kindness and your generosity. That is genuinely like so much fucking money. Thank you, Christopher. 1,000 Christopher W's in that chat. Thank you so much, bro. Christopher with the $100, that is nuts, says, Steven, keep on doing what you do. It makes me want to pull out my hair when they say in the E. Jean Carroll case, quote unquote, it wasn't a criminal court, end quote. The statute of limitations prevented that. Yep, absolutely. It doesn't matter if it was literally caught on video. He still couldn't have been brought to a criminal court. Thank you for the $100, Christopher. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Show some love to Christopher. Then, of course, one last person here over on Super Chat. Thank you, Shandy, for the $50. Dude, oh my god. That is SHANDY. Thank you, Shandy. Let's fucking go. Shandy with a 50 says, I appreciate what you do for this country. As an educator, I'm not allowed to speak to my college students about the facts and the truth without consequences. Thank you, and I fully support you and tell everybody about you. Well, Shandy, thank you so much for being an educator. We need educators now more than ever. See, proper education from educators such as yourself is what prevents people from ever developing to become a man or a woman like the people that we debate on here in the fucking first place. So thank you, Shandy, for what you do. You are so very important to the flourishment of humankind. If you are watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok, pin message over on the other place, and Dean Withers without the Ian Withers. I really appreciate you guys so much for all the love. Thank you so much for the continued support. It is what allows us to continue to be able to do this for 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. John Boy, tell us, why do you support this tyrant?
So, I believe that a lot of presidents in the past have wanted to get certain things done but couldn't because their hands are tied, from Congress and different red tape. So I believe that maybe Trump does have like the last guest was talking about, a way of thinking behind his what we perceive to be crazy acts, like trying to attack the Constitution. I don't believe he would necessarily throw it in a fire, but maybe manipulate it in a way so that he can do what he wants to do, which I personally believe is to manipulate the stock market to help people create wealth. And the last time we spoke, you had mentioned, and I kind of agreed with you when you said less than 1%.
Wait. So you support Trump because he manipulates the stock market? Oh, I remember you. Sorry, John Boy. So I kind of have a rule where I only talk to one guest one time. When they give like really redundant arguments such as that is an incredibly redundant argument. I'm not going to go through that one again due to a straight up arguing that he supports Trump because he manipulates the stock market. Hope you have a good rest of your day, John. Treadhead, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Treadhead, why do you support Trump?
One thing is, when the economic situation, when Biden was in office, hold on, let me finish. When Biden was in office, his first day in the chair, he signed off on getting rid of the XXL pipeline, and he also got rid of the leases that we had on the offshore drilling.
Based and based.
That way it could be, huh?
I said based and based, two really good decisions.
No, they're not good decisions, because you know why gas prices are up?
Why?
OPEC.
Today? Today the gas prices are up because the Strait of Hormuz was shut down. Listen, so about the XL pipeline, yeah, that was a Canadian pipeline that imported oil to America. Exported oil to America. And Biden didn't shut it down. The Supreme Court ordered it to be shut down because it had unconstitutionally ingressed upon indigenous lands. And then Biden just followed through that order with his EO. Now, the thing is although Biden did shut down some drilling off the coast of California, he just moved it inland. So Biden
No.
actually approved 50% more drilling
Actually,
permits
no.
on federal land across America compared to Trump did in his first term.
Actually, he
And
didn't.
for that reason, Biden oversaw the largest amount of crude oil production in a 4-year time span that this country's ever seen, producing more than 13 million barrels of oil per day for nearly 2 years, when Trump was only able to produce that in
that's-
1 month of his first 4 years. Now, you've
I have
said
to- I
everything
have to
I've
do-
said here is false, so I'm just going to preemptively give you my sources for everything. My source that that Biden had approved 50% more permits for drilling on federal land compared to Trump in his first term would be Politico Pro. My
He
source that
canceled everything
Biden
on drilling on
oversaw
federal land.
the largest amount of crude oil production in this country's history in a 4-year time span, including more than Trump in his first term, would be
He
EIA.gov
canceled
crude
all the
oil production.
leases. He canceled all the leases on federal land, and he also canceled all the leases on the drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. He
Sure, show
also
me a
canceled-
source that Biden canceled all leases for drilling on federal land, please.
You can go to CNN.
Okay, what about CNN? What's the title of the article from CNN?
Well, I don't have a computer in front of me, but
Okay.
I can sit there and tell you.
Okay, so no evidence. So
Because
see, if
one
you
of
can
my-
make a claim
hold
without
on.
evidence, then I
One
can
of my
dismiss it without
cousins
evidence.
lost his job, and when he went to Louisiana to get a job working on the pipe, working on one of the oil rigs, he couldn't get a job because the leases were canceled.
Okay. Yeah, womp womp. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes leases do get canceled. Sometimes it's not
And
even by
why
the
do
government.
Democrats
In other
want
circumstances, the
socialism?
company cancels the lease itself because they don't think that it's going to
No.
be profitable because of market indicators.
Well, you
Now,
got BP. You got BP, which is British Petroleum.
listen, I'm able to give you a source that you're wrong. The source that you're wrong is EIA.gov. Do you know what the EIA is?
Environmental.
Already wrong. It's the Energy Information Administration. Do you know what the EIA does?
Oh. They audit where energy is coming from and also produce. No crap.
They essentially track all oil and energy everywhere. That's
But
that's what they do. They track
But
all
here's
of the
where you're
oil and
wrong
energy
about that.
coming into America. They track all of the oil and energy produced in America. They track
But
all of
the
the
problem-
oil refined in America. They track all of the oil and energy going out of America. They track
hold
all of the oil and energy
hold
being
on.
consumed in America, and they've been doing this for the last 85 years. Okay, so
But here's the thing.
so please tell us here. I just want a very simple answer to this next question. If you're right about Biden just canceling all oil drilling on American soil, then why does the EIA report that Biden oversaw the largest production of crude oil on American soil ever?
Because they're ass kissers.
So then why are they still ass kissers to Biden,
But no,
even though
let
Donald
me
Trump's
let
in
me
charge
ask you this.
today? Like, why
Well,
is the
let me
Trump
ask you
administration... No, answer this question.
No,
because
let
you
me
could
ask
still
you
go...
this.
No,
Why
let me ask you
do-
this. You could
why
still
does
go to
people want
EIA.gov and see the
socialism
same
in this country?
information that was reported
do
under
y'all
Biden
want
today.
socialism in this
Why
country?
has the Trump administration not rectified that wrong and corrected the misinformation on the EIA's website?
The what now?
Why has the Trump administration not rectified the wrong of the EIA intentionally purporting misinformation about the level of oil drilled from American soil under
everybody's
Biden
so
today?
against Trump
Why?
right now. Yes,
But the thing is Trump is
everybody's so against
president.
Trump right
He gets
now
to decide who runs
they-
the EIA. He controls the EIA.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does, because he gets to
It's
decide
the
who runs it.
energy- No, it's the Energy Commission that runs it.
And who controls the Energy Commission?
The director of was it
Oh wait, also you're wrong. So the EIA is its own federal entity. It's not controlled by
Right.
any larger federal
Like
entity.
the
quote unquote
Federal
energy.
Reserve.
Yeah, it's its own federal entity, just like the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, so on and so forth. And actually, Donald Trump appointed a new administrator to the EIA in September of last year. Her name,
Right.
or his name, I guess it
And
could be,
what-
is Tristan Abbey. And they were sworn in in September of 2025. So why has
Okay.
Donald Trump's appointment
So,
to the
you're
administrator of the
talking about-
EIA not changed the falsely reported data about the production of oil under Biden?
Because they have to go through all the records and audit them to make sure they get the facts straight.
So why haven't they
And
even
now-
started auditing them?
Huh?
Why have they not even started to audit them?
How you know they haven't?
Why? If all the data is wrong, then why are they not correcting it?
That's just it. They got to get their facts straight before they can sit there and make it publicized.
But they're not. They haven't
Everything
even
is
started
public
on trying
information.
to get their facts straight. Because we would know about that.
No, we wouldn't.
We
Let me
wouldn't.
tell you-
Wait,
let me-
how
no.
long
Let me tell
has
you,
Donald
I
Trump been
was in Iraq
publicizing the
and-
fact that he thinks the 2020 election was rigged, even though they never got their facts straight and were able to prove it in court? How long has he been publicizing the fact that he thinks that Obama is guilty of treason, even though the DOJ has never been able to get their facts straight and criminally indict Obama?
Well-
How long has he been publicizing the fact that he thinks that Letitia James is guilty, that James Comey is guilty, long before the FBI was able to get their facts straight and claim a successful indictment
Because
or
when the
criminal
Biden
conviction against
administration
either one of
was
the two of
in,
them?
They wouldn't allow them to do it.
Listen, the point that I'm making here is that your brain
No,
has been
the
legitimately
point
rotted by
is,
conspiratorial
y'all want
nonsense.
socialism. The point is you want to take away everybody's guns. The point is you don't want freedom. You don't want the right to be able to speak how you want to speak, when you want to speak, whether it's the truth or whatever.
Oh my God, bro.
And the problem with you youngins is you're so socialistic that you think everybody's not supposed to have certain rights.
Oh my fucking God, bro. Define
Yep.
socialism?
Define socialism? You really want me to going that far?
Yes.
Okay, that's when the government has complete overall say-so over the people. That means in which I've seen it.
Oh my God, bro.
I've seen it.
Dude, you could legitimately have socialism without a government because socialism is not a
Because the
governmental
government
structure.
runs everything.
No,
Go to
socialism.
China.
Listen,
Go to China.
They
Go
don't
to
even
China.
claim to be socialists. They claim to be communists or claim to be
It's
working
same
on
thing.
achieving the goal of communism. No, also wrong. No, listen.
Yep.
Socialism.
It's the same thing.
Oh my
That's
God,
where the government
bro.
has all say so.
Oh my God.
Over your life.
There's not
and
even a
what you
government
can and
under
can't do.
communism. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society.
No, it's not.
Oh my God. Listen. Socialism
I mean, who's
is where the
teaching this
workers.
stuff? I mean,
Who's
you about to
teaching?
ate up as a soup sandwich right now.
What did you just say?
You're about as ate up as a soup sandwich right now.
Grandpa got some sass. Lamau. Okay. Damn,
Oh, I can
Gramps.
go drill
Listen.
sergeant on your ass if I need to.
That's kind of funny. Listen.
I did 10 years in this man's army. Now, I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you right now, it's all you socialistic little youngins want to sit there and think that we're not supposed to have private property. We're supposed to let everybody come and go what they want to inside your own home and stuff. I ain't got time for that. Everything I bought,
How do you feel about
everything
listen?
I have, I earned.
How do you feel about Sharika law?
Oh my God, that shit needs to go.
No, we need it. Mom Donnie is
No, we
giving
don't.
New York City Sharika law right now.
No.
What's your
Sharia
problem?
law
No, what's
is
your problem with
degrading
Sharika
women.
law?
Sharia law is degrading women.
Wait, Trump is Sharika law? No, Trump's not Sharika
No.
law. But he
No.
degrades women.
It's Sharia law.
No, it's
and it's
Sharika.
degrading women.
It's
No,
Sharika.
It's Sharia.
No, it's Sharika.
No, I don't
You
know
got a
what
source
Sharika
on that?
is.
You got a source on that? Or am I eating you up like a bean soup sandwich? Is that what you said? I don't know what you said.
I was in Iraq in 04.
Eureka law.
I
Okay,
know.
listen. Okay, so do you disagree with Sharia law because it degrades women?
It does.
So then why do you agree with Trump even though he degrades women? A court found him guilty of raping a woman. He boasted about how he could just grab
was
women
never
by the
found
vaginas
guilty of raping a
without
woman.
asking
He was
first.
never found guilty. No.
He boasted
He
about
was
barging into the
found-
dressing rooms to naked people. He's mentioned in the Epstein files over 1 million times. Best friends with
No.
Epstein. He sent a letter to
Actually,
Epstein
Bill Clinton was in the Epstein files.
Do you believe that Bill Clinton is guilty?
Kamala Harris was in the Epstein files.
That's a lie.
No, we're not.
Prove it.
No, it's not.
Prove it.
Okay.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Go to the DOJ website. You'll see all the what names they got publicized.
Don't worry, I already have. So
Bill
when you go to
Clinton
the
was there.
Epstein library on the
Hold on.
DOJ website and you
Prince
search Kamala
Prince
Harris's
Andrew-
name, you get like
Prince
3
Andrew-
results, and then the 3
Prince
results are just
Andrew of
genuinely
England was
Kamala
there.
Harris's name being mentioned and automated emails being sent to Epstein about the news when she was running for a VP with Biden prior to the
No,
2020 election.
actually, she was there way before then. Because
Okay, no
Epstein
evidence.
didn't kill himself.
Okay, dude. I don't know
There's
how.
no way.
Listen. I don't know how I'm able to have a debate with you when you're just so incoherent.
I'm not incoherent. I'm
How
speaking
many-
plain English.
How many continents are there?
No, what it is, you're a socialist little piece of shit
Wow.
who
shredhead.
thinks that.
No, dude, wait. Yo, Lord T, thank you so much for the $10 over on Super Chat. Appreciate you,
See
man.
what I mean?
What do you mean?
When somebody's sitting there and tells you the truth, you want to shut the other person up.
No, I'm just saying to
That's
my donors.
socialism.
Socialism. You know what's socialism? Giving
I
like
mean,
$billion-dollar
Antifa-
bailouts to
Antifa
the rich and elite.
socialism,
Oh,
BLM
I
socialism.
am Antifa. I'm Antifa.
Yeah, you're socialism.
Wait, are you Antifa?
Nope.
So I want to clarify. You're not anti-fascist?
Actually, Antifa is fascist.
What?
Because
Wait,
when
if
you
you're
try to-
anti-fascism, then you're fascist?
No, Antifa is fascism. Because when you voice an opinion against them, they want to shut you up.
No, that's Trump. Remember when he said it's now illegal to
No.
criticize him in the media, or that he wants Democrats in Congress to be executed because they voiced an opinion against him? Also, to say
No,
that
that
Antifa
never
is fascism is very contradictory because Antifa just literally means
That-
anti-fascism. So you're saying anti-fascism is fascism. This is like
Antifa
saying that
is not
squares
the
are circles.
fascist.
This is saying like blue is green. This is like saying that your
I
left
mean-
foot is your right foot. This is like saying that you have a brain. All of those
I got
things are like clear contradictions.
And I have common sense.
I doubt. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, I got a lot of common sense.
Okay, with all that common sense in your brainless head, go ahead and name one good policy Trump has passed in his second term. Bill passed through
Well, one
Congress,
thing
signed
is
into
getting
law.
our,
Name the policy.
getting our energy independence back.
I'm sorry, the energy independence that we never lost per the data from the Bureau of
No, we did lose it.
For the EIA?
I mean, why did Biden sell billions of barrels of oil to Russia?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Answer
Dude,
me that.
we sanction Russian oil. What the hell are you talking about?
No.
Bro, I can literally
And
point you
then-
towards the policy
then
NEOs that implemented the sanctions on Russian oil.
No.
You don't use. Oh my God! 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 Oh my
Biden
God!
sold billions
You know
of
what?
barrels of oil
You know
out
what?
of our strategic
You know
reserve
what?
to Russia.
I want you to listen to this clip. I just want to know what this guy thinks.
To do that.
So you have done that. Now, tell
Well,
me
I'll
what
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
What are your thoughts on hearing Donald Trump admit to barging into the dressing rooms of beauty pageant
But
contestants?
here's the
naked and
thing,
naked?
though. Were they dressed?
Well, you said that they quote unquote have no clothes on. I'll play that part for you specifically.
Make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no is everybody?
They never said about no dresses.
You said that they're standing there with no clothes.
No, I didn't hear it.
I'll play it again.
They're standing there with no I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the
Oh, that
dress.
was
Is everyone
Howard
okay?
Stern.
They're standing there with no
That's the Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
He fucked himself up when he sit there and made that about the no cook, but he didn't finish it.
You guys are fucking pathetic. I'm done with you. I temporarily want to get somebody crazier than that guy up in the live because I just saw what this guy had a comment. You just said in the comment section that wasn't Trump's voice, so I just want to clarify. You don't even think
It
that
wasn't
was
Trump's voice, dude. You can tell it wasn't Trump's voice.
Okay, I'm gonna play the clip. Then I want you to tell me how we can tell it's not Trump's
no,
voice.
No. Why do you go
Therefore, I'm
off of the
inspecting
same
it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no is everybody okay? And you see
That's
these
not Trump's voice,
incredible
bro.
looking.
That's not Trump's voice. You guys have the same talking points day in and day out. Why do you guys Where do you guys get your info from? Oh, I know. You get it sent to you every day. Keep laughing. Keep laughing, Dean. I don't
If
care.
it's not Trump, then who is it? So why don't you think that's Trump's voice?
Dean, I'll Venmo you $20 if you go fill out a job application and actually get a real job.
Justin, we're not doing this again. You need to. You end
No,
up making.
dude, go fill
Justin.
Go
Justin.
fill an actual
No.
job application, bro.
No.
Get the job.
Oh
Show me
my
proof that you got the
God.
job.
Oh
Show me proof
my
you have the
God.
application.
Oh
and I'll
my
send you $20.
God. Oh my God. After, you could tell me why you don't think that's Trump's voice.
That's not Trump's voice, bro.
Okay, what's the argument for that?
Because it's not. You can tell it wasn't his voice. Someone was making fun of.
How could you
Trump.
tell?
That's not his voice. You guys go off the same. There you go. Is that vape good, bro?
How could you tell? How could you tell that?
What vape do you got, bro? Because I
Sorry,
want one.
I was off to the side praying to God.
What
Why are you
flavor is that? Is that
stigmatizing me for
tropical-
praying to
is
God?
that tropical punch or something, bro?
No, I was off to
'Cause I
the
need
side
go get me
praying.
one.
I was just praying to God, and you're anti-Christian. You must be a fascist.
I'm not fascist. I don't even.
Yeah,
go to
you
church, so
you just tried to bully and ridicule me for praying to my Lord and Savior. I was off to the side, legitimately praying.
No, you weren't, dude.
Yes, I was.
You know what you're doing. You're taking
Yes,
a puff
bro,
off your vape,
dude. Oh my God, what an anti-Christian, fascist, communist, socialist freak. Listen, what's the
okay.
evidence?
No, bro. No,
that,
bro.
that's
You wanna
not.
know who a freak
Are you
is?
just saying that
Listen to me,
doesn't
that's
sound
you,
like?
bro.
How about we do a comparison? Let's do that. So we're gonna load up the clip of. So this is a clip from 2005. We're gonna load up another clip. Trump talking in 2005. All right, let's see what we find together. Pay attention, Justin. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Why are you such a child, bro? Like,
No, I'm just asking you to. Okay, so here's a clip of. Here's a clip of Donald Trump. Listen, I'm gonna put you on mute. Here's a clip of Donald Trump speaking to Conan O'Brien in 2005.
I don't get to say this often, but my first guest is a billionaire and the host of the NBC reality show The Apprentice, which has its
really, this
live
clown?
2-hour season
Wow.
finale tomorrow night at 9 on NBC.
Let's find a clip
Welcome,
of Trump
Mr.
talking.
Donald, okay? You used to do what we call the Cobra, I think, which
And
is
you always do the Cobra.
yeah, you always
love
you do
the
you're fired, okay? You're fired, you know, and you would do the Cobra.
Okay.
And it's
You're
always
doing
worked
anything
for
to
you.
prove your
And
point,
then
bro.
like
And I'm not.
No,
I'm
listen.
Not falling for
What we're doing is we're listening to a clip of Donald Trump speaking to Conan in 2005, and then we're going to compare his voice in this interview to the clip of him talking to Howard Stern.
you know what I mean? What like Midtown real estate?
Yeah, I like that. I really like that a lot. But
Bullion,
Melania's-
gold bullion,
Melania's
Cormorants?
giving me a baby, like your wife
Oh,
just
very
gave
nice.
you a
You're having a baby. Congratulations.
That's a good one.
Okay, so that's Donald Trump speaking to Conan O'Brien in 2005. Now let's listen to the voice from him on Howard Stern in 2005, and let's see if it's the same voice.
Anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it.
Oh my
You know, I'm
God,
inspecting. I
same
want to make
shit,
sure
man.
they're
Get a life. Nah. Nope.
Yeah, so Justin, the voices literally sound identical. It seems like the only difference that we'd be able to perceive here is that in one circumstance, the mic is obviously a lot closer to his face because he's on a radio show, and then in the second circumstance, his mic is a bit further away from the case because he's on a talk show.
To you, bro? Because it's all bullshit. It's not true.
Okay,
Where
can
do
you
get
explain to
your
me?
news from?
Could you explain to me why the evaluation that I just
Can you
gave you
explain
is
to me where
improper?
you get your news from, bro? Where
So,
you get
I
your
mean,
news from?
Like, I mean, specifically these two clips came from.
See, cat got your tongue. Where do you get your news from?
So
Where
it's
do you
in
get
Middle
your
Tenney.
information from?
So this information is coming
Where do
from
you
a
get
clip
your
posted on
information
YouTube
from, my guy?
from Howard Stern's radio show, which was hosted on April 11th, 2005.
Dude, Howard Stern's an idiot. Who watches him besides you dumb Democrats trying to spew your freaking bullshit?
So, can you respond to the point that I made about how when we were able to do a vocal analysis of Donald Trump's voice in the clip of him talking about...
No, bro.
You just can't respond to the point at all?
Because it's not the same, bro.
What were the differences between Trump's voice that we heard on the Conan O'Brien show and Trump's voice that we heard on the Howard Stern
You
show?
guys just like to spew bullshit, bro. That's all.
I know, but could you tell me what the differences are?
No, because...
Okay. Then I'm just going to move on. Let's go to hop into the next debate. Only hop inside of the queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. Dude. Our country's fucked. Our country's fucked with these people, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Isabella, do you still support Trump?
Yeah. Yes.
Isabella, bro, why? 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 Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why do you still support Trump as president? What is one positive thing that he's done for our country in the last year and a half?
Hold on, I need a second to like think. A positive thing I think is that I got some money back in my taxes.
Okay. How much specifically as caused by the big beautiful bill?
I think I got, I'd say, like the same amount this time. So I think he's doing pretty good.
Okay, so you got the same return that you have in years prior.
Not the exact same, but
So that's not going to be a positive return of his policy in the second administration. Okay, so you can name anything easy or good that he's done so far in his second term. How about this? Can you name one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden?
no, I'd have to do more research on that.
Okay, so if he's not good for the economy, then what is he good for?
I think that in the long run he'll be good for the economy.
Okay, what's the argument for that?
The rise in tariffs, because like I said before, it has to take a minute for it to get better.
Yeah, but all of his tariffs are temporary, either because they're being ruled as unconstitutional by the courts, or he's implementing them on countries, then taking them away the very next day. In order for tariffs to drive more manufacturing back to America in the long term, they have to be permanent. And Donald Trump's tariffs are not permanent, either because he's revoking them, courts are revoking them, or the next president will revoke them. Not to mention here that the tariffs have really hurt Americans. Goldman Sachs did a study that concluded that American citizens personally paid $92 billion worth of illegal tariffs under the first year of his administration. You don't think that hurt you? You were part of that. You paid higher prices because of his illegal taxes.
The last part, can you see that one again?
Goldman
Where
Sachs
the
did a study
was saying-
where they concluded that American citizens personally paid $92 billion worth of illegal taxation onset by Donald Trump's unconstitutional tariffs in 2025.
Wait, what?
Goldman Sachs did a study that concluded American citizens personally paid $92 billion in illegal taxation from Trump's tariffs in 2025.
Okay. I got it now, thanks. And how much have we paid previous years?
In 2024, under Biden, Americans paid $0 in illegal taxation onset by unconstitutional tariffs because Biden did not illegally tax Americans with unconstitutional tariffs.
I don't think that they're unconstitutional. I just think that everyone else thinks that they're unconstitutional, and it's your guys' opinion. And
Are
you
you
guys just
familiar with
think
the
that he's
Supreme Court?
crazy. So, yes.
What does the Supreme Court do?
The Supreme Court, SCOTUS, yeah, they're the ones that either pass or don't pass the bills, and they vote together. Or not the bills, the acts, or something like that.
No. SCOTUS has nothing to do with bills, acts, legislation, policy. SCOTUS, okay, they're the highest court of the land, and they're essentially the final say on what is or is not unconstitutional, right? So when you tell me that you don't think they're unconstitutional, well, the Supreme Court, which is 6-3 conservative leaning, ruled that the tariffs were unconstitutional. It's an undeniable fact.
Wait, so they ruled it was unconstitutional. Why?
Because they violated the Constitution.
But how?
They violated the Constitution via an overreach of executive authority, as described, I believe, in the second article.
No, I don't believe that.
You don't believe that SCOTUS ruled this?
Where is it in the second part?
Do you want to read their ruling?
Like, yeah, because I don't believe that it's unconstitutional.
So then, okay, so you disagree with the Supreme Court?
Saying that it's unconstitutional, what's going on?
Yeah, are you a lawyer?
No.
How many amendments are there to the Because you've heard me say that before. Okay, name 4
No, I
amendments.
actually just thought of it. That's why it took me a second.
And how many articles?
That one, 28 or something. I probably got that one wrong, but yeah.
Bro, no. Preamble plus sound. Okay, so it doesn't seem to be the case that you know literally anything about the Constitution, but you know more than the Supreme Court.
I never said that.
You did. You said that you don't believe that the tariffs were unconstitutional.
Okay, yeah, because that's my opinion.
Okay, now give me the justification for that opinion, and give me an analysis insofar as why SCOTUS got it wrong.
Okay, because the tariffs... Okay, if it's unconstitutional, then how are we even supposed to be paying them? That makes no sense.
We paid them before SCOTUS ruled that they were unconstitutional.
And so it was ruled after we paid them already that it was unconstitutional. So we paid unconstitutional taxes, and then that just got okay, and then we didn't get refunded.
Yeah.
What?
Everything that you just said was right.
What?
Yes.
Say psych.
No.
What? There's no way.
I mean, you could read the SCOTUS ruling. It was ruled on February 20th of this year that he had violated the Constitution with his IEEPA tariffs. And the admin will have to pay the tariffs back, but not to us, but to the companies. But according to the Goldman Sachs study, we paid 55% of the tariffs.
So we paid all those tariffs and taxes, and we're not going to get any money back.
Right. Not American citizens.
But we paid it. And also, you lied earlier about
Right.
saying you were paying earlier, and you're agnostic. That would have been a fine of like $500 for you, by the way, if we were living in my world.
Can you just
illegal.
respond, please?
And so, I think that might be a bad thing on his part, but everyone makes mistakes,
okay.
like I've said before.
Okay, but that's like a really bad thing. So it's like a really good thing that he's done in the last year and a half that overwhelms that really bad thing.
That overwhelms that. That he's done in this term.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like he's doing good with deportation and all that.
Okay, and what's one way that mass deportation has positively impacted this country?
We're gonna get like, our taxes won't be as high either.
Okay, so why would mass deportation reduce your taxes?
Because wouldn't our taxes not go to them anymore?
Okay, can you please prove that undocumented immigrants take our tax dollars?
Some of them are like living here undocumented.
Yeah.
So
but
our
where-
taxes
where
are
do we
going
get
to their
proving-
living and everything. What do you mean?
Right,
Or
prove
they're
that.
gonna steal like socials and stuff like that. Hello?
Okay, so prove that what you pay in taxes, what I pay in taxes, goes to funding undocumented people.
Like
Because
part of
according
it,
to the
probably.
IRS, undocumented immigrants pay over $100 billion in taxes per year on the federal, state, and local level. According to the American Immigration Institute, they contribute $1.1 through $1.7 trillion to the GDP annually. And according to the Cato Institute, they actually generate a fiscal surplus. They're not a fiscal burden. Over the last 30 years, immigrants as a whole have generated a $14.3 trillion fiscal surplus. They subsidize us. We don't subsidize
Okay,
them.
so you want illegal citizens in here?
I want
illegal
you to be,
immigrants.
I want you to be an educated, informed person who says things that are true, not says things that are false. And when I asked you what's one positive outcome of mass deportation in American society, you said it'd lower our taxes because we subsidize the lifestyle of undocumented immigrants. The Cato Institute, the IRS, and the American Immigration Institute say that we do not subsidize undocumented immigrants. If anything, they subsidize us. Because they pay taxes, yet they can't access a single federal system of benefit, and they could only access limited benefits in 10 of our 50 states.
Okay, well, it's still against our law.
Okay, well, you still haven't named a way that mass deportation materially and positively impacts this country. Because remember, we agreed on one way that Donald Trump has really hurt this country.
We're showing that
with
you're
like the
not
$92
allowed
billion
to do it.
worth
Why
of
are they
illegal
okay,
taxation.
but then in other countries, they're not like... What?
Okay, so you
Everyone's
want to
gonna
hold
get
people
deported, but you're
accountable.
not.
Sounds good. So if we
Yes.
should deport people for a misdemeanor, then we should definitely impeach people for a felony, right?
I already know where you're going with this.
I mean, if you want everybody to be held accountable for the law, let's not allow a felon to walk away scot-free from any accountability for that
How
felony.
is he walking
Since sitting
away
presidents can't, because
scot-free?
sitting presidents can't be prosecuted. Because sitting presidents have immunity for the crimes that they commit in the Oval Office. The reason why the punishment
So
for
if I
34
was
felonies was
president
nothing
and I had a
was
felony,
the
I'd be okay.
The reason why his punishment for his 34 felonies was literally nothing is because they didn't want to send the sitting president to jail because that would be a national emergency. Plus, you can't prosecute a sitting president.
So if I was president, I could have like whatever felonies and I'd be fine.
Yeah, you could commit felonies. In many of those circumstances, you'll have presidential immunity. But in the circumstance of Trump, he was able to get away with 34 felonies and see no jail time because the judge didn't want to send a sitting president to jail.
And how do you know that the judge didn't want to send him to jail though?
Because he was found guilty of 34 felonies that at max carried 10 years per felony, and his total sentence was nothing. When was the last time that you saw somebody get found guilty of felonies that held a maximum penalty of 3 to 4 life sentences, walk away
I don't think
with
the
no
judge would do
sentence
that
at all?
because they're not allowed. Aren't they abided by rules and everything and by oath?
Yeah, but there was no minimum. There's just a maximum. So they have to abide by the legislation, but the legislation required a maximum sentence of 10 years per felony, but there was no minimum sentence.
Oh, okay. So then it wasn't on them.
So then when was the last time that you've seen somebody be found guilty of 34 felonies that would carry a max sentence of 340 years in jail, walk away scot-free with no sentence? The only time that's ever happened is to Trump.
I'm pretty sure if I looked it up, I could find something.
Then do it.
Oh, okay. Well then, hold on.
Oh my god. Honestly, bro, I'm gonna like lose my mind. Like eventually, I'm just gonna stop doing these lives. One day. I don't know. It's hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes talking to these people. Hey, Lord T, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. I really appreciate you, Lord T. Let's get 200 Lord TWs. I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lord T with the 20 says, I'm starting to think that people need to take citizenship tests similar to immigrants before they could vote. This is so bad that people like this can vote but don't understand American civics and government. So true. Thank you for the $20. I appreciate you, Lord T. Thank you for always being a rational voice in the insanity. Also, thank you so much, King, for the $10 who says Prenzel Olympics. Thank you, King. Super true. Let's see here, as well as over on Venmo. Thank you so much, Tony, for the $10 who says, for my socialist soup sandwich. Well, thank you for the $10. Thank you, Tony. Show some love to Tony in that chat. Bethany, thank you for the $2. And Miss Lori, thank you so much for the $50 donation. Lori, you were awesome. Let's get 500 Lori W's in that chat. That is Lori. Thank you so very much for that love and support. 500 Lori W's down below. Lori with a 50 says, Dean, my family's divided by politics. We are of Mexican descent and they still support Trump. Keep up the great work. I admire your drive and determination to educate the MAGA morons, including some of my family. From Miss Lori. Miss Lori, thank you for the kind words. I'm so happy that I'm able to help maybe try to influence the political beliefs of your family. And I'm so sorry to hear that you live around so many MAGA crazies. Thank you for the $50. That is beyond kind. That is a shit ton of money. That certainly goes a long way in the small town that I live in. I'm very, very grateful. Let's get 500 Lori W's. And Rebel, thank you so much for the $5 as well. John, thank you for the $25. Who says from Emily. So Emily, thank you for the $25. Emily with the 25 says, hey, Dean, my wife and I are huge fans of you and your cause. She will probably catch this in a VOD. Can you tell Lauren hello from the past? Thank you for everything that you do. Lauren, hello from the past. And Emily, thank you so much for the $25. Thank you, thank you, thank you. On PayPal, thank you, Andre, for the $24, who says MAGA is made up of science illiterate dropouts who have no evidence, who have no idea what evidence even is. This is why STEM is important, my lord. That's how I feel, Andre. Super fucking true. Thank you so much for that love. Show some love to Andre down below in that comment section. And Arthur, thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate you, man. And Sean, thank you for the $5. Folks, if you want to support me, if you want to help pay for my fucking therapy bill, because clearly I will need it after this, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok. Pin message over on that other place. And Dean Withers without the E in Withers. Best way to ask a question or to get a message across. Were you able to find another example of that, Isabella? Isabella!
Sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, I concede.
Okay, so then we need to impeach Trump to hold him accountable for his felonies.
Okay, I need to see what these felonies are, and then I will be able to answer that.
Wait, why does it matter what the felonies are? Earlier when we were talking about undocumented immigration, You said because they broke the law, they need to be held accountable.
Because I
but
feel
now
like
when
there's
it's about
more to the
Trump,
story than what you're just saying. Just
okay,
saying
so
that
why
he
isn't
had,
there
like,
more to the story about
only
undocumented
30.
immigrants? All right, when you were talking about undocumented immigrants, the sentiment was because they broke the law, regardless of what they did to break the law, they need to be held accountable and be deported, so people know that we're a country of law and order. But then when it's about Trump, you need to know like the specifics about what law he broke to like what determine if you care about that law. Wait, why does nuance and context matter for Trump, but nuance and context doesn't matter for undocumented immigrants?
No, because I feel like there's more to the story than just like what you're telling me, like than his 30 whatever felonies.
I'm so
I feel
sorry.
like you're just
What
like
more
oh,
about the
Trump, whatever,
story
blah, blah,
would
blah.
you need to know outside of the fact that he was found guilty of these crimes? That's all that should matter for a conversation. Our conversation is just merely demonstrating that you are a vapid hypocrite who contradicts the principles you set forth within your support for Trump. When it's about undocumented immigrants, the only thing you need to know is that they broke the law. Nothing more is required. Let's get them out of the country because we need to be a country of law and order and hold people accountable when they break the law. But then when it's about Trump, all of a sudden, maybe there's something more to the story that will explain why I shouldn't hold that same standard to him. But then you never learn that more to the story. And the reason why I know that is because he was found guilty of these crimes years ago.
President,
And here you are years later not caring.
And he's also following the law by being an American citizen in that case.
American citizens can break the law just like undocumented
Okay, well,
immigrants.
yes, I know
Anybody
that
within the
one.
jurisdiction of our country can break
Yeah, I know
American law.
that. Well, yeah.
Like you were
But
just saying
he's
that he broke
also-
another law. But remember, once again, your argument did not concern the specific law that undocumented immigrants broke. It was more so saying that because they broke a law at all, that they should be held accountable for that.
Okay, well, why would we impeach our president? That makes no
To
sense.
hold him accountable for breaking the law. Impeachment is literally something that you do when presidents are guilty of high crimes.
Okay, but then we wouldn't have him as president anymore. Like what? And then we'd have the next one.
Right? That's the consequence for his high crimes.
Yeah, but then we'll be in like terrible, like even worse cases.
Oh, really? Because we seem to be in a better scenario before he was president. GDP growth was up, real median wage growth was up, inflation was down, job reports were up, layoffs were down, unemployment was down, investment was up. Your gas costs more today than it did a year and a half ago. Be quiet.
Maybe here in Boulder, yeah, but like.
Oh yeah. I know where you
fine.
live. I that sounded creepy. I didn't mean to say it like that, but I do know where you live because you've shared before that you live in Boulder. I know for a fact that the price of gas in Boulder was significantly lower a year and a half ago than it was today.
It's not even $5, so it's fine.
What is it? $4.90?
No, probably like I think for mid grades like $4.60 to $4.70.
I'm sorry. The price that I'm paying for gas here in Grand Junction is $4.75 a gallon. Historically, the price of gas in Boulder is around 10 to 20 cents higher. But regardless of that, who cares? The matter of a fact is, it's around like what? A dollar higher than it was?
Yeah, but that's
more
just
than a
the
dollar
cost of
higher
the
than it was a year
war
and a half
that we're
ago?
doing right now, which
Yeah, a
is
cost of
only
the
a
Trump
minor.
administration.
Yeah, but it's going to this war that we're like helping for and everything because
Yeah,
they
the war
had
that never
like,
should have been
these-
started.
But it had like all these nuclear and all that and uranium.
I'm okay with paying higher gas prices because of the war, nuclear, and all that, and uranium. Just to clarify, that's your position, right?
Right now, yes. Where are you going with this? What?
Do you like bird watching?
Why would I like bird watching? Like watching birds outside?
I mean, you also might just have a mirror in your house.
What?
Bird brain?
Oh my gosh, you're calling me a bird by saying, are you kidding me? Bruh. You're calling me a bird brain, and that's how. So if I look in a mirror, I'm a bird brain. And that's how I birdwatch.
Yeah.
Bro, you probably do that every day, huh?
Come on, that was creative, Isabella. Listen, bro, I tell this to you every time. I bring you up like once a month or so to see if you've changed your mind. Yeah, well, you know, same thing, same time and place a month from now, Isabella. Talk to you then. We'll see if she's gotten any further to the truth. We'll see.
Yo.
Oh my god. Welcome in, man. How old are you?
I'm 22.
What year were you born in?
I was born in 04, baby.
Okay. Do Black Lives Matter?
Of course, man.
Okay. I just checked out your bio. It says White Lives Matter. Where's that coming from?
Yeah, all lives matter too. White lives matter, Black lives matter, Mexican lives matter.
Yeah, but where does
I
that,
don't
like, specifically, like, the White Lives Matter in your bio, where does that come from? Like, do you think that, like, white people are being uniquely oppressed in America today?
No, I'm not gonna lie, that's low-key a troll. Like, obviously, I think all lives matter, you feel me? I don't think...
Okay. Why is it in your bio?
It's more of like a hitch towards Black Lives Matter. It's like, I don't think that we should have a movement called Black Lives Matter. Feel me?
I do think it's okay to have a movement called Black Lives Matter when black individuals are being uniquely oppressed in America in a way that, like, non-black lives are not.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what we were actually watching, you know, people, you know, fighting for black oppression, fighting for, you know, sources being allocated to black schools, you know, community centers in black areas, but really Black Lives Matter, especially, you know, back in like the GF era, or I can say it on TikTok, sorry, George Floyd era, really just about police brutality.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. BLM is specifically a response to police brutality.
Yeah, and I don't think that black oppression is really just about police brutality. I think it's way deeper than that.
No, I
But
agree.
can go on
It
and-
is way deeper than that. Black oppression isn't just merely police brutality. 110%. Like, you actually brought up a handful of other forms of black oppression in your last statement. Like, for instance, the average level of funding allocated to the average black student in the American schooling system compared to the average white student, for sure.
Right. Exactly.
So
And
why are
see,
you a
that's-
Trump supporter?
Well, because I support Trump because of his immigration policy. I support Trump because of his war policy, his foreign
War
policy.
policy? Do you agree with his war in Iran?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've been fiddling in the Middle East for so long now.
Okay,
I
and it's
think
only made
about
the
time-
Middle East what? Worse.
Right. And I think it's about time that we get rid of this war on terror. And I
Okay,
think
so you think the goal of the war is to get rid of the IRGC?
I think it's the main point of it is to basically stabilize the Middle East. And do I think that part
So
of it?
how, like, what is the material goal that will stabilize the Middle East? Like, what do we want to achieve here?
Like in this very conflict here?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, you know, based off what I've heard, and the problem is like, I'll be honest, I get a lot of my news from TikTok, and I'm sure we all do now. It's like we can't really watch CNN or, you know, Fox News and stuff, but from what I heard, it's about getting these nuclear weapons out of Iran.
Okay, so the claim is that Iran has nukes. Can you please give me any evidence for that?
Yeah, I mean, I could find some. Like, what do you mean? You want me to like if this is a court
Just
of law, or
any
do you want me to
evidence.
give you a source?
Any evidence that Iran has nuclear weapons.
So like a source?
Yes.
Okay. Let me look at my laptop. I can give you one because I did actually look it up.
Yeah. So what you'll find when you look that up on your laptop is that there is no evidence that Iran has nuclear weapons. So much so to the extent that Donald Trump's director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified to that fact in Congress.
And what'd you say specifically?
That they don't have a nuclear program. That we completely obliterated it last summer, and they haven't even tried to start rebuilding it since.
So then what is like all the, you know, uranium that they're talking about?
So they're talking about buried uranium. And buried uranium is A, not a nuclear program, and B, not a nuclear weapon. And C, the buried uranium is not even weapons grade.
But isn't uranium used to like make bombs and shit?
Yeah, but there's a difference between your claim that Iran has nuclear weapons and the fact that in Iran there's buried uranium that's not even enriched to weapons grade. Those two things are significantly different.
Okay, that's true. But you also gotta put it in perspective though, right?
So
You
are
gotta
you
think
able to
of-
give me a source that they have nuclear weapons?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my MacBook's dead. But
Oh,
I know
okay.
it's
So
not-
would you be
just-
willing
it
to
just turned
concede that claim?
Yeah, I can concede that claim if based
Okay.
off.
So then what's
from
the
what you
goal of
said.
the war?
I mean, I think I would say that even if there are no nuclear weapons, there's got to be a goal somewhere. And if,
So
if
what
it
is the
really-
goal?
Damn, can I finish?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. So even if like the goal is what do you call it? Like giving more power to Israel, I think that's not even a bad idea because you got to think about, what type of friendship we've had with Israel over the past 40 years. So, I mean, if they really gain control over the Middle East, then that wouldn't really be a bad idea because you got to remember, if you think back to like Vietnam when they try to do a regime change, do you think that they just said, "Hey, everybody, like you guys are gonna go fight a war for a regime change"?
So
and
just
blah,
to
blah, blah, blah.
clarify, you think that we're fighting this war for colonialism, expansionism, ethnic cleansing, and war crimes?
I mean, I wouldn't say ethnic cleansing. I feel like ethnic
So
cleansing is
just
a
to
little
clarify,
bit
what are they
fallacious
doing
to
in
say.
Gaza and the West Bank? What are they doing on the southern border of Lebanon? What are they doing?
As of right now, I'm pretty sure that they're just holding them there in like what camps and shit.
Oh, well, they're either dead or kicking them out, right? And then having their illegal settlers move in. Are you familiar with the 25-mile zone of destruction at Lebanon's southern border, where Israel has infringed on an international law and completely leveled every standing building in the vicinity? Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you
mean,
want to see across the entirety of the Middle East? You just want to see the greater Israel? You just want to usurp Iran? You want to usurp Afghanistan? You want to usurp Iraq? So just to clarify, like you think that the inevitable goal of the mission here would also be to topple Iraq's government, right?
Yeah, I mean, like let's be honest. Well,
We're
first
just gonna topple
Damn.
all these governments and then give
can't-
them to Israel.
I can't answer.
So why
You're
is that a
kinda
good
interrupting
goal?
me. You're
Oh,
kinda
I'm so
interrupting me.
sorry. I don't
I'm
think
trying
I'm
to
going to care
finish.
about your voice if you don't care about the voices and lives of millions of people living in the Middle East. I would say that ethnic cleansing is a little bit more inconvenient than getting interrupted on a debate live, yet you seem to only take issue with the interruptions on the debate live. So I'm going to go ahead and ask my question, and I don't really care about your moans and whines of complaining about me interrupting you. So what would be the benefit out of emboldening and helping a nation ethnically cleanse and topple the governments and infringe on the right to self-determination, the human right of self-determination of the millions and millions and millions of people that live in the Middle East?
Yeah, it's like you're not even listening. There is no ethnic cleansing. As we speak, Gaza is currently under a ceasefire. Okay, and if you look up their stats, more than 90% of the population remains displaced. Okay, now do I feel bad? Do I have sympathy towards people in Gaza?
Does
Of
he
course.
know what
Nope.
displaced means?
Yeah, out of their homes.
Yeah.
Not unalived.
What is the definition of ethnic cleansing?
See, this is why you lost in that debate towards Nick
What is the
Fuentes, 'cause you
definition of ethnic cleansing?
the definition of look. Let me look it up real quick.
So Google will give you the definition from Oxford Language. It's the forceful expulsion of an unwanted ethnicity or a religious group from one area to another. So when you tell me that 90% of the people are displaced, you're telling me that they've been ethnically cleansed because they've been forcefully displaced from their homes.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I thought ethnic cleansing at first. I'll admit to this was like another word for. I don't want to say it on the live. It starts with a G, but I think you know what I'm gonna say.
Okay, so you accept, that they're ethnically cleansing people?
Oh yeah, and I'll accept also that I don't even really mind it, to be honest.
Okay, why?
Well, because I mean, look, you got to remember all of the terrorist acts that they committed over there in the Middle East. It's like,
Who's they?
Hamas.
Hamas? Do you think that every innocent child that's been displaced from the Gaza Strip is a member of Hamas?
Nope, but it's not worth the risk, LeBron.
Okay, but you don't care about them being ethnically cleansed. It's not worth the risk. What do you mean by that? Are you saying because they could potentially be Hamas that it's therefore okay to ethnically cleanse them?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay, are you an American man?
Yep.
Do American men commit 92% of violent crimes in the country?
Well, I'd hope so. There's
So
more
they do.
There's more American men to commit crimes.
Right, American men, yeah. So American men do commit 92% of violent crimes in America. Is violent crime in America a big issue?
Honestly, no, it's not a huge issue.
So would you
because
care if
got-
I killed you or put you in jail because it's not worth the risk of you possibly committing a violent crime in your future due to the fact that you're an American man?
Nah. Yo, okay.
Can you answer
I'll
my question,
but-
please?
Yeah. Yeah, I would care.
Okay, you would care. Wait, why? It's not worth the risk.
Well, I'll tell you because for one, okay, I'm actually not even American. Not to be sassy or anything, but if you're just looking at like race, okay, I'm Mexican, and Mexicans aren't really out here committing.
American isn't a race. It's a nationality.
Sure, but like you said, American man, and I'm not like United Statesian. You know, I'm American technically, but like not.
Okay, yeah, we should
not in
we should
American term that you're looking at.
preemptively throw you in jail because it's not worth the risk of you inevitably committing a violent crime because you're an American man and American men commit 92% of violent crimes in this country.
Yes, that's just like another false, like tricky analogy. That you're
Okay,
using.
so what's the
Because-
difference between me arguing that we should throw you in jail because you could at one point in the future possibly commit a violent crime due to the fact that you're an American man, and you arguing that, well, it's actually just okay to kill and ethnically cleanse like little innocent children in Gaza and the West Bank because it's not worth the risk they could be today or at some point in the future a member of Hamas?
Yeah, so I have two answers actually.
Also, by the way, you shouldn't think that anything that Hamas has ever done is unjust. Because if you would say that
What?
maybe, yeah, you shouldn't think that. Because maybe if you'd say that some of the things that Hamas has done is unjust because they've killed innocent people, they've committed heinous actions, so on and so forth, well, you're actively defending killing and committing heinous actions such as ethnic cleansing of innocent little babies. So it seems to be the case that you have no critique against Hamas. In fact, you seem to share very radical ideals with some of the craziest Hamas members alive, right? But I mean, it makes sense why you're a Zionist. This is totally Zionist rhetoric 101, where you're just a sick, horrible.
Jews on folks' grave.
Okay, well, Parker, hey man, I know that you came up here to cover me while I pee real quick, but the Trump supporter just started screaming the N-word. So
yeah, no, don't worry. I have time. We can get up another person, and once we get someone up here, I'll talk to them until you get back. Don't worry.
Cool, I appreciate you, Parker. Yeah, it's just, we just have this issue with like Trump supporters and screaming the N-word, saying that we should kill all black people. Trump supporters are really, really racist, so when they do that, I have to remove them from the live stream. The right is really violent, you guys.
Not all of them are racist.
Steve, are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
How old are you?
21.
Okay, what year were you born in?
2005.
Okay, go ahead and tell Parker why you support Trump. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go pee. Parker, I appreciate you for covering me.
Of course.
I mean, we could debate the Trump thing, but or we could just like debate conservative and liberal ideologies.
Well, just tell me why you support Trump.
Oh, let's go mass deportation.
Policy is.
I'm sorry, you cut out. I can't really hear you. You said what specific immigration policies do I like? For example, he in a provision of the Big Beautiful Bill, he added more funding towards ICE, which works to deport any illegal in the United States. I hope that's what you said. I think that's what you said. It's hard to hear you, Parker.
Sorry, I might be lagging a little bit right now. Is it better right now?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay. So, yeah, I was asking about policy. So you support just the deportation. Can you name one material benefit that's had on us as a society?
Yeah, it's upholding our laws.
Okay. So you think in every circumstance in which there's a violation of the law, there should be an
not
upholding
every,
of that law?
Not every. I think there are some minor things that are within the law that could get a little bit of a slap on the wrist. But I think if you break into a country illegally, you should be returned to your country of origin.
Well, I would say that the better process is to provide a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who haven't committed a violent or serious offense, because I think that's going to ensure that most people are vetted in the country to a greater extent, and that we're able to focus on going after those that have committed
Yeah, I agree with
violent and
that.
serious
But would you?
offenses to a greater extent. But I also think that it's important to acknowledge that that would allow for us to address all of the concerns that you had. But like even so, Democrats' policies are criminalize undocumented entry, prioritize going after those that have committed violent and serious offenses, and make the legal process go quicker. It seems like you would agree with that position. It just seems like Donald Trump's fear-mongered you into believing that Democrats have a more crazy position than they actually truly have.
So Parker, how do you tell the difference between an illegal who would commit a violent or serious crime and one that wouldn't? Like when they're illegally breaking into the country, how would you know which one is the violent one and which one isn't, since they're
So
unvetted?
if we give a pathway to citizenship for individuals who haven't committed violent or serious offenses, all of the individuals who are undocumented in the country would identify themselves to authorities if they have not committed a violent or a serious offense and would pass that criteria. Those that have not would not do so. So proportionally, those that are undocumented and haven't started to go through the process at all would be likely to have met that criteria. So you could easily adjudicate that in the context of the court process.
But this is all assuming that we had that that more easier pathway into our country, which we don't. So I'm asking you, like, right now, all of the illegal people that are in the country, wouldn't it be good to, send them back to their country of origin, and then we can make it easier pathway to get into the U.S.?
I think it's preferable to do that process within the country, but for the adjudication process, they have court processes to do that. And under the Obama administration, 20% of those deported had committed a violent criminal offense. Under the Trump administration, 5% of those detained have committed a violent criminal offense. So 4 times more likely, proportionally, under the Obama administration, for them to go after those that have committed violent or serious offenses or bad crimes that would be things that would mean that, like, we should remove someone from the country or that they're a threat to the safety and security of our population.
Well, violent or not, they're all criminals, and they all should be punished accordingly. Which
Actually, that's not true. 40% of undocumented immigrants in the country are violating civil law, not criminal law, because of the fact that they're overstaying a visa. So actually, a lot of undocumented immigrants are not criminals. And what you're not considering as well is that just because they have violated the law doesn't mean that they should be held accountable for that violation. It's a misdemeanor. You're totally okay with overlooking Donald Trump's 34 felonies that he's been convicted of and not holding him accountable for the felonies that he's been convicted of.
Yeah, I think it's a lot different breaking into a country and then falsifying business records. I think those are 2 different things. But I guess you would be right in the one situation. That is, if you overstay a visa, that would be a civil instead of criminal. But I do think that they all should be punished accordingly the same, which would just send them back to the country they came from. I think that's fair. That's what other countries would do to us, I would assume. And it's just, I think that's
should we
the fair
punish
thing to
Trump
do.
for his civil and criminal offenses?
I mean, like, if you want to argue that falsifying business records is something so heinous, like, I don't really see what the biggest point
he's
in
also
that
a
is.
violent sex offender if we look at civil. So if you accept civil
Really, is
determinations,
he?
then do you agree he's a violent sex offender?
He's really, Parker? He's a
Yes,
violent
he
sex
is.
offender? Okay.
Yes, he's a violent sex offender, yes.
Okay, this is taking a turn. He's not a violent sex offender. That's just not true.
He is.
He's not.
Yes, he is. He was held civilly liable of forcibly penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will, unanimously amongst a jury of 9 people.
Trump could sue you for, like, defamation right now.
I'm so sorry. I'll go ahead and prove that.
And I would win.
I'll go ahead and prove that what Parker said is true. So just to clarify, the last statement that left Parker's mouth was Donald Trump was held civilly liable for the sexual abuse of E. Jean Carroll. You responded by saying that Trump could sue him for defamation for saying that. So you think it's false that Donald Trump was held civilly liable for the sexual abuse
Well,
of
he
E. Jean
was
Carroll.
held civilly liable.
Okay. So what could Parker be sued for specifically?
Because it's not true that he ever sexually
Being
assaulted
right.
Jean Carroll.
Being right, Dean. The court adjudicated that Donald Trump is a rapist and that he forcibly penetrated E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will.
No,
so
didn't.
I would actually be adjudicated to be in the right. So, yeah, if Trump tried to come after me for defamation, I could sue him back for that false determination in the first place.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that your opinion on a legal matter doesn't mean that all of a sudden somebody could be held legally accountable for defamation, given the fact that you disagree with the legal matter. So, like, for instance, if Parker were to be found guilty of murder by a court tomorrow, even if I thought Parker was innocent and did not actually commit murder still yet, if many people on the internet turned around and called Parker a murderer, Parker couldn't sue them for defamation because courts operate off of legal standards, particularly the rulings upheld by other courts. So the moment a court ruled Parker was a murderer, it became a statement of legal fact that Parker was a murderer. Very similarly, the moment a court ruled that Donald Trump had sexually abused E. Jean Carroll, it became a statement of legal fact that Donald Trump had sexually abused Miss Carroll. So no,
Okay,
Parker
yeah, I
nor
guess that would be
we cannot
true
be
there.
sued for that.
Yeah, I guess he couldn't, but it is still true that Trump never did anything.
So why do you disagree with the outcome of the court?
Well, for basically her lack of knowledge in things, and then
Specifically what lack of knowledge? I mean, Donald Trump's lack of knowledge.
she
he didn't
couldn't
even
name the
remember
time,
meeting her.
place, or date that he apparently raped her.
Okay.
She
Can I stop you there?
She waited. One more thing. She just waited so long. I mean, what was it 19? Trump's getting ready for re-election, and she comes out of nowhere and says she raped her. That's it just makes it more not believable. You know what I mean?
Okay. So the first thing that we said was time, place, and date. So time and date would be the same.
You don't mean to cut you off. I just got to get going.
Appreciate you for coming up and covering me, Parker. So time, place, and date. To clarify, I think when you say time and date, you just mean the same thing. Like, when did it happen? So she did remember that. She was able to isolate it down to a year that it occurred in. And then for the place,
Really?
she also said
Dean,
the
I
place
think
that
if
happened
I
was
was
at
ever-
Goodman's retail store. So you're just descriptively wrong with your first.
Yeah, I
with your
think if
first
I
claim.
was raped, I would be able to tell you like the exact minute of the day that it happened.
Have you been raped?
Like I would. No, and
So
if
how would
I
you know?
was, I would immediately
One
tell
moment.
the cops.
Wait.
No, I
Then
wouldn't
how would you
wait
know?
like 30 years.
Wait, I'm sorry. That's not the question that I'm asking you. You just said if you were raped, you'd be able to remember
Because
the
it's
exact
something
time
so
down to the minute that it
serious.
happened.
It's something so horrible that if that ever happens to someone, I think they wouldn't forget that.
I think that you think, okay? So you just said, I think they wouldn't forget that, but you don't know because it's never happened to you. So if the complex nature of trauma responses to such traumatic events such as rape or sexual abuse were as simple as you are making it out to be, well, then we wouldn't have doctorate programs and PhD schools, right, and programs in schools as well, training people on how to learn about, deal with, and respond to the complex trauma responses that we see from victims of rape. In many scenarios, what will happen is there will be this trauma response elicited that the experience of what happened to the person was so harmful, impactful, and negative that their brain will just kind of make them forget about it to protect them. There are many rape victims. This is very typical for rape victims to disassociate from the act being committed against them. And it almost just becomes very cloudy and forgetting. Now, you could easily prove me wrong by just giving me research that indicates otherwise. If you were right, there would be research out there that would very clearly describe
I don't even
how
think it
victims
deserves,
of
like, a
rape
research. I
know
think it's,
the
like,
time,
logical.
date, and the minute that it occurred. And then your response to that is to say, well, I don't think that research is out there. Okay, well, I want to let you know from a non-biased perspective, because that research doesn't exist, yet research does exist to indicate that these trauma responses can elicit very significantly different responses within different individuals. And we have collected data from victims of rape, including many people watching the stream, that it's like your brain almost protects you from that very harmful experience by clouding the information surrounding it. And many people don't remember the exact time or the exact day that it occurred. That would mean that you're wrong, right? That
Okay,
means that your
Dean, I
belief is
think of
probably
it
wrong
like
because you can't
this.
give evidence for it. But then now you're trying to further justify your belief by just saying that it's logical. Okay, well, using words such as logical.
You don't even let me explain my
because I'm
belief,
still in the middle. I'm still in the middle of speaking, Steve. If you could just be quiet, please.
I'm sorry, you're
So I'm not monologuing. I'm just like expanding upon a belief with more than 5 words on
Okay,
paper
dude,
with
go
a crayon,
ahead.
which is a bit too much for the MAGA mind. I know that you
Okay,
guys
just
are
go ahead,
incompetent
bro.
fools, but try your best to engage in nuance for the first time in your life. So when you have now resorted down to saying, well, I don't have evidence to prove that this is a response elicited from rape victims.
It's logical.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute now. Thank you. Clearly you don't respect boundaries, which is maybe why you're arguing in defense of a rapist. So now you're saying, well, I don't have evidence to prove that what I'm saying here is right. Dean, you do have evidence to prove that what I'm saying here is wrong, and we could inductively reason that trauma responses act significantly differently for everybody. That's why there's trained professionals on the subject matter that have to go to school for 12 years. But I still yet believe that I'm right because it's quote-unquote logical. Well, your use of the word logical there is just a cover-up for the true word emotion, right? Your emotions are driving this position because you don't have any evidence nor any reason that you could give me to demonstrate that this belief is true.
I mean, I tried to, and you muted me. But that's besides
because you
the point.
interrupted me.
I
That's
think,
what happens when you interrupt
okay,
me.
I think that's besides the point. It's irrelevant. We don't talk about it. I think if a woman or even like me, like if I was to ever be raped by someone, I think that's so important. Like that's more important than my birthday. I remember the exact second I was born, but I feel like I would remember the exact second I was raped.
What second were you born?
Well, the minute. I mean, it was 3:27. But I just,
okay,
that
and
wasn't
you
the point
remember
of it.
being born at 3:27
p.m. Yeah, but I would remember.
So
if
you
I was
remember
ever...
you remember coming out of your mom's vagina
Well, I was told.
having a C-section.
Okay, dude,
Okay,
you're
you
taking
were told
my
this.
you're taking my words too literal, dude.
Go ahead.
Okay, but I feel like that's far less important than to ever be raped. So I feel like if a woman was ever raped, she wouldn't wait 30 years to come out and say she was.
I'm sorry, you seem to be shifting the goalposts. Okay, well,
she would know when this happened.
Yeah.
It's that's why all these women who ever say they've been raped, I've been raped. It's like, I mean, yeah, if you were, that's horrible. And God
How would
bless
you know this? How would you know any of these things? Like, where's the evidence for any of these things? Because when we look at it, that's just simply not true. Around 60% of rape victims never report what occurs to them to the authorities in their life. And according to rain.org, only around 2% of rapists, are ever held fully legally accountable. And your question, why? Because men like you exist. Because when they do report it, when they do accuse the man, and even when they're able to find that man guilty in a courtroom, you still don't fucking believe them, you demonize them, and then you make it feel like it's their fucking fault for not reporting it earlier, or you make them feel like they're fucking crazy because they can't remember the minute it happened. They already have so much trauma to live with because they have to bear that experience of being raped for the rest of their life. Are you telling me that you expect them to want more trauma on top of that? Not just from you, but from society at large, right? Like the reason why you think these things is true isn't because you randomly stumbled upon them one day, but it's rather because there's a bunch of shitty men that think exactly the way you do. And out of this next belief, arguing that I would expect them to want to report it so that their rapist can be held accountable. Yes, every rape victim wants their rapist to fucking die or to go to jail. Okay, 110%. But at the same time, although they want them to be held accountable, there's a trade-off here. And the trade-off in many scenarios for attempting to hold your rapist accountable is to have your life fucking ruined in many other ways that it hasn't been ruined on top of the rape occurring in the first place. They've already been hurt so much, they don't want to be hurt more. And you can't argue that this event occurring for E. Jean Carroll, not remembering the minute it happened, waiting 30 years, somehow disputes the validity of her claims because it's not atypical for the way rape victims respond. If we could look at, millions of other rape victims that have the same story to tell, that will tell you they waited forever or they never reported at all. If we have millions of other rape victims that can't remember the minute it happened, can't remember the day it happened, well, then you can't say because these things were true of E. Jean Carroll, this increases the likelihood that she was a liar or proves she was lying altogether. And, well, what are you left with? Your fucking emotions. You're emotionally arguing that all rape victims would believe these things, even though you don't have any evidence and you're not a rape victim yourself. You're emotionally arguing that all rape victims would immediately report, even though you don't have any evidence of that. And I have evidence that indicates that that belief is false, like rain.org. So where do we go from here? Do you want to continue with this emotional soliloquy of you shitting on rape victims with no reason whatsoever because you're a fucking bird-brained man? Or do you want to concede to the truth to be a better, enlightened, more rational version of yourself?
All right, I've never shitted on any rape victim. I feel bad for them. God bless them. If anyone was ever raped, that's horrible. But I also feel the same for men who were accused of something they didn't do. Just like Donald Trump, he's accused of raping E. Jean Carroll. Yeah, he just didn't do that. He's accused of looking at young girls. He never did any of that. He's accused of so many things by the left, and it's actually crazy. how he overcame all that.
Remember
and
the
won
argument that
president's
you
office.
gave me for why you think he didn't rape E. Jean Carroll? Remember how I completely destroyed that and you haven't been able to address it since? So you are
No, I don't
doing the
think you
emotional
destroyed it
rant
at all.
thing where instead of now responding to my counter argumentation against the reason you gave to justify that he did not do it, you were just simply ignoring that counter argumentation and repeating that he didn't do it. You're an idiot, dude. Respond to the reasons I gave why your argument, insofar as to prove why he didn't do it, does not follow.
Dude.
He's going to leave, folks. He's going to run away, like, ASAP. He's either going to, like, slur or, like, drop in, like, 5 minutes or less.
Don't worry, Dean. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not gonna say any slurs. But what were you even trying to argue, dude? That
Oh, sure. So you can't track, you can't keep up. I'll go to repeat myself. Sure.
Dude, it
well,
was
you
like
said,
5
well, because
minutes
she
ago.
waited a long time, or she didn't
That's
remember the
true,
minute
yeah.
it happened, that this indicates an increased likelihood that she was a liar, and it proves that Donald Trump didn't do it. So my counter argument was very simple. There's complex trauma responses in which exists in the brains of people who are raped. Everybody responds differently, but a lot of rape victims, in fact, most rape victims, respond in the same way, which is not reporting or waiting to report because of the social repercussions of reporting, because of men like you. Because it is typical for women who are raped to not remember the minute or the day that it happened, and because it is typical that women who are raped will either wait 30 years or never report at all, well, then you can't say because E. Jean Carroll didn't remember the minute that it happened and waited 23 years, that therefore this proves she was a liar. Because if that proves she was a liar, then that would prove that 60% of rape victims are liars. And do you want to live with that on your conscience?
the standard
any
applies to
women?
all of them. It lessens the chances of it being real. I'll just say that honestly.
How
the standard applies to all
you
of
can't
them.
make that evaluation though. So the way that you would make the evaluation that E. Jean Carroll waiting 23 years lessens the chance of her telling the truth is because that's not typical for somebody who is telling the truth. Okay, that would be the standard that you're using to measure against and arguing that she's at a lower likelihood for being honest. Okay, but that standard doesn't exist because it's not true that typically rape victims immediately report.
Dude, I just told you that for all of the rape victims who wait, first of all, I don't know as many as waited as long as she did. You wait that long from the 1990s to like 2019, and then expect people to believe that you were actually raped by the sitting
She
president?
didn't expect anybody to believe her. She proved it to an unanimous jury of 9, including a pro-Trump alt-right Tim Pool loving moron who's on the jury, by the way, right? Because she had evidence.
She didn't even have anything concrete. I think Trump never gave his DNA that was supposedly on the
Okay,
dress.
so
You know, what
I just want to
evidence
clarify that you
did-
do concede the claim about how long she
Hell
waited,
no, I
right?
actually don't.
Okay.
I was just further
okay.
there.
Okay, so then what standard are you measuring her against and arguing that if they wait, it's less likely to be true?
Because it makes it more it seems more made up is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, can I get an argument for that?
Especially in this
Can I get an
case.
argument for that?
I mean, I'm giving it to you, like for E. Jean
No,
Carroll, for
you're
example.
You're not giving me the argument. You're just saying that it is this way because it is this way. You're not saying it is this way because of reasons X, Y, and Z. You're just saying I feel like it's true, therefore it is true.
Yeah, like for E. Jean Carroll, like as an example, she waited so many years to say that the current president.
Right, and
was
why does this
raping
why
her.
does this
And I
reduce
think-
the
and that makes-
likelihood that the outcome of the court was accurate?
It reduces the likelihood because if it actually would have happened, any normal person would assume that we would have known about this exactly when it happened, and that's just not true.
Perfect. So then your claim is that typically women who actually are raped report it immediately. Prove it.
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, prove it.
How do you want me to pull up a rape victim up here, dude? How do you expect me to prove that?
I want you to give me a source that demonstrates that when
I don't
we
think
look
there's no
at
actual way to prove that. Because
There's no
all
way to
sources
prove
would
that?
just say all sources would
Dude,
like, it's
so then there's no way to prove your claim. So then you don't know your claim is true. And by the way, there is a way to disprove your claim via the testimony of rape victims. Zella, thank you so much for the motorcycle.
rape is such a like a
dude,
a
there's
subject
like,
that is,
do
it
you
could
do
be
you
true,
admit
it couldn't
do
be
you admit
true.
that you should only believe in things with evidence?
No.
Okay, so I just want to clarify that you are believing without evidence that E. Jean Carroll was a liar, even though she proved with evidence that she wasn't. That is rape apology 101.
Okay, what?
That right there. No. That is rape apology 101. He just admitted that he's believing without evidence she was lying, even though she proved with evidence she wasn't. That's rape apology 101. That's why every woman and girl has a story, and that's why shitty men like you are damning your future daughters, are damning your future granddaughters, are damning your future wives, are damning your grandparents, are damning your mothers, okay? Because you're willing to sit here and say verbatim that you were willing to believe without evidence she was lying when she proved it with evidence. Okay? And it's not like this is like the only scenario of this particular guest doing this either, because something else that he said a minute ago that I, in the moment of, chose not to respond to because I wanted to focus on the E. Jean Carroll rape case was he also said that Donald Trump never walked into the dressing rooms of beauty pageant contestants to then look at them naked.
I never said that.
Oh, okay. Well, then
never
this is
said he
something that
never
will.
did that.
Oh, then this is something that will help prove that he raped E. Jean Carroll, because this is actually my third container of
but you
evidence.
actually said-
Because
no,
he's
but that's
engaged in
something
other
you said,
forms of
though,
sexual
dude.
violence too. Of course, the guy that had a court found him guilty of raping E. Jean Carroll is a rapist, because at other points in his life he has straight up boasted and taken pride in other forms of sexual violence. He said that he just barged into the dressing rooms of naked women and girls that competed as beauty pageants to then look at them with no clothes on, turned around, told Howard Stern about how funny it was. Yeah, he finds it funny to infringe on and violate the consent of women and girls to do sexual things to them. So if we know that he finds it funny to infringe on the consent of women and girls to do sexual things to them, don't you think that increases the likelihood that maybe E. Jean Carroll isn't lying?
Dean, before we follow your pivot, and we will, can you just answer what
I'm sorry.
evidence
What a
that-
fucking droid.
what
What a fucking
evidence-
droid. That's not a pivot. This wraps directly into the E. Jean Carroll rape case. Literally. Like the ending summation of the argument here is about the E. Jean Carroll rape case. I'm saying that Donald Trump has said he finds it funny to violate the consent of women and girls in a sexual manner. Don't you think that if we know this man finds it funny to violate the consent of women and girls in a sexual manner, that this makes it a little bit more likely that he actually did rape E. Jean Carroll? And by the way, your question is, well, what is the evidence that he did that? This is actually one of the forms of evidence. Okay, when we look at his prior actions, like clearly, if you're trying to determine if somebody has stolen a car, and we're able to pull up evidence, like their friend said that they saw them stole a car. We have CCTV video footage of somebody that kind of looks like them, but you can't really tell because they're wearing a hoodie, steal a car. They were able to get 4 other people that witnessed them stealing the car. Okay, well, then if we look at their rap sheet, and they've been found guilty of stealing cars 25 times before, this person probably stole a car.
That does not necessarily mean
It is a form of evidence in which increases the likelihood that they did do it. Do you agree, A, to the fact that Donald Trump in the past said that he found it funny to infringe on the consent of people to do sexual things to them?
No, I do not agree to that.
Okay, here's Donald Trump saying that he finds it funny to infringe on the consent of people to do sexual things of them.
I don't care.
So you have done that. Now, tell me
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
The reason why this is Donald Trump saying that he finds it funny to do sexual things to people without their permission is because he's doing a sexual thing to the beauty pageant contestants, barging into their dressing rooms. He's then looking at them with no clothes on. He's telling this to Howard Stern when Howard Stern asked him about the sexual things that he do with his beauty pageant contestants. We know that this was without their consent because that's what every woman and girl said. On top of the fact that in the clip, he said that he was able to do this because he allowed himself into the dressing room, not that he was allowed in by anybody inside, not to mention that the minors couldn't allow him in because they couldn't consent due to the fact that they're kids. Once again, he found it funny because at the beginning of the clip, he said that this is the funniest thing that he do. So actually, it is true that Donald Trump finds it funny to infringe on the consent of people to do sexual things to them.
Well, I heard one of the Miss Teen US, some girl from Arizona came out and said that Trump made sure all of them were dressed before he came in every time. So I think what Trump said on the Howard Stern radio show is contradictory to what she said. And I don't really know which one is true, and I really don't care. I think it's pretty irrelevant. But, yeah.
Okay, so first and foremost, she wasn't from Arizona. You don't know your facts. Tasha Dixon would be the Miss USA beauty pageant contestant from Arizona, and she
Oh my
said,
God, no way.
And she said that he barged into the dressing rooms and looked at them all naked. Do you want to hear it?
What?
Do you want to hear the lady from Arizona say the opposite of what you just said?
I can pull it up, dude. She said they were all dressed.
From Arizona?
It's one of the, maybe New Mexico.
Right,
it's one of the states down there.
You're talking about Veronica. Now, here's the thing. I believe them both. I think that there were going to be times where Donald Trump would walk into the dressing rooms after ensuring that everybody was dressed, okay, just to say hey to them, whatever. But there were also times where he did not ensure that they were dressed before he would do this. We know this because that's what the other 10 women said, and that's what Donald Trump said.
So there's arguments that says that they were dressed, some of they weren't. I'm gonna just choose
No,
the
no,
moral one here.
We're
It's
believing
clear that
all
you're
of them.
not just because you hate
We're
Trump.
believing all of them, sir. We're believing every single one of them. So we're believing that Veronica is telling the truth when she said sometimes he would walk in while they were dressed. I bet he did. Just like we're believing the other 10 women and Trump when they all said sometimes that he'd walk in when they weren't dressed. I believe he did. And by the way, even if these two things were contradictory, okay, and we could only either believe the first group of people who said that it would happen when they weren't dressed, or the second woman who said it happened when they were dressed, well, of course we'd go to the first group of people here because there's more corroborating testimony. There's going to be 10 women that are corroborating each other's testimony that it happened while they were naked. Plus, Donald Trump's testimony corroborates that it happens while they were naked because inside of that clip, he said that it happened while they had no clothes on.
Okay, everybody knows that the Howard Stern show is the biggest joke of all time, and there's no reason to believe anything said on there to be true. And I'm gonna, like I said earlier, I'm gonna choose.
Wait, why?
I'm gonna choose
Why?
to believe the moral
Why?
one.
Why?
Because it's not taken seriously.
Wait, just because things aren't taken seriously doesn't mean that I don't believe them to be true. Like, for instance, you're not taken seriously. You're a fucking joke. But when you tell me that you genuinely don't believe women who will tell you that they were raped by a man, I do believe that you were telling the truth about your feelings. When you tell me that you're a supporter of Trump as president, I do tell you that I believe, I do tell you that I do believe what you're saying. I do think that you're legitimately a Trump supporter, right? Like, we have to be able to identify, right? Well, in what contexts would we not believe what something that somebody is saying? And in other contexts, why we would believe what something that somebody is saying. Okay, and I find this to be easiest done by determining if they had any reasons to lie. And when we listen to Donald Trump boasting about sexual exploitation, barging into their dressing rooms while they're naked, we can't identify any reasons why he would lie. Sometimes people lie for their self-betterment, or they lie for the betterment of those in which they love. When Donald Trump said that he engaged in sexual violence, he was not helping himself, and he was not helping anybody else. He just made himself look like shit. And this is exactly why you cannot find another example of any other man sitting down in an interview falsely claiming to have engaged in sexual violence while in all reality they were innocent. That's not something that people lie about doing. So please, to prove your point me towards one other example of a man sitting down in an interview and falsely claiming to have engaged in sexual violence when in all reality they were innocent.
You gotta understand who Trump was before he got into politics. He would often say things that would be out of the ordinary or weird, like what he said about his daughter.
Answer my question.
I'm answering your question.
No, because you're talking about Trump. I asked you about anybody else other than Trump that has sat down in an interview and falsely claimed to have engaged in sexual violence when in all reality they were innocent.
I can't say that I know another person who would do something like that, but you do also got to understand.
So Trump is just like the. So Trump is just the first.
You
could whine and complain all you want. Shut the fuck up. Go on mute, little boy. So I just want to clarify. You're telling me that Trump is the first person ever to sit down in an interview and falsely claim to have engaged in sexual violence when in all reality he never did it. Bro, you're just a droid. Your brain has rotted. You are legitimately fucking useless to civilized society. I hope that one day you wake up, regain your senses, and realize that you are legitimately a detriment. Like, on God, you are fucking sick. You are fucking gross. Oh, a court found Donald Trump guilty of raping a woman. Well, she was a crazy liar because of my feelings. Oh, Donald Trump admitted to sexual violence. Oh, well, he was actually a crazy liar too. He didn't actually do that because of my feelings. 10 women corroborated his admission of guilt when he said he engaged in sexual violence. Oh, they were all crazy liars too. Well, people usually lie for a reason, right? For like their own self-betterment or the betterment of others. Well, although we can't identify any reason for Donald Trump to lie about engaging in sexual violence, violence. I'm just still going to believe that he did anyways because of my emotions. Well, why would you do that? He's also, I don't know, he was best friends with Epstein. He was mentioned in the Epstein files over 1 million times. He has a credible accusation against him from Jane Doe number 4, who was trafficked by Epstein. She claimed to the FBI that she was trafficked to Trump. Oh, what? She was a crazy liar too? Right? So, like, at what point do you realize that you were, like, legitimately on the side of evil? You don't stand by any good moral principles, and you were just willing to bend into any shape and contort yourself into any pretzel necessary to deny reality, to continue to support the worst president of your life that's not only a piece of shit because he's a rapist exploiter, but also a piece of shit because he's tanking our economy, he's battling our Constitution, and he's putting us into wars that he promised never to, that has increased the price of gas in this country the most since the Vietnam War. You want to fucking say something? Go ahead and respond.
I'm just supposed to unpack that whole monologue, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think you will because you have a small fucking brain. How about you start by responding to the fact that when we bring up the rape case, oh, E. Jean Carroll's a crazy liar. When we bring up the sexual exploitation case, oh, Donald Trump was lying. He didn't actually do that. When we bring up the 10 women to corroborate that he did do it, oh, they were all liars too. And when we bring up the Epstein files and the credible accusation in the Epstein files against Trump, oh, she was a liar too. Explain to me why you reject all of this.
I mean, you have reasons for believing what you do, and other people have theirs.
Yeah, and I'm asking you to describe the reasons, you dumbass. Did you not hear me say explain to me why you deny all of this? When I say explain to me why you deny all of this, I'm asking you for your reasons, and I hope that's clear.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty clear. Let's start with E. Jean Carroll. My reasoning, well, actually, we don't have to start with her. I already told you my reasonings for thinking she's a liar, and then
oh right, yeah, and you said that she was a liar because she waited 30 years
dude,
and she didn't remember the time that it happened. But then when I brought up the fact that was actually typical of rape victims, and you couldn't point me towards any evidence to indicate otherwise, you ultimately just said, although I don't have evidence, I believe it because I could believe in things without evidence. That's the way that conversation ended, was by you telling me that you believe she was a liar without evidence.
Something serious happened, you would know all about it. You would report it. It's logical to think that.
Okay,
I don't think it takes evidence.
Name one therapist that agrees with you.
Like, what the fuck are these questions, bro? Do you like? Is this
you
not
like
like
one person that actually works
dude?
with rape victims? One person that's actually educated on the nuances of psychosocial trauma and the impact that could have on an individual?
Explain its nuance,
because clearly, when we have so many rape victims, millions of them, many of them watching the stream right now, telling you you're wrong.
Raped,
okay.
Bro.
Millions of women aren't getting raped? What?
No, bro.
There's 8 billion people alive.
I don't think millions of women in the US
millions of women getting raped could mean that 0.002% of women alive have been raped. You think that less than 0.002% of women alive have been raped?
I don't think that many. Okay, maybe.
I got banned for harassment and bullying. Actually, not even harassment and bullying. Misinformation. Huh. I thought I got banned for harassment and bullying. Because I got a flag earlier in the stream for harassment and bullying, and I was low-key going off on that guy. So, I thought I got a ban for that. Apparently, I didn't. But it's not popping up anywhere. Where's... No, okay, I did get a 3-day ban. It's just not populating on my end. Strange. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I peeled it. Wonder what the misinformation clip was. Strange. Maybe it was something to do with Epstein and, like, the credible accusations from Jane Doe number 4. I think that was it. That's fine. Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I'm really struggling doing these streams every day like I have been. It's hard for me to put myself into a position where I'm like talking to these people for 4 hours a day every day. It's been really difficult for me, and it's been getting increasingly more difficult for me like the longer that I've been doing it. You know? Like, imagine that for 4 hours a day, you just had to tell people that circles aren't squares. It's not a square because there's not 4 edges. There's not 4 90-degree angles. It is one continuous curved line. In fact, we can't identify a singular 90-degree angle. How could it be a square if it doesn't have a singular 90-degree angle? Well, it is a square. Okay, well then where's the 90-degree angle? Show it to me on the graph. You're pivoting. No, legitimately, don't you agree that squares have to have 4 90-degree angles? No. Okay, what's a square? Whatever I want it to be. You know, doing that 4 hours a day, back to back to back, is rough. I'm gonna go thank a couple people. Annie, I appreciate you for the $10 over on Super Chat, who says the first week has been fucking brutal. Yeah, man. It has. Jessica, thank you for the $10, who says, when I was physically assaulted, my family had to push hard for me to press charges. Why? I was scared and I wanted to forget about it. That's how violence victims think/feel, and that's why they didn't report. Well, I appreciate you so much for sharing your story with us. I'm sorry to hear that that happened to you. I'm really sorry to hear that that happened to you. Over on Venmo, thank you, Gail, for the $20, who says, on Aging Carol, let us not forget, she stayed silent to protect her parents. Once they passed and her book came out, Trump defamed her. To win that case, she had to prove the rape first. She didn't choose that fight. He handed it to her. Keep on doing what you do. Facts, Gail. Thank you for the $20. Jeanette, thank you so much for the $15, who says, fuck knockers like this guest are why some of us take 11 years to come forward and admit to what happened. I know that you say, not to thank you for standing up for us, but I'm going to do it again. Thank you. Well, Jeanette, thank you so much for the $15 and the very kind message. Thank you so very much for the love and support. Kelsey, I appreciate you for the 5. Jose, thank you for the $10, who says, Dean, you are so blessed. I appreciate you for the love, Jose. Jennifer, thank you for the 5. Lindsay, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate you. And then Rachel, thank you so much for the $50 donation on Venmo, who says, keep on doing what you do. I won't stop. As much as I say. As much as I, complain about it sometimes, which is just me voicing my emotions about how this can impact me sometimes, I won't stop because I think it's way too valuable. Thank you so much for the $50, Rachel. I really appreciate you. And I know that you've been watching forever. Please show some love to Rachel down below. As well as Charlotte, thank you for the $10, who says thank you for what you do. Thank you so much. And Jose, thank you so much for the $10 as well. And Jose, I just read your message myself. You sent that one in a while ago, and just know that I still absolutely agree with you, man. Let's see here. Jose, also, thank you for another $5. And Elizabeth, thank you for the 10. Over on PayPal, Destin, thank you for the 5. And Elmo, thank you for the 5. Danielle, thank you for the 5. Then Anne, thank you so much for the $11. I'm going to go to keep that message to myself just because of the nature of the message, but thank you. I appreciate you. And Brenda, thank you so much for the $40. Please show some love to Brenda down below. Thank you, Brenda. Brenda with a 40 says, this makes me so mad. I was raped as a minor babysitting for a woman who's in labor. A complete stranger broke in and assaulted me. I was so traumatized, humiliated that I told no one. I only recently told my adult sons. Men, stop telling women how I should feel. Wow. Brenda, thank you for the $40. I'm so fucking sorry to hear that that happened to you. That has got to be like literally one of, if not the most traumatizing things that could ever happen to somebody. I'm so sorry to hear that you went through that. And then Marina, I appreciate you for the $15 donation over there on PayPal as well. Wendy, thank you for the $10. She says, thank you for always standing up for us survivors. Well, thank you so much for the love and support. Over on Super Chat. Nope, I think that we're all caught up. I think that we have one more person on Venmo and one more person on PayPal. On Venmo, Nikki with the $10 says, as an SA survivor, it happened when I was very young. I couldn't tell you the time or the place because my brain won't let me. It feels surreal, like make-believe, because my brain is trying to protect me, and because it takes place within family, I've not told anybody. Nikki, I'm so sorry to hear that. And just know that your feelings are not invalid because that last piece of shit said so, okay? Thank you for the $10. Same thing to Claire. Thank you for the $10 as well. Who says, thank you so much for your service. I love what you do, but it's okay for you to change things up if you need to. This is the bottom of the MAGA barrel that's left for real. Yeah, I really hate people like that last guest. I think I could suck it up and deal with the more typical MAGA arguments, but specifically when it's just so abhorrent and evil denial of rape, sexual assault, so on and so forth. It just it hits me in a way that many other things don't. It's just so deeply, innately, and undeniably evil that I just view these people is such grave protagonists. Yeah, that shouldn't exist. Manavan, thank you for the $20. Who says, Dean, your live on TikTok ended, but I appreciate you. Manavan, you know I appreciate you too, man. You're always in here hanging out. Thank you so much for that love and support, Manavan. You're the GOAT. You know it. Ellen, I appreciate you for the $14 as well, who says, for confusing MAGA with the facts, also take a day off. I probably should, right? I probably should. Okay, yeah, so we got our appeal approved over on TikTok, but we are already at 4 hours, so we might just end it here. We might just end it here for the night. Not a bad time for a ban either, honestly. Not a bad time for a ban either. It's so gross. So gross. All right, guys. I'm going to go to call it here. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed today's stream. God, what crazy lunatics, man. See you tomorrow. Hit that subscription button. Turn on the notifications. Peace, love. Good night and goodbye.